Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for some late night Warhammer. Well, late depends on where you are. For some people, it's morning. For me, it's about 6 p.m. So we're going to be casting a tournament today, and we are in the top 4. The first match is going to be Anticity facing off against Tim the Wilder. And taking a look at the bracket so far, it is Anticity versus Tim. And then on the bottom, we have the dreaded To Be Determined to be facing off against Stingers 1, 2, 3. So that's what's going down. I hope you're all doing well. Let me go ahead and make some announcements because I always forget to announce my own streams. I'm terrible at what I do for a living. But, you know, got to start somewhere. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully these times are allowing folks in other time zones to participate, watch, hang out, and party. That's the idea. All right, cool. I am now the master of Twitter. I have made a tweet. And let's go ahead and double check this. Very cool. All right. Fixed it for those fine gentlemen. It is Tim. I don't know. I'm not sure, Arthur. That is certainly a very poignant question. It's something we can perhaps figure out at some point. And let me just go ahead and do one more announcement here to let the players and everyone know that we're good to party. And our late night stream shall commence. Look at that. Still type kind of fast. Alrighty. So we got some cool new tools tonight. Let's go ahead and show you guys the picks and bans. The first match, like I said, is going to be between Tim and Anticity. And looking at the tournament bracket, let's see if we have our bottom side of the bracket decided yet, and we do. So no longer will TBD be haunting us here. It is going to be Dactor. Of course, Dactor, a longtime Warhammer 2 veteran, making a nice transition here to the old Warhammer 3, which is certainly quite exciting to see. So speaking of tools and fun business, let's go ahead and see if this works, if I set it up correctly. So we're going to be jumping on over here, and we now have our picks and bans. So we have this cool new overlay, which was made by Lachlan, so shout out to you, man. And you can see the players, and we will also be showing you the picks and bans. So how it works for this best of 3 is in the initial game, players will pick essentially 2 factions. So what happened was, Anticity came in, and he picked Kislev, and he also picked Nurgle. The big man Nurgle's coming in. So those were his picks. So now his opponent has the opportunity to counterpick. So Tim came in and did a Nurgle pick as well. So from here, Tim is going to be playing Nurgle. Anticity has access to Kislev as well as Nurgle for his 2 choices to pick here. Now I'm going to be heading on over to the Discord in just a second to see what the actual pick was. So we will jump on that in just a second. Welcome, welcome. It could be the dreaded Nurgle match, the mirror match of the gods. And it looks like it is going to be Nurgle versus Kislev. So Anticity is going to be on Kislev. Should be quite a bit of fun. So heading back on over here, the pick is going to be Kislev for Anticity. So let's go ahead and select that for him. It's pretty cool. I'll give you guys an idea of like how the picks and bans work and everything. So the final pick is Kislev here. And then the final pick on this side is going to be Big Nurgle. Yes, good times, good times. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so this is a pretty high-stakes tournament for sure. Some top players battling for high-end leaderboard positions. I believe Tim has gotten to the top 4 of tournaments before. Anticity, of course, has won tournaments, but this is going to be the standing for the round here. We do have Kislev facing off against Grand Papa Nurgle. We're going to be switching on over to the actual battle itself. It is game 1. The battle for Itza is on. Welcome, welcome, my friends. How's everyone doing? This is the first best of 3 of the night. After you said, speaking of tools, I thought you were going to say something about it. Oh, how dare you, Single Crow? How dare you? Dude, I can't wait for the Old World tabletop game to come out so I can get some games with Sparty. Yeah, Anticity's been doing pretty good, man. I mean, while we're waiting for the players to also finish their builds, we can jump on over to the tavern and look and see what's going on the old competitive leaderboard. So we'll head on over to the news section of the worlds. And there it is. So currently, in the top 4, we have Anticity versus Tim and Dactor versus Stingers. Looking at the current state of the leaderboard, we're going to see here, let's see. We have Anticity is currently number 5. If Anticity were to win tonight's tournament, however, he would jump to the number 3 spot, becoming the top 3 on our leaderboard. And as far as the other players go, they're mainly going to be contesting for these spots. I don't know if either of them, the other players, are in the top 15. Stingers, I believe, is. I think he's played enough games. No, it doesn't look like it. So we have several new players tonight who actually weren't in the top 15 that are going to be competing for these spots. Eventually, it might come to a point where you need to have a tournament win to be in the top 15, but we'll see. We will see indeed. Switching back over. Let us see if the Dreadmeisters are ready. Now, Anticity has been telling me lately that he believes Nurgle is actually good against Kislev. He has been experimenting with some Nurgle builds in which they do very, very well against these factions. Does Kislev ever go to Itza and lore? Most likely not, Turtle. I would seriously doubt that. I feel like Kislev has its hands full. Like, the Empire is a little bit more enterprising, and, you know, according to the lore of Warhammer Fantasy, the Empire is the most powerful faction of man, right, of humans. So they're able to get a little bit more reach across the old world with, like, expeditions and stuff like that. Kislev is, like, less populated, and they're also under constant attack by chaos, so they don't really have the time to enjoy enterprise as much and things like that. That's why the Empire has these, like, huge colleges of magic and education centers and artillery. Whereas, like, Kislev is a little bit more rudimentary in terms of their technology, and their magic's a little bit more kind of old school. You know, the big bear and all that. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, Lich109, how you doing? If you'd like, I can send you a DM on Discord with a bunch of army books so you could read upon the lore and rules. Yeah, sounds good, Lich. The Empire one especially, yeah. That would be my speculation. But looks like Nurgle is still getting their picks ready, which is good. It allows time for more people to join up. But in the meantime, we'll just hang out, enjoy each other's company. Yeah, Lich109 saying Kislevites don't exactly travel. They've got their hands full as it is. Yeah, see, that makes a ton of sense to me. Makes a ton of sense. I feel like Kislev is kind of straight to business kind of folks, very direct. So again, here's the picks and bans for this round. Anticity picked Kislev and Nurgle. His opponent counterpicked him with Nurgle as his one pick. And then we did have the Kislev pick for Anticity. Now, when we get to best of fives, the format of the pick and bans does change a little bit, but for the most part, this is our, because there's no bans here technically in this particular format, but if there was bans, we would be able to update it on our nice little graphic here to show you guys what everybody's doing. So that is how we roll. Your thoughts? You know, I don't drink milk. Milk, I'm not like technically allergic to it, but it kind of just gives me a stuffy nose, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit congested. I had sinus disease when I was like 16, so they had to do a big surgery on one of my sinuses. So it didn't work very well. It was like sinusitis, like really serious. And so one of my sinuses just doesn't work very well. Yeah, so like when I drink anything that kind of thickens everything, like dairy products, it trolls me pretty good, so I don't really bother with that. I do not bother with it. Do you like Ice or Tempest more? I'm a big fan of Ice, Dimitar. Yeah, I really like Ice. I love the AoE slow. I like the Spirit Leech. Heart of Winter is super good, especially against Nurgle, and yeah, it's kind of my jam. Hey, Solaric! Nothing much. Just sending support your way for the awesome streams, as always. One question, what do you think they'll do with the heroes on Mortal Empires? Total War Warhammer 2 seems way stronger in stats. Which heroes are you talking about? Are you talking about like heroes from the old world factions? I honestly think the balance discrepancy between the newer factions and the old factions will not be as stark as people think. And I think that there's going to be DLCs coming out for all these new factions, which is going to make them super strong, right? Like, I would wager before we get Mortal Empires in the campaign, we'll get like a DLC. That'll probably give like Chaos some new stuff, or Cathay or Kislev, whatever. You never know. That's my 2 cents. Also, I have put in several requests to Creative Assembly to try and get them to put in the Mortal Empires factions into the game before the campaign map. Because I think that's something that's possible. So I passed that info along to CA. I'm like, hey, can you guys like give us the old world factions for Domination and multiplayer? You know, even campaign players would appreciate that, because they can go and do custom battles with their friends and sieges and things like that against the new factions. So I put in that request with CA like a couple months back, and they seem to really like the idea. So I'm going to keep pushing it, and I think it's certainly possible. I think it is certainly possible. Thoughts and prayers for the idea. Now, looking at the build here in the first matchup, it is going to be Nurgle coming in with Plague Bearers. We got Plague Bearers, double Cultists of Nurgle, Herald of Nurgle up in the sky, couple Spawn, and just Plague Bearers. So really just looking to kind of push down the Kislevite army. Now, Kislev here is going to be coming in with triple Horse Archer, double Light War Sled, Kossars, some Winged Lancers as well, and Zargard in the bushes. So Zargard, whoa, interesting. Check this shit out. So he basically went with Zargard with great weapons. Now, Nurgle doesn't have much armor, but, you know, maybe the bonus versus infantry is justified in cutting through Plague Bearers a little bit more efficiently. It's kind of the same principle as why you see Exalted Bloodletters being used against Nurgle, because they kill the infantry very quickly. We do also have an Ice Witch. You'd be surprised, Crow. I actually think that, I think Creative Assembly might do it. I think they would. They've been pretty receptive to a lot of Domination feedback, like changing the funds and the starting army sizes. I think it could happen. I think it could. Sleds and Horse Archers, it's pretty good. Yeah, they can definitely get a lot of poke on Nurgle before the fighting starts. And what I would recommend for Nurgle is maybe hiding in the trees initially, and then moving out towards the objectives. It's a little bit tricky to say. The Horse Archers will, slowly wear down Plague Bears. Plague Bears have 11,000 plus HP, but they're very lightly armored. They only have 25 armor. So any sort of poke, like if you're playing Empire and you have a bunch of basic archers, for example, against Plague Bears of Nurgle, you're going to be able to melt them relatively efficiently for sure. So now shooting in at Plague Bears of Nurgle here, getting blasted, and I really like this play from Anticity, kind of isolating a Plague Bear that's a little bit away from its friends, but Cultists of Nurgle are pretty good on horseback at actually attacking the War Sleds. They do have armor sundering and hit pretty hard, so they can actually put a bit of a beating on the sleds here. Herald of Nurgle swooping down. He does have the Cloud of Flies, his old Stream of Corruption, and the big AoE heal here. Now the Chariot's going to be space jamming once again into the Plague Bears of Nurgle. They are down to about half health, so that's a pretty nice catch for the Kraken King. Now, obviously, everything is kind of sunshine and rainbows for him as it pertains to the initial skirmishing, but once the objectives open up, it's going to become a little bit of a different game, as Nurgle can keep spamming and certainly has better objective holding power. But we're going to see what kind of damage these Kossars and different units can really do to the Plague Bears. Some Forsaken coming in, beautiful charge when the Winged Lancers arrive. The Kraken King pulling in and out. Able to get a big one right there as they do lance down those Forsaken Demonic Infantry. This is really cool, seeing Kislev using their cav. I love seeing this. And Horse Archers and Sleds in more or less good shape. One of them got a little bit beat up. The Herald of Nurgle actually hits pretty hard. He's got 400 plus weapon strength and armor piercing. And it looks like there's going to be a Plague Bear summon. That's a really interesting position for one. I guess it's just kind of serving as a buffer to push those guys off. And here comes the Locust of Fecundity. Now, across the map, Nurgle's going to be contesting all points, but Anticity seems to have him kind of dead to rights in many points. The Zargard with Great Weapons are going to be cutting in against the Plague Bears of Nurgle, and I do like the Great Weapon pick, actually. I didn't like it, initially, but now that I'm seeing the bonus versus infantry come into effect against Plague Bears, because the shielded variant, though they're more durable, they don't kill as quickly, right? The Great Weapons are able to cut through those Plague Bears like butter, whereas there are some Kossars in the back which should theoretically counter the spawn. And the problem for Nurgle is the objectives haven't opened up yet. However, on the other side, we do see some Kossars get caught, so Nurgle is able to catch some prizes, and some of the Kossars are also being dragged down as well, but Forsaken looks to be on the route right now. So Forsaken are retreating, while the Plague Bears waddle to the battlefield. Obviously, the Cultists of Nurgle are super strong, so they're able to cut through these Kossars and pretty much any other target they find. Hey, Koss, happy birthday to you, man. Hopefully your birthday goes well and you enjoy the stream. We're here to entertain you. We're here. Objective's going to be opening up pretty soon. Value almost doubled for Kislev. Now, I would really like to see Anticity play this from the Nurgle perspective, because the past couple days he sent me a handful of messages saying that his Nurgle has been defeating Kislev nonstop. In my experience, it's been a pretty hard matchup. The bows, the mobility, a lot of things are very good against the Nurgle roster, whereas Nurgle is a little bit better against melee-focused factions, but, again, the meta is really constantly shifting, right? Horse Archers are actually doing quite good. They're able to just kind of sit, move, poke at spawn, wherever they may be. The Plague Bears are grabbing the objective here. Up on the high ground, Nurgle has been pretty much routed. The Zargard with Grey Opens were able to cut through the infantry. We have a couple spawn here, but the spawn are going to be taken out by these Lords of Bicep Curls, the Kossars, and they're going to be ripping some fat shots into the spawn of Nurgle, which will be breaking here in just a moment. And the Griffin Legion sweeping up through the hills and routing the Nurgle forces. These Plague Bears probably not going to do so good. Griffin Legion are incredibly armored, very quick, and will be quite strong there. Another big charge in the middle coming in as the Kislevites continue to push back the forces of Nurgle as they fight over the center mass of this battlefield. Certainly quite nice. Anticity really on point with cycle charging. He's always been very good at high micro factions. Granted, Vampire Coast is, I guess many people wouldn't consider it a super high micro faction, but they are in some ways. Really allocating your fire and getting all those things going is quite important indeed. Now, Nurgle does own 2 objectives. I believe they own number 1 and number 3. Number 2, of course, is owned very in a dominant way by Kislev. It looks like they're going to be leaving some Kossars and sending the Zargard with Great Opens down to try and contest the middle objective. Currently, Kislev is up by quite a bit of value. Nurgle trying to hold on to these points as best they can. More and more Forsaken moving in, but the War Sleds of Kislev are very quick to respond there. And they are going to be running through these units and buttering their sweet bread, as Forsaken do not want to be in combat with these. Granted, Light War Sleds only have 50 armor, so Forsaken can put some hurt on them. A Cultist coming over is really helpful, right? You can see the armor is sundered down to 20, and the Cultist himself will be hitting hard. Nice little AoE going down right there. Going to be blasting some of those Forsaken off the objective. Currently, Nurgle is up on the objectives, but I don't know how much longer. Winged Lancers right here being chewed down. Couple Nurgle Furies also going to be attacking these Horse Archers. and the other horse archers are now moving in for a rear charge to try and burn down these Nurgle forces. Probably at this point you have to concede that Nurgle is going to be holding on to this objective for a hot minute, but I think that Kislev is very, very much in the position here to maybe wrestle this middle objective here as we get a big charge coming in from horse archers. Winged Lancers are also charging in, but it looks like they're in sustained combat a little bit, so they're going to kind of want to wheel out and get another charge back in there. But now the Zargard are coming in. Really, really nice stream of corruption by Tim the Wilder. That was a really, really good one. Incredibly nice, did a ton of HP damage, but now you can see the infantry weight here of these Zargard is going to be capturing the objective from Nurgle, and Nurgle does have its cultists. A couple Forsaken fighting here, and Forsaken are, quite good against, many of these units, but being hammered by these giant erect Kislevites here with their golden armor is certainly not going to be good for anyone. Now looking around, objective here is almost in the hands of Kislev. Nurgle is going to be sending out some toads. And when the toads come out, things are looking a little bit dicey. Nurgle does have a pretty nice little stranglehold on this objective as Kislev continues to just fight in the middle. Obviously a pretty big value lead, but the value lead is actually narrowing a little bit. It looks like Nurgle's kind of catching up. It was about 4,000 or 5,000 before. Now it's just around 3.5 give or take. I think the two cultists are doing well, and the toads are bonus versus infantry. They're not very good against Cap, but against some of the Zargard and things like that, they can put some okay sustained damage on them, and it doesn't look like Kislev has too many missiles here. I guess they have some up on the high ground, so these Kossars will be able to drop some fat shots right there and probably melt down those Plague Toads. Another stream of corruption attempt from Tim is able to tickle the pickle here of these Kossars, and they take a little bit of damage. And Jack, I see you asking for a Discord link in the old chat. If you just go to my website, which is totaltavern.com, it's also in the description of the stream. There's a Discord link pinned at the top of the website, and you can join the party from there. Now, Nurgle appears to be losing the side objective, so it looks like it's going to be a bit of a mass rout for Nurgle, as the Nurglings here do break down, Forsaken, all these bad boys. And Kislev seems to be in a pretty commanding position as the horse archers are being used in a very nice way as well. They're blocking the Nurglings from getting onto the point, and that's a really, really big skill set in Domination. It's obstructing your opponent's reinforces from getting to the points, which is a very, very big thing for the slower factions, right? Like factions that have to waddle, like it can be really impactful because Plague Bears don't kill things quickly. Now, back in the middle is Nurgle back on the horse. It looks like they're only down by about 2,000 value right now, and will the tide of the Plague Father continue to pour and maybe get back in this game? We got some Forsaken coming out, Plague Bears of Nurgle, more Plague Bears on the other side. We do have a decent little gooning here, as the Herald of Nurgle is actually able to get the Ice Witch a little bit trapped here, and the Toads are giving a nice little surround. These Pox Toads, not the tankiest creatures in the old world, but are relatively tanky as well. So Nurgle's going to be taking back the center objective. Now it looks like the Nurgle game plan is going to be heading here and here with two heavy infantry units. I mean, I guess they're kind of like more mid-tier infantry units, but everything for Nurgle is relatively heavy, right? Nurgling is nibbling at the heels of the Slight War Sled, though they're not doing much damage. They are poking away at it, and here comes the Horse Archers, I believe, or are they Kossars? No, those are Kossovite Dervishes. And you can see Anticity is just roadblocking, right? Units here, he roadblocks these guys. Maybe he's going to pan over and engage in melee and sacrifice these Kossovite Dervishes, which I think is a good idea for sure. You want to buy as much time as you can because the Kraken King actually is going to be losing his lord here. So it looks like Tim is getting extra wild here, as his name would infer, and is able to get that Ice Witch a little bit trapped up there. And taking down the caster and also penalizing the enemy army in terms of leadership isn't bad, right? When your lord dies, you're going to be paying a bit of a troll toll. Now, Anticity, really good play here. He's sending back the injured units. Housekeeping is another important factor in Domination mode. I would say housekeeping, unit blocking, and objective positioning are three things that I will probably make a video on soon. I'm kind of waiting to make more guides and things like that until, we get a couple more patches. Domination could undergo some more changes, so I don't want to make something and have it be out of date like in 2 weeks. So once we get a more solidified status quo, I'll be making more guides and things like that on how to play this game mode. Now, Nurgling's going for the back cap. We have one that could waddle here, one here, but Anticity really on point with his Winged Lancers. And when the Winged Lancers arrive, the popcorn will pop. And the Nurgling's going to be getting rear charged, being flung about, but I think they're going to be wheeling about, getting a nice charge here on the Nurglings. Although we do have some Chaos Furies moving in as well. Nurgle might be able to get this objective back, and still Nurgle is up on points, but I don't know for how much longer. It looks like they kind of moved off the middle objective. A little bit of a mistake there, and Anticity was able to get some Kossars on it, but now the Forsaken and the Horde of Plague Bears are moving to that point, and guys, look at the value! It's getting really, really close. 14.2 to 5.8. This is a very, very even game. And now the Plague Bears, Nurgle is slow and steady. They're finally able to get to the objective. Anticity obviously has a lot of units like Horse Archers, which are very nice in the initial aspects of the game, but maybe they're struggling to generate the same value right now. It's hard to say. But now Nurgle's going to be getting the capture weight on this objective. Up on the high ground, too, there's threats everywhere as Nurgle pours in with Nurglings. These Winged Lancers, though, should be able to finish them off. Winged Lancers, Kossovite Dervishes will put up a good fight. They're heavy armor, decent sustained combat stats, not amazing, but on the charge, Winged Lancers can do some serious work. Looking to be a real heavily contested game. Now, Nurgle's coming back. They have a little bit of weight on all these objectives. Here, objective number 3 is being contested, and Nurgle does have the capture weight. The Plague Bears and Nurglings, obviously very, very good on these objectives, and the weight is now 1,600 to about 1,700 for the Kraken King. So that difference in terms of value is pretty much, it's not significant at all because Nurgle has healing, right? So in reality, it's probably like really, really even. And it looks like Kislev is kind of running out of steam a little bit. Okay, so Nurgle is back in business, baby. As the Kossars are pushed back, the Herald of Nurgle going to be sweeping on and back towards the middle. Looks like there's going to be some sort of witchcraft here. The Gust of True Flight going down, which I believe Anticity just did that to trigger the passive. You see, this is a bit of a problem. A lot of Anticity's forces are super damaged here, right? And they probably need to be sent back and resummoned at some point just to get some like heavy fighting power. The high ground objective is still owned by Kislev. The points are very, very close. Kislev does have some light war sleds, but they haven't lost too much. And a lot of their units are very, very beleaguered. And look at this, the swarms of Nurgle. The toads are like chasing them here. Forsaken coming up from this way. And a nice little gust bombardment there in the middle. How is Kislev going to be able to wrestle an objective? I think they need to get a Zargard out or something like really, really heavy. Also, this high ground objective is like very, very poorly defended. A lot of the Kislev units are just very, very beat up. They've been fighting the entire game and generating great value. However, it is a tricky one. I liked that he was kind of sitting here, like as if he was going to go here, but then he decides to go here at the last second, which Nurgle wasn't sure. It was like when you're guarding somebody in like basketball or something and they're kind of like standing in front of you. You don't know which way they're going to cut back. And in this case, Nurgle does have the double stranglehold on the objectives, man, and that is going to be a tough one. We get some Winged Lancers hammering into the Forsaken of Nurgle. Where are those Zargard with great weapons? I feel like we need those guys back for the forces of Kislev to get onto the middle objective and start cutting through these Plague Bears. Big AoE fight going down. Kislev going to be dropping all the goodness, but a response from Nurgle. Fecundity coming down, and Fecundity here is able to get that nice big AoE heal. And many of you guys in chat were probably counting out the forces of Grandfather, but he is persistent. He's going to keep pushing, and as Kislev runs out of ammunition and wins a magic, and you know, he did lose his character too. The Ice Witch did indeed die. In Anticity, it looks like he did resummon the Ice Witch, which means that, you know, you're not summoning in infantry and things like that. Gust of True Flight going down, which is just triggering the passive for the Lore of Tempest. And currently, Nurgle's got too many infantry on this point. Looks like they got Plague Bears here, and the Kraken King is going to be hammering back in, trying to push them off. And do we have Zargard with great weapons? No, we have basic Kossars, so mostly just chaff units. Some more Horse Archers have been summoned in as well, but Nurglings are coming from the top objective, guys. And they're going to be moving. Look, they got 2 of them coming down right there, and they are certainly looking for blood. Is there any way I can change it to like an arrow instead of that kind of like weird point right there? Frostlight, thanks for the content. Do you think there is a power creep in contrast to Total War Warhammer 2 units? No, I don't think so. I think a couple things were, like the heavy war sleds were a big culprit. There's a couple things that kind of slipped through the cracks as it pertains to, you know, fairness and balance, but really I think most of the egregious ones will be hit here, and then we'll be in better shape. So Heart of Winter would be super good right now. Holy shit, if we got a Heart of Winter right here for Kislev, it would probably wreck them, but in the end, Nurgle is able to claim victory! GG, well played. That is going to be game 1, ladies and gentlemen. And Kislev has fallen to Nurgle. Nurgle forces took a huge beating in the beginning, which makes sense. A lot of skirmish cav, a lot of poke. But in the end, Nurgle was tenacious. They kept swarming. They kept finding good fights. A big part of it, I think, was the fact that Tim was able to goon Anticity's Lord, right? That was a nice one, right? In the middle, took away magic for a period of time. I feel like the Tempest magic was underwhelming. Like, Nurgle really gets wrecked by Heart of Winter. Like, I think 3 really good Heart of Winters would be exponentially more effective there. But again, time will tell. So, that is going to be game 1 going to Tim. And now the next map here is going to be the Crossing of the Sea of Claws. So let me go ahead and pull up all this goodness here. We will see what the players are going to be doing for their picks and bans. And we will go from there. So thank you all for joining once again. And we're going to set up the picks and bans for the next one. Welcome, welcome. Alrighty. So there you go. And very good. Let the Nurglings feast. Red makes arrows, blue is standard, green has the box sense. Oh, okay, barbaric, thank you. I never knew that. I didn't really often use those, right? So, yeah, that was not as much of a thing there. All right, so that is going to be game 1 going to Tim. He was able to claim that victory right there. And now we will see what the picks and bans are going to be for the next match. And we'll delete these ones and reset. Pretty cool feature. The map is going to be the Crossing of the Sea of Claws. So that is the next map. You guys have seen this one. It is pretty cool. A little bit more of a brawler map, I would say. It's got very narrow choke points and things like that. So I would say melee focused factions certainly enjoy this one. But also, you know, slower factions can kind of bottleneck you in places. Do you think Khorne will hold its high rating when the old world factions? I think so. I actually think Khorne will be one of the ones that trades better into the old world factions. They have some really cost effective units. And, you know, Fleshhounds are super good. Conrad, use the color red when drawing if you want an arrow. Thank you, Conrad. Appreciate that. I certainly will, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly will. Is there an estimate on when Mortal Empires will come out? I have no idea. I have no idea. Hopefully soon. So what is it going to be for the players here? Alrighty. No picks and bans coming yet. They're probably scheming in the shadows. I actually don't mind this map. I kind of like it. I think it's cool. It's got some different dynamics. Like we had a pure open field map, and now we have one that's a little bit more terrain heavy. So variety is the spice of life. Stream got fancy. Yeah, no. Shout out to Lachlan. He put this together. One of the folks here on the channel. Hey, look, it's the menacing platypus here in chat. I see the bulging platypus eyes looking on with vengeance. Yeah, I think Heart of Winter is just too good to pass up against Nurgle. I think it's so good and tasty. All right, so we're not seeing picks and bans. When you have them. Just letting the players know that they need to send me the goods. They need to send me the goodies. So we'll switch back on over in just a minute. Looking at the 4-man bracket. Currently it's Anticity versus Tim the Wilder. And then we have Dactyr versus Stingers on the bottom side. So pretty cool. You know, Anticity and Dactyr were pretty consistent tournament winners in Warhammer 2, right? These are folks who were constantly karate chopping people. And then we see folks like Stingers and Tim who are, you know, a little bit newer to the scene in terms of competitive tournament play, which is really exciting to see. Probably one of my favorite things about Domination in general is the fact that a lot of new people have gotten into the game. Colonel asks, I'll be streaming Dawn of War 2 like once or twice a week. Once or twice a week. So, I believe we have the first picks and bans here. So let's go ahead and switch on over and make that happen. And there we go. All right. So it looks like Tim is going to be picking. You guys want to see, look, we already have the old world factions in here. Look at Noble Bretonnia just awaiting to be picked here. But all jokes aside, it looks like it's going to be Tzeentch. So Tzeentch is going to be one of his picks. And the other pick is going to be Kislev. So these are the two picks for Tim. Now, Anticity responds with a Khorne pick. So he goes for the Blood God's Champion. So now how it works is, his final pick is also going to be Khorne because he just picks one to play. And then his opponent now has to decide between Tzeentch as well as Kislev. So we'll hold on for a minute. We'll see what these fine gentlemen are going to be picking. And we will go from there. Should be pretty great, man. Should be pretty great. Yeah, really, really cool tool that Lachlan put together. Shout out, man. This is it's a lot of fun. Definitely gives us some cool information. So now we're waiting for Tim to deliberate on his pick, and we will go from there. Anyone remember the website? Yeah, it's a Troll Trader is the name of the website where I get my minis. How will the Empire do in Domination? It's going to be interesting. Empire will 100% be better than Cathay, but I think Empire will be really hard to play compared to some of the other factions. Probably similar to Kislev, to be honest. Yeah. Boomer with some new tech is going smoothly. Yeah, I'm surprised it's going smoothly, but it is. So we're just waiting on the picks here from not Anticity, but from Tim. So he's deciding between the two factions. All right. Sounds good. Oh, and we actually had a little bit of a change too. Hold on one sec. One sec. Let me update the leaderboard. We'll be back with this in just a second. It actually was not Dactyr who advanced. It was Bobman. So I need to fix that on the old brackets. But it's going to be Bobman in the final. So just a quick update there, guys. And we'll head back to the picks and bans and see what the players are going to be doing. So how do you think High Elves will be in Domination? I think High Elves could be okay. I think they have Dragon Princes. They have really good chariots. Well, decent chariots, I suppose. Lion chariots are not quite as good as the Kislev ones. But I think High Elves would be fine, honestly. I do. I think a lot of the factions are going to be good. I'm just, oh man, I want it so bad. I think Lizardmen will be S tier for sure. I think Lizardmen are going to be Terminators. I will play the new Company of Heroes. I'm not going to go back and play the second one, but I will play the new one when it comes out. I don't know when that's going to be, but it will be something that's certainly on my radar. I'm waiting for a turn in the Wookiee mod. Yeah, is that the DLC? Well, Lolo, hey, Hammond, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Alrighty. So it looks like he's going Tzeentch. I'm going to go ahead and check the lobby. And we'll find out. Where is this? Where is this goodness? Yep, looks like he's sitting on Tzeentch. I think he just forgot to type the pick and ban in chat. So I will go ahead and update that. We will update the technology. We have the power. I have the power. All right, so final pick here is going to be Tzeentch. The Great Chicken is here, and it's going to be the dude who hates magic versus the Magic Man. Always fun. Always fun indeed. So as far as this matchup goes, I'm a little bit out of the loop on this. Khorne, I've been starting to feel like Khorne is really, really good in Domination. They have like incredible durability, almost on par with Nurgle in many ways, and more durable in some ways with armor. And they have good killing power to actually get you off objectives, and the hounds are just so good for map control. They're so solid for map control. I think that's something that is quite solid about them. Tzeentch, of course, you know, classic sniping, gooning, really cost-effective blue horrors. They just have a lot of good stuff, and they can really cause quite a few problems for sure. Company of Heroes 3 looks promising. Yeah, I know there was a beta, which I didn't get it. I fired it up, and there was like some bugs, and it was like crashing, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to like sour my first impression with this game in this community, so I'm just gonna like wait till it's a little bit more ironed out before we do all that goodness. All right. So just making a quick substitute, got to fix the back end of the website to add in Bob Man in the grand finals here. And we'll see what he can do. We will see what he can do. How's life treating everyone, by the way? Where are you guys from? Let us know in chat where you hail from. I'm curious who tunes into these later night streams. Where are you folks from? And yeah, looks fine. Okay, Bob Man and save. Cool. All right, so we've updated the brackets. Seems good. And we are on our way to the finals. Tzeentch and Khorne prepare to do battle. Khorne is my favorite faction easily. They just feel like classic Total War. Yeah, none of that magic witchcraft, yeah. Khorne is really good. I played an Nurgle game earlier today against someone in this event. I actually lost to Khorne. He played really, really well. The Exalted Bloodletters and a really wide army was really tough to deal with. So there's a competitive advantage Tzeentch normally isn't getting in a sense. Let's see what you're talking about. You don't need spellcaster load. Yeah, no. I hear you. Yeah, you don't have to like pay for that. You can just go a little bit more all in. Okay, so folks, we got hailing from North Canada, New Hampshire, New York City, USA, North Carolina, Florida, North Carolina. Let's keep going. NorCal, South Carolina, Texas, Vancouver, DC, Texas. Yeah, okay. We're getting a lot of folks here in the States. Tennessee. Right on, right on. Washington, Nova Scotia. We're not seeing no. Oh, there's an Australian. Okay, New Zealand as well. We got someone from Eastern Europe staying up very, very late. We got someone, a Dutch individual with insomnia, Vancouver. Sorry if I missed your country. They were like, it was going super quick there for a second. San Antonio, Texas. Right on, guys. Oregon, Los Angeles. Oh, all right, Jeffrey. Maybe we were neighbors at one point. I used to live in LA in the earlier days of the channel. Portland, Oregon. Thailand, cool. Jersey, Montana, Argentina, New Mexico. My grandma lives in Mexico. United Kingdom. Russell staying up late. Creature of the night. Denmark, you as well. You guys are staying up super late and getting wild, partying with the old man in the middle of the week. Yeah, some good times, guys. We're kind of in the dark ages a little bit now as it pertains to Total War. I lived in Northern California for a long time. Oh, you're from Oxnard? Oh man, dude, we're really close. I basically live in Ventura. Yeah, we're really close. I mean, I don't live exactly in Ventura, but I live somewhere nearby. Hammond lives next door. Okay, very cool. We have China from Cathay. All right, very cool. Florida. All over the world. Man, I want to I really want to unload and just make guides and go really dense into covering the game, but right now, man, it's just so slow and we need those new factions, dude. Old man club, I know. I've spent a lot of time in Oxnard, California. Actually, I used to play soccer there a lot. No, I'm not old yet. I joke about it all the time, but no, it's not. But although honestly, when I hear people talking about certain subjects and I just have no idea, I never thought that would happen. That I would be like super out of touch with some social medias, but it just happened overnight, man. How do you think Nurgle versus Wood Elves go? Interesting. I think Wood Elves will probably be favored there. Like, I feel like Sisters of Twilight will just kill any Nurgle Lord, and then they just like Blade Guard with, I don't know though. Nurgle might be able to swarm you with Furies and things like that. But I mean, I think Wood Elves win that. I do. I do indeed. I know, we do need a roadmap or something. We really do. I think Wood Elves will be able to do it. Yeah. Because, like, Wood Elf infantry is kind of killy, too. Like, you have some options, like Dryads plus... I don't know about War Dancers, maybe. Like, War Dancers will buzzsaw through Nurglings. Like, there's a lot of options. Wood Elf Cav will be super good against Nurgle as well. I think Wild Riders will also be quite strong. Yeah. You talk about Kislevites and when our streams get swarmed by Slaanesh bots. I know, Brian. It's out of control. All right, game 2. Currently, Tim is up 1-0. If he wins this, he's going to be going on to the grand finals. We do have the Forsaken of Tzeentch, backed up by Blues and Spawn. This is like... Okay, let's use the proper arrow. Oh, look at this one. It actually has an arrow. Oh, perfect. And what does this one have? Oh, it's just a... Okay, this one's better for drawing my pictures. But yeah, this is like classic Tzeentch right now. Just Forsaken, Blues, and Spawn. Very cost effective. And of course, the Flying Lord here is going to be a blue fire spammer. So you just spam blue fire against any number of targets and it's going to be good. Yeah, Dryads do have magic attacks as well, which will circumvent the demonic physical resist. Do you think the High Elf passive could be improved? Yeah, I mean, a lot of those could. I mean, the Empire literally has a passive called Stand Your Ground, which gives like 4 melee defense and like 5 leadership or something. Like, but it's not a huge deal. And like, yeah, now like these demon armies have like actual army abilities on the side, which I feel like is like really good. Like once they get fleshed out with DLC, there might be a little bit of power creep for sure. But for Khorne, it is just massive amounts of heavy metal. So we got Chaos Warriors of Khorne, we got a Bulldog of Khorne, Exalted Bloodletters, Chaos Warriors. It's just straight steel. Like this army is going to be so tough to grind down. I wonder like what Tzeentch could really bring that would be super good against this. I feel like that one of the best answers would be the Flamers of Tzeentch. Like the really juicy flamethrower units, because they just melt infantry. If you get like 2 of those or even an Exalted Flamer to just like park over here and just like nuke all these infantry, I feel like that'd be mega cost effective. And then you could just spam blue fire on either the Bulldog or the infantry. The Bulldog character is kind of hard to kill for Tzeentch for sure. And it looks like blue fire is going to be coming in and going down the side. It does tickle the pickle here of these Chaos Warriors. Doesn't do too much damage. Kills 4 of them, but does about 8 to 10% HP damage, which is not bad. Is Nurgle better in Domination than in land battles? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say so. You can abuse Nurgle way, although it depends. Like Khorne and Slaanesh can beat Nurgle on Domination by playing the objectives and outmaneuvering them, but on land battles, Khorne and Slaanesh can't really do anything against Nurgle. Like Nurgle just blobs in the corner. It's really bad. It's really bad. All right. So looking across, Khorne positioning some units here, looking to maneuver over to this objective. And here, Khorne just going to be parking a couple units. And this is just to kind of keep him honest. Because if you don't leave anything here, then it really allows Tzeentch to have more agency. So he's going to be parking 2 units right there while he moves out to the high ground objective on number 1. Down here, very wild play from Tim. I don't know. Oh, he's going to be using the AoE. Nice. He baits it in, but this is also very risky. Especially against a player like Anticity. So, the little Herald lands on the ground, uses the big gateway of Tzeentch, which melts those Exalted Bloodletters, as well as the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Oh my god, look at the damage. Oh, the humanity. But if you lose your Herald of Tzeentch, that is not worth it. Like, killing 1 Chaos Warrior, although the cost is relatively decent, but yeah, with Tzeentch, you don't want to be losing your caster. Looks like right now there's going to be some sort of a bombardment going down, but that was a really ballsy play, man. That was a super ballsy play. Uses another AoE bombardment right there. Looks like Anticity is going to be sniping the Herald of Tzeentch. But on the bright side for the Herald of Tzeentch, killing an Exalted Bloodletter as well as a Chaos Warrior is incredibly cost effective. It did also force a bit of a response from Anticity, where he summoned a lot of units to goon this character that might not be super good at playing the objectives, right? Now, if he's able to get 1 more gateway off, if that comes off cooldown and the little Herald is able to get his gateway cast, that could be potentially worth it. Looks like some Furies are being sent in by Tim, which I don't know. At least they're going to be crumbling those Bloodletters. And is there going to be any more magic coming out from the Herald of Tzeentch? I mean, Khorne Bloodhounds are designed for this, to hunt down these wizards and things like that. They have really good mass, too. Any more spells? Might as well cast a blue fire before you go quietly into the night. And the Tzeentch caster is down. He pays the iron price. Meanwhile, Khorne is going to be capturing the high ground objective, so they're sitting quite cozy here. Tzeentch is going to be in the middle. But Tzeentch can't just win on one objective. They're going to have to decide an angle to play, and they're going to have to figure out which direction they want to go, because the Kraken King really is able to get that pick there. And he actually pulls ahead in terms of value. You know, the gamble for Tim the Wilder did not pay off, and Anticity is cackling in the night for sure. Now, that would have been a really good play if the Hounds weren't so close. I think doing that play like right next to this spawn point here was super risky, because it allowed the enemy forces to really reinforce that position quickly and goon that character. Otherwise, had it been like back here or something, I think that character might have gotten away. Now, a big skill set in Domination mode is knowing how much you need to leave to defend certain points. So here he's leaving a little defense force, 2 spawn, 2 Forsaken, and the rest of the Tzeentchian army is going to be moving down this direction to really press Khorne. And I would expect Tim to resummon his caster, because Tzeentch without magic, it's just like, you need it. And it triggers your army abilities. It's just so valuable. So I think you really need to get that caster back soon. Now, killing the Exalted Bloodletter was nice for sure. It takes away a lot of the infantry capture weight. And now Khorne is going to be maneuvering back to the middle objective. Although Tzeentch can, of course, summon in its own reinforcements, and they have this nice little like center where they can maneuver here, or they can like head up this direction, and they can, you know, address multiple threats. Forsaken should trade okay into Chaos Warrior Halberds. Halberds do have armor piercing for them, but their attack rates are quite slow. And Tzeentch does have access to the Spawn here. Spawn will sunder their armor, making Forsaken exponentially more effective. So we'll see how that fight goes. But again, the capture weight is going to be going to Tzeentch. Now Tzeentch, pretty much, you know, the die is cast. The role is clear. Tzeentch needs to just hold the middle, and they're probably going to get that far objective. But holding the middle is going to be their next goal, as Khorne is going to be sending in Chaos Warriors across the board. We do have the Lord of Bulldogs down here, and he's just going to be battling against some of the spawn. Maybe just serving as a roadblock of sorts. But here comes the Berserkers of Khorne. Big damage, as they are going to be cutting through blues. And honestly, with 50 plus weapon strength, they can also cut through the spawn. You can see a couple spawn instantly go down. I think these are probably one of the coolest looking models in the entire game. They just do so much work. If I wasn't a dedicated Sigmarite, you know, in my old world army, I probably would play Khorne. But I just, you know, I can't betray Sigmar in Warhammer Fantasy. I can't do it. So here, Fleshhounds of Khorne bouncing up, going to be going after blues. Really nice play here by Anticity, picking off some objective holders. Here in the middle, the capture weight is going to be going for Khorne, as a massive legion of steel just pours onto the objective. And the Tzeentch forces do stand at the ready to fight, but they're also going to be getting flanked, as they are a little bit busy with this unit. Spawn, of course, sundering armor, bringing them down to a fairly low amount there. But Khorne just parking on the point. They're going to be wrestling that. And now the caster is back. Oh, and the Portal of Tzeentch is here. That will be tickling these guys a little bit, doing some nice work against those Chaos Warriors with dual weapons. But overall, Khorne is an incredibly cost-effective trader. His units in general just trade super well again in infantry if they're able to just get these fights like this. But man, guys, I think this is a really underrated spell. That Gateway of Tzeentch is just insane. It pretty much one-shots any unit it hits. I have a feeling he's overcasting it though. Now, some Chaos Furies being summoned in from Tim. They're going to be attacking the Khorne Furies and should be able to win that fight, considering they got the charge. Tzeentch is able to wrestle this lower objective, and the Spawn and Forsaken should eventually win this. However, there are some Exalted Bloodletters here, and these mighty demons of the Blood God are pretty much designed to kill Forsaken. Forsaken are armored and pretty low melee defense. These guys are high melee attack, huge armor piercing bonus for infantry. Need I say more? 23 value right there. And the rumble in the fight continues. The rumble in the middle. Rumble in the fight? Rumble in the middle. Come on, brain. It's late at night. I have no excuses. I'm awake right now. I'm awake. But Khorne continuing to fight for this. So it looks like it's still barely owned by Tzeentch. The Forsaken and Spawn combo, of course, is really strong here. And now we get some Furies descending from the skies. Going to be trying to break the Fleshhounds on the charge. And the Herald of Tzeentch, he too shall prepare another gateway. As the value is like dead even, guys. Like 9.2 for Tim, which is pretty much because he lost his Lord in the beginning. And he's keeping it very close. 10.3 for the Kraken King. Side objective is owned by Tzeentch. Middle objective is now taken by Khorne. Khorne is able to get these back. But they, I think, are going to be a little bit more efficient here in these trades. Although I think another gateway is coming, which is going to be hitting the back of these Khornate infantry. The magic of the Changer. Really giving the Blood God some huge problems. As these Khorne infantry are being sucked into the vortex from hell. Reinforcements, of course, coming down the hills. But, well, I guess Khorne is more like traditional hellscape, right? It's just like a mysterious void. The realm of H.P. Lovecraft, we can call it that. And look at this, Tzeentch able to re-wrestle that middle objective. We got a bunch of blues coming in. Really good tactics here from Anticity. Using the Hound units to stuff the Tzeentchian forces. That's a really good play. So those Chaos Warhounds and Furies able to keep those blues at bay. and keep them off the objective. And that does buy him a little bit of time to get a flank with those hounds. And once again, the Tzeentch caster in a little bit of danger, but it looks like he decided to get into melee on his own accord, and he is going to be finishing off those flesh hounds. Now, is Tim going to be able to get this objective back? We do have more pressure coming down here. Chaos Warriors from Anticity are going to be waddling over, and man, oh man, talk about Value City, baby. These Bloodletters of Khorne have just done so much work. 1200 value, they're probably going to kill the Spawn and Forsaken. Like, this whole objective is being soloed by Anticity's Bloodletters. Exalted Bloodletters are a really, 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 really solid infantry unit. I find they trade so well in so many matchups. And, you know, they're not as squishy as people think. Yes, they're low armor, but their melee defense is, you know, it's like almost 40. So it's like, and I guess the best defense is a good offense, as many people have said. And, you know, it goes both directions, right? People say whatever suits their preferences. But Herald of Khorne, a little bit trapped up here, but what's great about him, he's occupying this entire army. These guys are not playing the objectives. They're sitting over there on the side. Maybe the Khorne Lord will eventually die, but this army could have maybe migrated down here. You see, the dreaded tactic, which I think we're very aware of here. So let me go ahead and give you guys the play-by-play in just a second. You guys ready for my John Madden? This unit here and this unit here could have gone all the way up here, just like that, and could go to this objective. Alas, they're stuck in this choke point and they're not able to make it. Got to do it once per stream, guys. It has to happen. So Tzeentch does have this objective, but Khorne looks like they're going to be getting some flesh hounds right here, and then the Khorne Doggos and the Chaos Warriors going to be claiming this one very, very quickly. Currently, this is a dead even game. I have to say, the games between Tim and Anticity today have been so close. 27-30 against 26-95. Khorne going to be taking the objective, and they should be able to roadblock Tzeentch off right here. Tzeentch probably wants to kill these warriors and move around and then bring some reinforcements from the high ground up here. I think like that would be good. I think that would be quite outstanding indeed. Now back in the middle point, looks like Khorne is kind of given up. The Chaos Warriors and Spawn not really going to be contesting this for too much longer. Tzeentch does summon in a unit, which I think is going to be super huge here. The Flamers of Tzeentch, if they are not attacked by Furies or flying units, they are going to be giving the business. They are going to be giving the business for sure. So we'll see. They're going to come up and around here, maybe get this high ground position like so, and then shoot into the Chaos Warriors right here on the low ground. These guys deserve a promotion. I don't know if there's a rank above Exalted. I don't think there is, but these Bloodletters should be like double Exalted at this point, because these guys are great. Sorry guys, I can't resist. I can't resist. The hardest I think ever to resist drawing things like that is when I'm on an official like creative assembly stream and like every ounce of my fiber wants to do it, and I just can't. Just can't do it. Fleshhound's going to be swarming. Looks like they will attack that Herald of Tzeentch. Going to be nibbling at him for sure. How much damage is he taking? Not too much. Looks like he's going to find a way, and he Tokyo drifts out. Flamers of Tzeentch are in a good position, and like they could be a good bunker buster here. But the Khorne Dogs might be able to come through and take him straight to the Carnival. We'll see. No, it looks like they're going to be going after the Pinks right there, which are a summon unit, but immediately Anticity realizes that the Flamers of Tzeentch are the big problem here. And in response, Tim is going to be moving them onto his melee units. They're very quick with, 69 leadership, that's what she said. But they're going to be moving through and getting support from the Spawn and these different pieces. Does Tzeentch have anything coming? It looks like they're really going to be fighting super heavily in the pits here. Now, the middle objective is owned by the Changer. You don't want to send too much stuff off here. The top objective is, I actually wouldn't hate it if we got a Flamer summoned here and it just went and started like roasting that one unit. I think that could be pretty cool for sure. Now, this fight, very, very hard to tell. The value of trading this game has been like within 300 points the entire time, which is crazy. More Exalted Bloodletters have come in. These guys are going to be a nightmare to deal with. And the Flamers of Tzeentch appear to be in guard mode over here, ripping some really nice shots up into the Flamers, or into the Exalted Bloodletters. Beautiful damage, but in the end, it looks like the Fleshhounds of Khorne, the Blood Gods, Hounds, bay in the night, as they do surround the Flamers, getting a huge kill on a high-value unit here, which was super, super necessary. Currently, this objective, it was partially contested by Tzeentch for a second, but I don't know if Tzeentch is going to be able to get any infantry on that point quick enough. I think it's time to get all hands on deck. Like, I think you got to pull these blues down here. You got to go for it. And maybe some Forsaken from the high ground to, like, move over there could be very, very strong as well. Trying to push off the Hounds. Khorne looking a little bit beat up here on this point, but the Bloodletters are holding like champions. And so, too, are the Spawn of Khorne. With their 190 weapon strength, they're able to just mincemeat these guys, doing huge, huge damage for sure. Looking around the map. They're going to be sending in their forces now. It is getting dangerously close to the point where Tzeentch would need a triple cap. If they capped soon-ish here, they could probably get away with a double. But I don't think that's going to happen. It looks like the Kraken King is just barely going to be edging out a win here, which is certainly quite impressive. as it looked like Tzeentch was in a good position at several points over the course of the game, but Anticity was able to get these good engagements, roadblock his opponent very, very well, and keep that value up, and now Khorne is starting to run away with the value. Tzeentch is running out of steam. Obviously, Magic might have run out. The Lord is in a little bit of danger up here in the sky. Khorne doesn't really care as much about losing its Lord, whereas like Tzeentch, losing your Lord early on is a huge one. I actually think that if Tim the Wilder had not maybe lost his Lord in the beginning, I think it could have been a very different match. I think Tzeentch might have been able to win that game based on how well he was playing despite not having a Lord and having to spend 1,500 to buy back a Lord. He played very, very well, but losing his Lord in the beginning, I think, was the blunder there. GG, well played. The top point was also very much an option, right? You could have gone for that too. But guys, we're going to game 3. It's time for the rubber match. If you guys are enjoying the stream, do drop a like. It helps out quite a bit. And we will see how the next match goes. So this one is going to be Death's Pass is the map, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. It is Death's Pass. That is the map of maps. And let me go ahead and do it. Let's see. One sec. Just responding to an inquiry here. All right, so we'll get to the bottom of that in just a second. Yeah, Tim in chat saying, I got greedy with the Lord dives. Yeah, a little bit, man, but it's okay. It happens to everyone. It is not a problem. So now we'll need to see what the picks and bans are for the players. And we'll go from there. Alrighty. So we're going to be taking a look at who would be next up. Stingers needs an opponent. Unfortunately, Bobman isn't able to make it to the finals. And Dactor. Come on, guys. Don't sign up for the tournament if you can't finish. Let's get this going here. All right. So we're going to have to update that in just a second. We'll get to the bottom of it. The Tzeentch Lord value, the Great Chicken. Let's go ahead and take a look, actually. Sorry, guys. I was just doing some admin stuff. Holy shit. 4,500 value on that Tzeentch Lord, dude. Crazy. Forsaken did their job. Tzeentch Lord tried to carry the game. Exalted Bloodletters did good. And so too did the other one. Looks like 2,200 on that Bloodletter right there. Man, that is some scary value on that guy, man. Really, really making his opponents pay the troll toll. So again, here's the brackets for today. Need to do a little bit of admin work as the players can't finish. And we'll do it. All right. Very cool. What do you think about Blood Crushers against Tzeentch or Nurgle? I don't know. Yeah, they could be good. Like the heavy cab to kill Plague Bearers, because Nurgle does struggle against such things. I could see a build like that, like a really cheap, like Lord of Khorne, like on foot to justify like a high expense cost. Yeah, that bad boy got a ton of value, 4,500. I mean, he really punished so many units. That is big city. All right, one sec. And all right. So we just got to figure out somebody to replace these two players, unfortunately. Am I just going to have to come in and do it? I mean, oh, man. Okay, so what we'll probably do is the next player who got highest up was Trader GG. So let me go ahead and hit him up and see. Because that would be the next best, because since he's on the high end of the leaderboard, and also he was, yeah, cool, sounds good. All right, so we have our substitute. Trader is, I believe, like number 10 on the leaderboard, plus he was eliminated the round before, so that would be the most fair for a replacement. What would it take to make Skull Cannons good? Ah, man, I don't know, man. They're just so weird. They just don't do enough damage, man. Like in land battles, they're a little bit more feasible because you can like cheese with them and like draw kite people basically, but in the other format, not so much. Okay, so perfect. We have our sub and we're all set. St. Augustine, love your content and your dog. Do you think in a future update we could get Demons Undivided for ranked and tourneys? I think so. I think at some point it might be possible. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what they look like. All right, cool. And we're all set. Cool. And perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at the picks and bans now. So we'll head on over, see what the players are doing. The map is going to be Death's Pass. and we will see what tricks the players have. Okay, so Anticity is going to be going with Nurgle, and his other pick is going to be Tzeentch, and then he is going to be banning Khorne. So Khorne has been banned. So let me just go ahead and change this to ban. And Khorne is his ban. All right, so Khorne. The Khorne dogs hath been banned. And now his opponent here is going to go Ogres. So we got the Ogre Kingdoms coming out. And he is going to be banning Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the ban here as we continue to update. The final pick for the Kraken King, now that he has the choice between those two units, obviously is going to be Nurgle, because the ban came in from Tim, and we have our Duel of Fates. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the duel between a big Nurgle, who Anticity has been a super big hype lord for Nurgle lately, and then it is going to be the Ogre Kingdoms here on the other side. So there you have it. This is the current Duel of Fates for this match. We'll let the players pick their armies, and we'll be starting in just a second, but this is the match at hand. And currently the score is 1-1. Alrighty. So Lich109 says, I never really looked into it, but Bloodletters do hit their buff, keep up their buff. I don't think they do, because the unit resummons. That's actually a really interesting one. Do Exalted Bloodletters resummon with their Hellblade buff from the kills they got previously? I don't know. Yeah, shout out to Lachlan for making this. I did not make this. Somebody in the community did. A great man. And it certainly is cool. You can see the maps, you can see the score, and we can just kind of hang tight until the players are ready. But this is the current state right now. So Anticity picked Nurgle and Tzeentch for his two factions. His opponent then picked Ogre Kingdoms. And you can see the bans and all that sort of good stuff. Let's go, High Elves. You guys want High Elves? Here, let's get a power fantasy right now. Here they come. The old world is here. Oh, look how cool they are. Give us the High Elves, precious. Yeah, so there's obviously spaces for all those guys, but they're not in the game yet. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon, my friends. Alrighty. So let me double check with the players, see if they're ready. Remember to change the map, by the way. All right, I will. So we'll head back to the lobby right now, and we will change the map to Death Pass. Cool. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool for Bloodletters. Yes, they resummoned the buff. You were really surprised the first time you saw it. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of information going into this old brain, so occasionally I do miss things. Ogre Kingdoms versus Nurgle. Now, obviously, with the nerf to Gorgers, this matchup is actually, I think, even. I think Nurgle can beat Ogres, and Ogres can beat Nurgle. It goes either way. I'm curious if we're going to be seeing any crazy innovations from Tim. Do we still see the Iron Blaster? I still think Gorgers are amazing. Like, a Gorger unit will do quite well against Plague Bearers, I think, especially if you buff them a little bit. Don't tease us like that, I know. I know, man, I know. God, I want the old world so bad. Hey, Saint, thank you for the donation again, bud. Really appreciate that. I'm thinking about doing like live type podcast videos as well, where I would just have like a guest and we sit and just talk about certain aspects of the meta or certain factions, and it would be like a live stream. I don't know. Would you guys prefer it be a live stream or a video? Like, the thing is, the video is going to be a little bit more focused, whereas a live stream, there's going to be more like kind of answering questions live and things like that. What do you guys think about that? Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Predictions on how good Bretonnia will be in Domination. I think Bretonnia will be great. I think the cavalry, the cheap infantry to hold objectives, like peasant mobs just to snake objectives, is going to be very viable for sure. Yeah, man. I can't wait for Tomb Kings also. Simu Shopti Greatbow just going deep. Oh, it's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome indeed. So, Anticity is ready. Nurgle is his pick. Ogre Kingdoms sitting on the other side is scheming. Perhaps an Iron Blaster is being set up. 6 Sweetness, you would watch that? Yeah, it would just be something kind of casual. Yeah, I think the live stream's a little bit better, right? I mean, obviously you guys are biased because you guys are the folks who hang out in live streams, but it would just be like a really relaxed thing where, live and recorded, of course, yeah. Yeah, well, every live stream gets uploaded as a video on my channel, so. Hey, Bill, thank you. Bill was one of my favorite characters in King of the Hill. Holy shit, there's like this compilation How many of you guys in chat, since we're on like the North American time right now, how many of you guys in chat were like King of the Hill fans? Oh, that's cool. I think Tim is a newer player and he made his way to the semis. Yeah, Tim took a game authenticity and every game has been razor close. It's funny, Arrow. Like I feel like I was pretty good at land battles. Like in terms of land battles, I felt like I could compete with the best players. Like I might not, beat the best players in the world, but I could compete and take games off them. But in Domination, it's like it almost feels like learning a new game in many ways, which I think is reinvigorating for sure. Granted, I do enjoy land battles as well, but not having to deal with rules and things like that is really, really nice. What day for a live stream you think? I don't know. I don't know, Toxic, what day we would do that. That boy ain't right. Dude, I love King of the Hill. But Bill was one of my favorite characters. His last name is like Dowtree or something like that. There's this episode that catalogs the downfall of like Bill, which is just so sad. It shows like Bill in high school is like this like stud, like this like football player who's just like a stud and he's super fit. He goes to like join the military during like Vietnam and he's just like, he just comes back kind of like a broken man and just like becomes like fat and like just miserable. And yeah, it was just like, man, that really got me down. It was like real sad. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty overweight right now too. But just like seeing a downfall of a character in that format, it was like, because it comes with depression for him as well. Yeah, the bulldozer. Yeah, not having to deal with the rules is really nice. Sorry guys, I'm just having a snack real quick. So Lich109 says, will mortar wagons be good in Domination? Maybe. Yeah, the injections from the army, yeah. That's what it was. Mortar wagons could be interesting. And you know what I think is going to be a hidden gem? Is I think the Black Lions, the ROR wagon. I think those will be sweet, dude. Because like they can't be shut down by Fury super easily and things like that. So they can just kind of sit back there and just drop some fat, steaming Sigmarite payloads on people. Triple Man-Eater pistol. Okay, this is kind of old school. Eldrin, how would the evil tree Dryka do? I think Dryka will be good in Domination. She has a nice AoE buff. She can summon dryads on objectives. Like, she's got a good lore of magic. I'm pretty overweight, too. Q's Russell bag of chips. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, dude. All right, so looking at the army here, guys. It's going to be Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists and some with dual weapons. Now, you guys might be wondering, why the hell do you bring Iron Fists against Nurgle? Well, Iron Fists do have higher melee defense values. 34 compared to 26. So they last a little bit longer. So it's going to be Bulls in the back, Bulls on parade, triple Man-Eater pistol. These guys, of course, very, very strong at sniping things. And we do have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw for Tim. Now for the Kraken King, he's going to be playing super wide. He is going to be playing with a Herald of Nurgle. We have Forsaken, Spawn, and it looks like it's going to be Plague Bearers galore with double Cultists. And that's pretty much it. I think Cultists need a huge nerf. Huge nerf for sure. Who do you think will be the worst faction in Domination in Game 3? Dwarves? I don't think Dwarves will be as bad as people think. Like, Dwarves can play like Nurgle. They have tanky infantry. They can swarm and, like... They also have Vanguard deployment on some units. Worst faction. Okay, I actually don't know. That's a really tough question, but let's just say High Elves, because that's pretty much always the answer. That's just how people roll, man. Let's just say High Elves, dude. I don't know. Yeah, like, what are they going to do? Eldrin, thank you. Yeah, Dryka could be good. Are you talking about Dryka with like the wolves and the I mean, I think you would need more than that. You would probably need her dryads and treemen and things like that. High Elves are like the classic meme faction that just always struggle and suffer. They've had a couple moments in the sun with the really cheesy blobs and things like that, but overall they tend to struggle, for sure. So dual weapon bulls do lose the Plague Bearers, if I'm not mistaken, but they also cost about, how much less? 100 less, give or take? And they're much more mobile, right? So Nurgle is slower, but the bulls have twice the speed and the same capture weight. So a Plague Bearer should beat an Ogre Bull in combat. It's slow, but it's like a beast in combat, right? Yeah, like for dwarves, here's the thing. Here's what you do for dwarves. And no, I'm not going to draw a sausage right now. I'm actually going to give you like good input. So if I was a dwarf player on this map, here's what I would do. I would put like an organ gun right here, just a huge erect organ gun, okay? And then what you do is you put an Iron Breaker, Nurglings on this side with a single Slayer parked right here. And then the rest of your army just moves up to the center while the organ gun just thumps on your opponent. You just play the two objectives. Like, dwarves are going to be pretty sweet there, dude. Yeah, they're going to be pretty sweet. Oh, Steven, no worries. Appreciate it. But, like, I think dwarves aren't going to be as bad as people think. Like, I'm straight up going to play dwarves in Empire. Those will be, like, some of my main ones. I love playing Nurgle, too. Because I play Nurgle in 40k and Death Guard and Tabletop, so. Yeah, I think Brian has a good guess. I think of all the elves, Wood Elves will be the best, followed by Dark Elves and High Elves would be my guess. Yeah, no Stonehorns. Stonehorns don't kill quick enough, in my opinion. And now that Nurgle players are learning they can go super wide and just, like, target objectives, it's a thing. So what I would imagine will happen is I think the Man-Eater pistols will creep up here, start shooting at Nurgle in the middle, and they'll kind of passively threaten the back objective to keep Nurgle back here. That's what you want to be doing. You want to just like keep a couple bulls, or at least a bull on parade. And it looks like, did we get a stream of corruption on these guys? What the hell? That's an interesting usage of magic. It didn't actually kill any models, but they're all pretty much on death's bed right now. That is for sure. Okay, oh my god, I totally forgot, guys. Yeah, no, Cathay is going to be the worst faction. High Elves will be better than Cathay for sure. Oh yeah, Cathay is going to be the worst faction. Unless your question was pointed at like, oh, is it going to be who's the worst of the old factions? I think overall the worst will probably be Cathay. Unless they get some huge buffs. I sent some patch notes to Creative Assembly pertaining to buffing Cathay. And I mean, if some of those changes come in, I think they could be okay. We also don't know what the DLC landscape looks like for them, but we'll have to see. So Plague Bearers of Nurgle up on the objective. The Man-Eater pistols are now going to be moving in. Bulls are chilling in the bushes here. They would lose to Forsaken and Plague Bearer, so they're going to have to kind of reroute their position. We do get some more Ogre Bulls on their way. Nurgle swarming up onto the middle point, but the Man-Eater pistols are getting some damage. The Plague Bearers here are slowly being worn down. And they are good fighters as well. Man-Eaters do carry a fair amount of capture weight. And, you know, honestly, the Ogres could probably pour in with some, like, Iron Guts and, like, really, really fighty units and do well. In the meantime, the Herald of Nurgle does move in, and he is able to break, I think, some of the Noblars. No, it looks like they just barely hold on. What champs, man. They hold, like, absolute beasts. On the back objective, Ogre Bulls thinking about moving. We also get some Noblars. So maybe they're going to try and 3v1 those guys over there, or 3v2. They might be able to do it. Man-Eaters getting a nice shot here on the Plague Bearers of Nurgle, as they do shamble forth, and the Ogre Bulls going to be coming to get you. Now, Ogres probably really, really don't like this fight. I think, you know, I think that there's no edible food here. I think anything they would eat from the Nurgle roster isn't going to be great for them. Plague Bearers also hit very hard. They have almost 50 weapons rank, so they are able to buzzsaw down some of these units. Now, Nurgle moving up onto the objective. Very, very cozy. Ogres, you know, there's a little bit of eyeing going down here. We have a good old standoff as Spawn and Nurgle looking to move here. But I think the Ogres can probably win this fight with all these units here. We'll have to see. The Man-Eater pistols are the big investment, right? That's like the gimmick the Ogres have. And I don't know why. The Man-Eater pistols are a little bit stacked up, like, inefficiently here. Like, they're just all blobbed. They need to be in a concave. They need to be in a circle like this, shooting here, here, and, like, in from all directions to really maximize their firepower. Now, some of them are shooting. They can theoretically kill Spawn super quickly, but, like, Anticity is more than happy to just sit on that middle point and just cackle all day. Also, an Iron Blaster, I think, might still be a decent investment against Ogres or against Nurgle. It's hard to say. The two cultists moving in. Ogres, you know, do have characters that can kill them, but I don't think any of them are currently present. Like, the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw should probably be beating down on one of these Nurgle cultists with the dual weapon characters since they're on foot. And the triple Man-Eater pistols really not doing a whole lot, man. One of them shooting here. Some of the spawners starting to take damage. And the back objective, has the attack order been given? No, it looks like these dual weapon bulls aren't even fighting right now. A little bit of a mistake there. They need to be sent in. There they go. All right, so they're given the order to fight. In the meantime, Nurgle is pushing back the Ogre Kingdoms. Iron Guts are also not a bad choice. Nurgle does lack armor piercing, so Iron Guts kind of slipping in there and causing problems can be quite good. The Man-Eaters now are starting to pick off the Chaos Spawn, and we do get the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw also lending his blade. And it looks like there's going to be a big Power Fist. Here it comes, baby. The Power Fist of the Great Maw. Anticity does not see it. And it does some okay damage. It's certainly worth doing. Now, on the other side of the battlefield, Ogres are coming to get you. They do break up one Forsaken, and now they have these Plague Bearers isolated. So I do like this pressure from the Ogres. Ooh, and look at this. We also have Iron Guts down here as well. So the Iron Guts will potentially put some good hurt here on the Plague Bearers. Yes, yes, indeed. Leadership is currently At 44 for the Plague Bearers, not close to crumbling, but eventually the Ogres will win this fight, but not with the Herald, Spawn, and Forsaken coming. But this is also a really good play by the Ogres, because it's pulling all these units over, right? So these two Plague Bearers are going to be hustling over here, and Nurgle, like, takes a long time, right? Like, look how lightly defended the middle is now. The Ogre Kingdoms could probably bull rush this objective. If they got enough bulls together, they could probably get on there and kill these two Plague Bearers. These other ones are a little bit out of position. You can see he kind of realizes this, and Anticity is going to be pulling them back to the middle, while the Exalted Boys move over that direction. But there's going to need to be a 2-cap from the Ogre Kingdoms here relatively soon. And wow, look at this. We even have Man-Eaters with great weapons moving in. So if those Man-Eaters can get on top of the spawn, they will give them the dirty. Like super, super hard. Now back in the middle, Nurgle is kind of being routed here. Plague Bears are crumbling down. Are they summons? It looks like those were summons, so that's quite nice. The back objective seems relatively secure for the Ogres. The spawn are getting worn down. Overall, Ogre Kingdoms are up in value by about 2,000, which is fairly normal. Nurgle has healing, so it's not that big of a deal. But Nurgle does get the Stream of Corruption there. It doesn't really do too much. It does take out some Noblars, but the Man-Eater pistols are pretty healthy. And now Noblars and a bunch of units are moving on to the midpoint. Nice Power Fist of the Great Maw. That one was overcasted, doing some thick damage, leaving a crater there on the earth as the Forsaken certainly get taken to Poundland. Now the Ogres can steal this point. This is like what Ogres do really, really well. Nurgle obviously invested quite a bit over here. This army's retreating, and they're going to come down and under. And I honestly think Ogres can take this point. If Tim plays this correctly and force paths on here, I think he gets this point right now. Although there are Plague Bears coming, so maybe not. Now on the back objective, Ogre Kingdom's actually losing this fight. Looks like the Toads coming in did make a little bit of a difference. And there's just one Ogre Bull Iron Fist fighting there. So that is actually quite precarious for the Ogre Kingdoms. You got this big force moving to the middle. Should be able to move in and snake it like this, which is going to be super, super important here. Nurgle, of course, is taking a beating on many fronts. The two cultists are holding like champs, though, and the biggest problem is it's occupying these expensive units, right? They're just sitting here fighting these regenerating cultist characters, which are incredibly difficult to kill for sure. Extra ingredients is popped. The middle objective is taken by the Ogre Kingdoms, and you can see how quickly the Ogre Kingdoms can take objectives if everything kind of aligns for them, right? There's been a couple opportunities. I think maybe reinforcing this back objective, although Nurgle's going pretty balls deep for it. Like Toads, Nurglings, like a lot of tanky units, and just a ton of HP, a ton of poison. They are certainly really cackling like the heathen kings of old here as the Ogre Bulls are in a little bit of danger. Now looking around, Ogres fighting here, still tar pitted. The second summon has come out, and now the Ogres are going to be bull rushing for the back objective, which I certainly like. They're rerouting their forces to pressure the top. So now Nurgle's going to be a little bit occupied here, but man oh man, guys, we have Exalted Plague Bears. Like, these guys are so incredibly tough to remove. They're just throwing in, they got their holy hand grenades, just having a good old jolly time at the expense here of the Great Maw. Massacre going down, going to be giving the Ogre army a little bit more fighting power, and now the Ogre Legion is going to be crushing from the middle, and it's going to be trying to sweep up and under and get that objective, but Nurgle knows this. Plague Bears and Forsaken are moving that direction. And a lot of units for the Ogres have just been kind of trapped here for a while. Although, potentially an opportunity here to maybe sneak around and jack this point. Although, I don't think so. Nurgle's a little bit too tight there to the map. And there's two Nurglings back here, which are going to take quite a bit of time to remove. 3,500 here for the Kraken King. The Man-Eaters with pistols are now pulling back. Ogre Bulls, as well as the Noblars, going to be moving on to the center objective. Nurgle very, very on point with these objectives. Getting a couple infantry on there, and the Ogres have kind of abandoned it with most of their troops, so they might be paying the troll toll here. As the Kraken King looking to close out this series. Ogres get caught in a bad way here. Oh my god, what a nice usage of that ability. Curse of the Slug going down. Big AoE slow, right? So the little popcorn Nurglings get to be applying poison as well. I love their attack animations. So these Ogres are going to be super chunky right now. Certainly not enjoying this feast. As, you know, they got to eat the popcorn at hand, and it's certainly a little bit poisonous. Nurglings here are going to be breaking. Forsaken breaking as well. And Ogre Kingdoms are up by about close to 3,000 value. But it doesn't matter. Nurgle's been able to play the objectives better. And overall, Ogres hold on to the middle point. It is a triple cap situation now, though. Ogres would have to get a triple cap, and I don't see that happening. I think the Forsaken and the Nurglings here are going to be able to live it up. And the Forsaken shall be pushing across. Nurgle might even be able to wrestle this objective. You can see the two cultists of Nurgle are just so tough to remove. So tough. And they're both full health, right? They were being beaten on for a lot of the game, but the regeneration in conjunction with the support they were able to get was a little bit too much, man. A little bit too much. Frank, nice live turn. Yeah, man, we're here. We're having a good time. So in the middle, the Ogre Kingdoms are going to be losing the point, and Nurgle is going to be securing the triple cap. Anticity certainly is a Terminator. He is showing a mastery over all factions. Nurgle making a bit of a comeback in the meta. After the changes, people learning how to play them. Nurgle seems to have been doing pretty well in these tournaments. Yeah, which is great. So that, my friends, is going to be a 2-1 victory for the Kraken King. And he is going to be officially advancing on to the grand finals. So let's make it happen. Drag his name over there. And now we have Stingers. And we did update the bracket one last time. It's going to be Trader GG, actually. Alrighty. Cool. And there we go. So we're going to get the next lobby set up. And let's get this party started. Trader GG versus Stingers. We'll get them into the lobby and go from there. Alrighty. So Anticity will be in the grand finals. And the next two players are now on their way. The dreaded Nurgle has done it. The Ogres can beat Nurgle in a blob fight. Yeah, there was a couple opportunities where the Ogres could have maybe been more aggressive on some points, but the Man-Eater pistols, I feel, didn't do that much because they're more meant for sniping high-value targets. So if your opponent has a super wide army, they're like the Man-Eater pistols were the weak link for sure. Yeah, you need Greasus. Greasus is the one you need, that's for sure. All right, who's it going to be? Trader has made it, and now we just need Stingers to jump in here, and we'll be good to go. Here. Just letting the players know to type their picks and bans so we can update you guys and show you what's going on. All right, all right. How do you even remove double cultists as ogres? It's hard for sure. I think, yeah, I mean, if you're going for a caster character, it's probably not going to be super easy, right? You know, they're very tough because you have access to healing too and fecundity and all sorts of things like that. But you probably just run away from them, to be fair, and go fight on the objectives. Who will be the Blob King, Vampire Counts, or Nurgle? I personally think Vampire Counts will be stronger than Nurgle. Nurgle's in a decent spot right now, but Vampire Counts have a little bit more diversity and the same blobbing potential. Like they also have Graveguard, which will be very good against Plague Bearers, and they have their own Mortis Engine, their own healing, and Blood Knights are super good too. I think Blood Knights will really do quite well in that matchup. Yeah, I actually think Counts can do it, Hayden. I think it'll be maybe Nurgle's favored in the matchup against Counts per se. But I think Counts will be a little bit more of a dynamic faction across more matchups. Like they won't struggle as much against like certain types of shooting elements and things like that. All right. So maps are just giving the players the maps and Gully. All right. So the first map here is going to be Arnheim. So that's one of the newer maps, certainly a funky one, but it makes for some interesting viewing experiences. Man-Eaters are overvalued, I think, by Ogre players. Yeah, the Man-Eater pistols aren't, they were not good in that situation. That's for sure. Blood Knights are just an awesome unit too. They're so cool. They're really, really cool for sure. Okay, so let's go to the pick and ban and get it all updated. And we'll get this party started in just a minute. So it is going to be Stingers 1, 2, 3 versus Trader GG. No wins for either player. Picks and bans have yet to be decided. And what did I say the map was, guys? It's going to be Arnheim? Yes, that's right. Arnheim. Arnheim's a real wild map. That was actually a ladder map back in Warhammer 1 days, and it was super unfair, but it made for some really interesting battles. That's for sure. Like terrain makes maps interesting, but it's certainly like for the sake of competitive play, it's you got to be careful with the maps that you pick. All right, so there we have it. Arnheim is set, waiting on the picks and bans for the players, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we have the Ogre Kingdoms as a 1 pick for Trader. Okay, so Trader is going to pick Ogre Kingdoms and Slaanesh. Oh, okay. We haven't seen too much Slaanesh today. And now we're waiting on the picks from his opponent. So those are the 2 that Trader has nominated to play. Now, Stingers will pick 1 to play against either of those 2. Turin, do you have a favorite faction or Lord campaign experience from Total War Warhammer 2? 100% Karl Franz, yeah. I love the Empire campaign. It's so good. What are the S tier factions right now? Dude, honestly, the meta's in flux. I would say Khorne is really consistent. Nurgle's creeping up there, though, man. Nurgle's been having a lot of good trades. I think Nurgle's only true counter probably nowadays is Tzeentch. Yeah. Yeah, oh my god, the Belagar Ironhammer campaign was wild as hell. I've been like wondering if I should be doing campaigns right now. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I feel like the campaigns probably are a little bit, everyone's kind of done them already, and it might not be too fun to watch. Maybe like the head-to-head campaigns are so cool, but I don't know. Tomb Kings vs. Khorne is going to be maximum sadness. We'll see, man. You never know. You never know. So then the pick here for Stingers is going to be Khorne. So now the final pick for him essentially is Khorne, right? So you guys get a little bit of a look into how the system works. And we just have to see what his opponent will pick. So he can pick either Ogres against Khorne or Slaanesh. I actually don't know. On this map's really big. Maybe Slaanesh is the way to go. Exalted Demonettes are pretty good against Khorne, especially the Warriors. I don't know how they trade against the Exalted Bloodletters, but overall, it's a very, very scrappy fight. Which is a very scrappy fight indeed. And the pick is going to be Slaanesh. It is going to be the Prince of Decadence. Khorne versus Slaanesh is the battle. The die is cast, ladies and gentlemen. Now we just need to set up a couple more things as we move back on over to the lobbies and update the scorecards. So it is going to be Trader GG versus Stingers 1, 2, 3. Really cool to see all these new faces in the higher echelons of these tournaments. I know it's a weird time. I couldn't get the motivation to stream earlier, so I was like, man, I need to do something. And I was like, let's just do a tournament later when I'm feeling a little bit more awake and motivated and everything like that. Would love to see something's rotten in Kislev with the boys. Yeah, I would love to try that one. You should play whatever you enjoy. If you want a campaign, I think you should. Well, it's more like, you know, I enjoy, you know, partying with you guys, so it depends if you would be interested. Sounds good, Lich. Appreciate that, man. I know, I always put myself in bad situations. I don't know what campaign we would do next, though. I already did a Kislev one, basically finished it, and that was before they made the quality of life changes. Like, Khorne is a little bit too easy. Nurgle is like just going to be haggard blobs moving around. I was thinking of doing an Iron Dragon campaign. I really liked his campaign quite a bit. So, Slaanesh versus Khorne. Chariots got buffed recently, so maybe the Slaaneshi chariots will be used. They're very fast, very furious, but if you leave them alone, you're going to be paying the Troll Toll. Favorite looking unit in the game so far, says Toxic, is the Griffin Legion. Griffin Legion are really cool looking. Yeah, the golden armor. Okoy says 2 ogres. Of course you did. Okoy, how's Elden Ring been treating you? I saw you made a Total War video today with the Cultists of Nurgle. Those units are quite strong. Have you thought about doing any other genres of games? Not really. RTS is kind of my jam, like real-time strategy. Here's a game that I will cover on the channel when it comes out. Diablo 4. Diablo. However, I always say that wrong. But yeah, D4 I'll cover, because I'm a diehard like Diablo 2 fan, so I would love to cover that. It is the dreaded Okoy, the Lord of Ogres. Hey, some dude. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Does Khorne crush Slaanesh in multiplayer like in single player? It's a different beast. It's a different beast. Like, Khorne is probably a little easier, but Slaanesh can certainly win it. Battlefleet Gothic Armada tournaments. So there's no spectator feature in that game. So I wouldn't be able to watch people's games. That's the bad part. Yeah. That's the bad part about those. Bannerlord is getting custom servers. Yeah, I would be down for that. When Bannerlords gets custom servers, we could do like big kind of faction war type things. That would be really fun. You know, Okoy, what could be cool is we could all get like folks from our respective communities, and we could have like duels. That would be really fun. Yeah, Arrow says if it lives up to the expectations, I would get down on D4 with you. Hell yeah, man. You never know. I mean, Blizzard has pretty much had a pretty wretched track record the past few years, but I don't know, man. Nostalgia keeps pulling me back. Company of Heroes 3 for sure. For sure. I'm planning on a bunch of stuff for it. Should be a blast for organized PvP. Yeah, I think that would be really fun. I'll do some Armada streams where I'm just playing. Yeah, like Battlefleet Gothic Armada is a really, really fun game. Yeah, it was great. Hayden wondering if you can mod it to have spectators. Our subscriber battle will be legendary, I know. I'm just gonna go find like the most OP mercenaries out there and just bring them in. I'll pay them the highest coin. What about StarCraft? So I played StarCraft pretty competitively back in 2011 and 12. I was Masters, very, very close to GM. But my hand problems then, I had to stop playing because my hand problems started. And yeah, but I played Wings of Liberty, but I just kind of lost interest and when the expansions came out. I don't know why. But I did enjoy StarCraft quite a bit, but, you know. I would love to see Bannerlord have an 8v8 captain mode or something. What is it right now? Is it just 4? Yeah, I think it's just 4. You can. How many people can you have in captain's mode? Is it 5? Dawn of War 2 is really fun. I love that game. Yeah, Eddie, me too, man. I'm really keen for some Diablo as well. Yeah, that game is so fun, man. D2, I have so many memories of playing D2 just for hours. Just farming and trying to get my Shaco and my Vamp Gaze and my Storm Shield and... Was it Storm Shield, I think is what it was called? Yeah, and what other items were... the Oculus, Shaft Stop. Holy shit, man. You guys are taking me back. The days of old. Space Marine 2. Yeah, Space Marine 2 is cool. I would do Bannerlord if we could have custom servers. I would be 100% down for that. I really would. Yeah, I would be down. And we could do like a huge PvP battle. That would be really, really rad. Like, I wonder what the capabilities will be on Bannerlord on your own servers. Like, will you be able to mod in, like, infrastructure and buildings? Like, can you craft your own castles? Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah, it'd be so cool. Yeah, man, I just wish Warhammer 3 hadn't had such a rocky launch. Like, we could have had Mortal Empires by now, you know? Yeah, in another life. Do you play D3? I did play D3 when it came out. Yeah, I played it a little bit. Man, D3's launch was terrible, dude. Oh, my God. But the game got better over time. But I kind of stopped playing that one. Back during Diablo 2, my old roommate told me the Sorcerer's casting sound gave him... Yeah, when he played it so much, that's funny. Yeah. Ares saying Stinger will win. All right. Champion of the Blood God here in chat. Bannerlord servers would be... I really enjoyed Bannerlord. I don't know if you guys ever saw the videos we put out. We did Bannerlord PvP videos where it was myself and Aerocrastic, Zyphos, a couple other folks. And we did these 5-on-5 Bannerlord captain mode games. And it was so fun. That was really fun. I was like having a blast. Yeah, I was having a blast with that for sure. Those were the days. All right, Trader, what do you got? Stingers, 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. Each Nissan. Oh my God, the Diablo 3 auction house was terrible. I hated that so much. How long after Warhammer 2 release did Mortal Empires come out? 1 month. Yeah. 1 month it came out. Yeah. So when Warhammer 2 came out, we only had 4 factions. We had Dark Elves, High Elves, Skaven, and Lizardmen. But it was only for like 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks. And then, you know, obviously at that time, the novelty of those factions kind of wears off. And you're like, okay, can we have like what we had before? That we paid for, you know, all this stuff added back. But like now it's going on what? How many months has it been? Quite a bit. And who knows how many more. So we start to suffer. Yeah, we start to suffer. Is Warhammer 3's launch worse than Warhammer 2? It feels a lot worse. Yeah, to me it feels a lot worse. I know people have said there was a lot of stability issues with Warhammer 2, like load times were really bad, but from a multiplayer perspective, Warhammer 3 has been much worse. Because at least in 2, we got all the factions back and had a really diverse metagame within a month. And now we're kind of in the potato realm. Yeah, we're in the potato realm. Understandably, it's taking longer, but, you know, there's a lot of other issues as well. Oh, man, I was so bummed that Dawn of War 3 struggled. All right, I got to let the players know to get this party started because they were taking their sweet time. Let me make sure they don't need anything. Okay, right as I say that, they both ready up. I'm like... All right, guys, let's get this show on the road. Dawn of War 3 makes some... Oh, you guys are talking about why they made it into a MOBA? Yeah, with lanes and things like that. A lot of developers seem to have a hard-on for lanes, like the lane system. Yeah, it's definitely was a thing. I actually enjoyed Dawn of War 3. I know it had some faults and problems, but if they had fleshed it out, fine-tuned it a little bit, added in a few more factions, I think that game could have been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Oh my God, the end term timers were brutal back in the day, some dude, yeah. Total War Warhammer 2 is a great game. Yeah, it was really, really good. Even at the end, you know, the meta got a little bit stagnant, but at least there was 15 factions to choose from. Please don't have the debug. Ah, the debug of doom. You guys better have saved your armies. Speaking of issues with the game. Okay, hold on. Screenshotted. Got to remake the lobby. The dreaded desync. All right, so it's the players back in. And perfect. It only happens once. It's the weirdest bug. But they'll be back in just a second, and it shouldn't matter too much. Yeah, I do miss the days of old, though, for sure. I had an absolute blast with Age of Empires when it first was getting going. I still do. I want to start hosting Age of Empires tournaments again. Those were quite a bit of fun. All right, so Trader is back, and now we're waiting for his opponent, Stingers. Dude, it teases me every time because when you load into these battles, it immediately shows the Empire, like their flag for a second. Honest question, Turin. Do you think artillery is broken? I see a constant flood of Cathay Ogre Kingdoms players that spam cannons, launchers constantly. No, I don't think so. I think artillery at the higher levels is actually not that good. As a matter of fact, if you've watched today's tournament, have you seen a single artillery piece? I don't think so. Kislev didn't bring it. Nurgle didn't bring any of their mortars. We haven't seen Cathay picked at all. Like, really, I don't think artillery is that good. The map is Arnheim. You're all good. Yeah, we're all set. But artillery is, like, situationally useful. I don't think it's ubiquitous like infantry. Like, Domination mode has made infantry spam, like, really, really good. Because, like, you don't have enough time to really, like, min-max and goon things off. To think AoE 2 is still getting DLC support, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's awesome that it is. Well, all the factions are there in the game files, I know. There was, I think there was like I heard whispers that there was some sort of a mod going around that unlocked like all the old world stuff, but obviously that goes heavily against terms of services. The TOS or whatever. So it's not something I can enjoy. All right. So we're loading in. It looks like everything is all set. It is going to be Arnheim. This is a map that I'm excited to see Empire and Dwarves on this map. Just like these huge like cannon duels just going downtown here. Yeah, which is pretty rad. Yeah, artillery is harder to protect in domination mode because like normally in a land battle you would see what everybody has. You're like, okay, I can account for this. Although arguably you can summon in defenders too, so it kind of goes both ways. All right, so Herald of Khorne down here, Cultist of Khorne, Exalted Bloodletters, and a bunch of warriors in spawn. So yeah, again, just very aggressive and very, very melee focused army. But also a little bit tight. It's not super wide. Looking at the army here of Trader GG, he's got Marauders of Slaanesh. Yeah, he's got a whole infantry horde. Oh my god. And look at this, guys. We have the Herald of Slaanesh on the Seeker Chariot. Spells are going to be the Whip of Slaanesh and the Debuff of Slaanesh. Acquiescence and the Lash. A lot of objective holders, although the Khornate army will trade super well into this. So I would wager that it's going to be more objective focused, but if Khorne can get up on those objectives, it could be a bit of a problem. Yeah, the Pious Skeleton. Oh yeah, there was. When was this? Was it recently? Capture points will be unlocking in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. While the Cultists of Khorne and the Herald of Khorne moving forward. Spawn shambling very, very slowly. How fast are they? 42 speed, I guess it's not that slow. But yeah, Spawn of Khorne are going to be excellent against Slaanesh units. Like 15 armor across the board on most of these guys, right? So the 190 rock hard weapon strength is just going to be going deep and just doing so much work for sure. Top of that, we do get some Chaos Warriors, other units waddling up a little bit slower, but dual weapon warriors basically counter the entire army here of Trader. Now, how is Trader going to deal with this? He'll obviously get Objective 3 out here. Maybe we'll get this, but we'll be pushed off rather quickly. And up on the high ground, we have Exalted Bloodletters and Halberds, which will manhandle these Slaanesh units. We see Trader saving up a lot, like a ton. I would wager that it's going to be like some Exalted Demonettes or something, or some Heartseekers, and it's Heartseekers. I like this play. Heartseekers will struggle against the Halberds, but if the Marauders engage in the front, Heartseekers come around the back and are able to get like a big roundabout charge on those with some good micro. That could be a big win for sure. A minute 30 until the objectives open up. Here come the Marauders of Slaanesh. They're moving and a grooving, and the Heartseekers just looking to butter that sweet bread. And With the devastating flanker ability, their charge bonus will go up to like 92 or something like that if they have it. Yeah, they do have it. So they just need to get behind those guys and really just run them over. Now down on the low ground, we have a couple light skirmishes, just kind of marauders piling in. Trader just kind of throwing them to the wind here, really. The Exalted Seeker going to be running up the hill, should probably pop its big debuff right now. Oh, nice play there. Nice play by Stinger. So he sees the Heartseekers flanking him. He then uses his Vanguard deployment point to get some Flesh Hounds as well as Chaos Furies out. And kind of just breaks the game plan there of traders. Man, that was a really, really good play right there. So Khorne just cackling on the objective. Slaanesh getting a little bit hog wild. They're just like swarming with a bunch of Haggard units, and said Haggard units are basically just being massacred. Yeah, just getting massacred. Alright, so up on the high ground, we do have the Exalted Bloodletters. Obviously, they would have been crumped for sure. But here the Heartseekers were ambushed by the Flesh Hounds as well as the Furies. And the Marauders of Slaanesh and these other units here going to get cut up probably by the Khorne units. When these other Khorne units collapse from the high ground, especially these Exalted Bloodletters into their back, I think Khorne is going to be able to wrestle that objective most likely. And Khorne seems to be winning most of the value trades, though Slaanesh is keeping the value somewhat even. The Exalted Chariot character is getting into the halberds, but now the Bulldog's coming in, and Acquiescence is used. The Exalted Chariot is actually going to be fighting the Herald of Khorne. It does only have 300 weapon strength. It's a chariot, so it's not going to be as good of a duelist. The Bulldog character probably is going to win that, I would imagine. And up on the high ground, the Herald of Slaanesh, or the Hellstriders of Slaanesh, excuse me, the anti-large cav are being summoned in, and which are theoretically good against Fleshhounds, but with Furies supporting, Furies are infantry-sized, and many of the attack animations from the Heralds, or the Hellstriders here, excuse me, I don't know why I keep calling them Heralds, are going to be hitting the wrong target, right? So, and then it looks like the Summoned Furies are going to be piling in, so both players committing quite a bit of resources. Khorne looks like they're going to be getting the high ground objective. Number 2 is going to be taken by Slaanesh. Number 1 is going to be taken by Khorne. Although Slaanesh is fighting pretty heavily for this objective, they are down by quite a bit of value. And of all the new factions in the game, I would say that Slaanesh is not a faction that likes to fight from behind. I mean, okay. Yes, they do. They like to rear charge things and get a little bit nasty like that. But when they're behind on value and losing on the battlefield, they don't do well. Slaanesh is really a faction that like will run you over and stomp you and really steamroll you in value, or they're going to kind of just get steamrolled themselves. It's really kind of an all or nothing faction there. Herald of Slaanesh moving through, which is how Slaanesh plays in tabletop. Slaanesh is very much a glass cannon. I mean, they do have some elements which are good in sustained combat, and they can drag out the combat using their cav and their mobility and things like that. But a huge infantry-based army like this for Trader, might struggle a little bit more. The Herald of Slaanesh actually not doing bad. Big whip coming down. We get the close-up there as it does whip those bad boys right there. So the Chaos Warriors, the dual weapons, do get whipped, and it also triggers the huge melee attack passive on the Slaanesh army. Up on the high ground, it looks like Slaanesh does have some calves, some Hellstriders which have pulled back. Some Marauders going to be trying to get back on the objective here, but Exalted Bloodletters aren't going to be easy. Seekers, theoretically okay. I mean, they can definitely hit pretty hard. We have 40 melee attack and 40 weapon strength, and if they can do the hammer and anvil, they're really going to be shining, right? We'll have to see. But Khorne seems to be in a pretty good position overall. Like in the middle point, they just have Bloodletter sitting there. Most of these Slaaneshi units are kind of stuck in a perpetual grind here and really aren't having that great of a time. The dual weapon warriors partially surrounded, but they have Spawn backing them up, and Khorne can reinforce pretty quickly with Hounds and Furies and things like that. Warriors take a while to reinforce, but aside from that, they certainly can. I'm actually quite eager to see how this Herald performs. Looks like Acquiescence is going to be going down or something, maybe Fascination. A big sandwich. Okay, the Slaaneshi sandwich, guys. They're pulling the value back. Trader getting a nice hammer up on the high ground. And even though these are halberds, they still were embraced in combat against someone else. And then the big anti-armor cav come in and really give them the dirty, and now they're broken. So Seekers of Slaanesh doing some great work. And look at that. Slaanesh, like that, is going to be wrestling the objective back. You have some Chaos Warriors with dual weapons moving in the bushes here. So here they come. Hustling on across. There they go, eyeing the objective, eyeing those Marauders and those different units. But if the Marauders fight them in the front and then they get hit in the back by the Slaaneshi cav, Slaanesh can certainly win that trade. Now, the Herald motorcycling through. Oh my god, look at that thing. Oh my god, they're just getting plowed, dude. Love it. And what is the value on this thing? Well, I was going to say 224, that can't be right. Okay, 1100 value, that's pretty good. And still healthy, and there's a lot of game to be played. Looks like Khorne's going to be going for the side objective, considering they have lost the high ground, and now Slaanesh does have the double cap on them. So now Slaanesh is really going to want to try and pull them apart. Good housekeeping going down from Slaanesh, retreating their injured units, sending them back to the realm of the Dark Prince to heal up a little bit. We do get the Seekers of Slaanesh, which are demonic calves, so they're going to be able to fight more or less to the bitter end. Some sort of a buff going down there. It looked like there might have been some witchcraft. Acquiescence is activated as the Herald of Slaanesh uses the Locus of Grace. Very nice. Giving melee defense and physical resist to these cav, which will not mitigate the hound damage as much due to the fact they do magic damage, but it will stop some of the DPS from the spawn. Seekers piling in should be able to finish off these Chaos Warriors with dual weapons, and look at this, guys. Just like that, Slaanesh using their mobility and some of their tricks and traps, and they are back in this game. But Khorne does have nice pressure. The Chaos Warriors with dual weapons should make pretty quick work of these pointy arm boys. The Marauders of Slaanesh, though they are bonus first infantry, they lack armor piercing, and they also lack armor themselves. That dual weapon warrior just straight up did a 360 head spin. He did the Exorcist on us. Hiding in the bushes, we have more Seekers. Looks like they're going to be attacked by Fleshhounds of Khorne. Stingers is very privy to this. And it looks like these Seekers do get the charge. On the charge, Seekers should win this fight. Not like super decisively, but they should win it. And then maybe they'll be able to pull back and do a little bit of work here. But Slaanesh is really going to want to try and hold on to this objective. It does kind of get him back in the game a little bit in terms of points. The Lawnmower Lady is still doing good. I mean, obviously Khorne doesn't have a ton of mass outside of their spawn. So with proper micro, Trader is able to just lawnmower these guys. Oh my god, this Chariot is actually really cool. And I kind of had it booked as the Exalted Chariot SEM. I kind of have it booked as one of the worst units on the roster in terms of cost effectiveness, but this thing as a mount for the character certainly seems a little bit better. 1300 value. This objective is being held by Slaanesh, but Khorne looks like they're on the cusp of getting it back. This is actually a foot-based cultist, so this Exalted Herald should be able to do it on the Chariot. Should be able to kill that cultist. So the cultist gets hit, immediately gets rammed, pushed back. Marauders are being sent home. Value is only 700 right now. It's very, very close. But what is Slaanesh summoning? It looks like more cav. So we got Hellstriders of Slaanesh. We have Seekers coming in the high ground. And it looks like the Khorne Dogs... Did they win that fight? Holy shit. Khorne Dogs might have actually won that fight there. Let's go and see what the value they accrued. Yeah, 1,500 value on those Khorne Dogs, man. They must have won the fight. That's pretty insane. They cost 300 gold less. Granted, Slaanesh units are very, very squishy, but there must have been some other variables. Like, they probably had something else fighting there. So Seeker's getting a big surround. Devastating Flanker coming in. Charge bonus is going to be close to 80 or 90. Ton of armor-piercing damage. And you can see the dual weapon warriors are taking a shit ton of damage as Slaanesh comes in with their dreaded sandwich. Nobody wants to be eating that Slaaneshi sandwich. But they need to get some infantry up here as well to capture this, because we got Bloodletters coming up, we got Khorne Dogs. A lot of meat here for the Khorne army, and there's probably needs to be some infantry to deal with that. Herald of Slaanesh on the Chariot, going to be drifting up to the high ground. Current value on the Herald right now, let's see if we can actually click on this beast, is 1,500, not bad. So I think the Chariot itself in total costs like around 2,000. So it still has time to kind of pay for itself, and it should theoretically be quite good against like Bloodletter type units. It looks like Khorne was able to hold out there. The spawn and the other units very, very low, however. And what kind of cav are these going to be? Are these going to be Heartseekers, just basic Seekers who appear to have earned some pretty good chevrons? Right now, they've gotten about 1,200 value. Seekers of Slaanesh, I think, one of the more cost-effective units in the roster. One thing I would like to see is the Exalted Demonettes. They actually give you good killing power, and they can stay on the objectives pretty well. Much more durable than your average Slaanesh unit. So dual weapon warriors do get bunker busted. Khorne is up here with quite a bit, though. They got their Furies, they got Spawn, 2 units of Khorne Dogs, and then we also have Exalted Bloodletters coming from downtown. So these guys are going to be a pain for sure. Oh, let's get the arrow. Yes, the arrow for Khorne, red for Khorne. But these guys have a ton of capture weight, so Slaanesh is going to need to get some like serious killing power there to deal with those. And honestly, even though the value is kind of close, looks like Khorne is starting to get the upper hand in some of these fights. Down here, Hellstriders of Slaanesh trading okay. Looks like the Cultists did take a little bit of a hammering from the Chariot earlier. The anti-large attacks do have the Herald of Khorne shaken and stirred, but Slaanesh doesn't seem to have too much steam. They may have metaphorically and quite literally, unleashed their payload here. Seekers of Slaanesh, once again, going to be layering charges on top of the Khorne Dogs. And it looks like that's going to be a withdrawal. GG, well played. Khorne and Stingers take game 1 in best of 3. Looking at the value for the Khorne army, Bloodletters got about 855. Nothing too crazy. Cultists only got 400. Spawn did great, of course. Spawn are very, very good there. Yeah, and the Spawn and Khorne Dogs were the MVPs. 1,500, 15... Like, Khorne Dogs are designed to kill Slaanesh units. And I would have liked to have seen some Exalted Demonettes. I feel like they could have helped the Buzzsaw through and gotten you some capture weight. Some nice flanks for sure, but overall, Khorne was ready. Turn uses the correct paint tool. I can die happy now. Yeah, I know. We're not the best at it. We try, my friend. We try. All right, so Stingers is up 1-0. Next map here, let me go ahead and double check that. It is going to be Itza. Itza is the default map. It is the best map we have for Domination mode, in my humble opinion. And we'll see what we can do. All right, cool. I used the correct paint tool. I did. You guys believe. See what the picks and bans are now. All right, cool. And look in here. I will eye their picks and bans until they're ready. We will go to our fancy tool designed by Lachlan here in the community. And let's get it going. Have some fun, man. Yeah, let's do it. So where are the picks and bans at? Yeah, all right, there we are. So we got to delete the old ones. Currently, Stingers is up 1 here. We'll delete the old picks and bans. And the map here is going to be Itza. Itza me, Itza. All right, perfect. Okay, picks here, please. All right, letting the players know to type those. And in the meantime, we'll just kind of hang out and enjoy each other's company. Once again, thank you all for joining. I know it's a weird time for a tournament, but I had the itch to do a little bit of a later stream. Tomorrow, probably going to do an Age of Empires stream in the morning, I'm thinking. I don't know, we'll see. We will see indeed. Exalted Demonettes, I think, are really underrated. I think they're a great unit. Exalted Bloodletters are really good. And yeah, I'm really relieved to see Elite Infantry actually be good. It's like in Game 1 today, we saw Anticity do really well with the Zargard with great weapons. Like, we're seeing Elite Infantry have a purpose in this game mode, whereas in traditional land battles, they usually don't. But in Domination, if you can like focus their experience where they're not being like punished from any sides, they can really perform well. Will you do any more 40k battle reports? I know you said you'll do fantasy when it returns. Yeah, probably. Colonel. So when the Old World comes out, that's when I'll start the channel. And I have a full Death Guard army. I have a full Chaos Space Marines army. So yeah, I would. It depends on where I'm living at that point too. Because, you know, I can only work with what I have around me. I want to rent like a studio space and have it be like actually professional, you know. Brian says, Turin, the best thing CA has ever done is equip you with the tools to draw John Madden's eggplant pictures. Hey, I'm glad folks in Australia, you guys are enjoying it, man. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Yeah, there's so many places I want to visit, man. So much to do, so little time. I missed it last time when you were going over old models, but if you want the most haggard model of all time, look up. Yeah. Nagash is really bad. His model is just an absolute monstrosity. I've seen that. Dude, I played a Slaanesh campaign on my own time, and I basically just had a doom stack of Exalted Demonettes, and I could just like mouth breathe and run things over. You can see who won the first match by looking at the scorecard here. It was won by Stingers. And let's see what they do for their picks and bans. We'll update it in just a second. Just waiting for the lads to do it. We should have a jolly time. Hope life is treating you guys well. Pretty nice weather out here in California. Gotta say, man. You're able to walk outside at night, like, what is the weather outside right now? Yeah, it's like 63, 64 degrees out. You could literally like walk downtown at night just with like a t-shirt and some jeans on, and it's just such a nice breeze. Oh my God. Like, California is disgustingly expensive to live in, but aside from that, the quality of life in some of the, like, at least where I live now, we moved to like a little mountain valley. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's so nice indeed. Yeah, I actually have been to Canada as well. I've been to Canada several times. I had a great time up there when I was a kid. Anticity's games? Oh, yeah, Anticity did indeed win it. Yeah. And he is waiting in the grand finals. All right, so for Stingers, we are seeing a pick of Kislev, and the other pick is going to be Big Papa Nurgle. Nurgle's making a comeback. The whispers have come, and players are going to have to adjust to Nurgle's new playstyle and the super wide Walking Dead. And then Trader picks Nurgle himself, and Stingers then picks Nurgle. Oh my God, guys. The dreaded Nurgle mirror match on Itza. This is just going to be pure filth. Quite literally. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tease you guys. It's going to be Nurgle. They both start with the N there, so. Wait, no. Hold on. Oh, he says ogres. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had that backwards. I misread it. Not Nurgle ogres. They don't exist. Although, there's plague ogres, actually, aren't there? Sorry, guys. And it's going to be ogres. All right, so it looks like this is the final tale of the tape. So how it worked is Stingers picked Kislev and Nurgle. His opponent picked Ogre Kingdoms against either of those. And then Stingers picks Nurgle as his choice. And then, yeah, that's that. So it is Ogres versus Nurgle. Nurgle, once again, we saw this matchup earlier. We saw the Man-Eater Pistols not do very well. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to get you hyped for the Nurgle mirror match and then not deliver. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's actually Ogres. And we'll ready up when the players are good. All right. I'm going to go grab some water real quick, my friends. Appreciate you all. And I'll BRB in a minute. Go beat Xenia. I return. Your hour of need, brothers. I am pinned here. All right. So we'll have to see what it's going to be. It will be the Ogre Kingdoms versus Nurgle. I'm going to ruffle through my my almonds. I'm super hungry, so just bear with me, guys. We still have the whole grand finals, too. We got a big Royal Rumble coming. Anticity will be facing the winner of this series. And Trader is ready. Now, what kind of an approach is Trader going to be taking? We saw the triple Man-Eater pistol attempted against Nurgle earlier, but now the times have changed. Yes. We will get a mirror match tournament after game 1 and 2 factions are released. It'll probably be really uncommon. There's going to be 23 playable factions. 23! And, like, I'm sure we'll be getting the Chaos Dwarf. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this bag away, guys. I'm just, like, super hungry. I'm too weak. I'm too weak, Anakin. All right. One sec. I just showed that pistachio who is boss. Yeah, see, this is more in line with what I think is really, really good here. Just shooting. So for Trader, he's going to bring a Slaughtermaster of Beasts, triple Leadbelcher, a bunch of Bulls, and some Nobblars. And for Nurgle, it's going to be very standard, right? It's going to be, Herald, Cultists, and Plague Bearers. That's like pretty much what they do in every matchup now. So we'll have to find out. Let us know your predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to be winning this glorious showdown between the Chungus Kingdoms and Nurgle? I'm quite excited to see. This map is always really cool. I love this map. Yeah. I hope we get like a really cool Empire one. Yeah. I wager we're going to get some new Domination maps soon too. I think there's going to be, obviously patches and DLCs, and I think each of those will come with a couple new Domination maps, which will really flesh things out. Oh, okay. Bart, thank you. If you're gone for a second... Perfect, okay. That makes sense. Thank you for the lesson in Polish, my friend. So for Nurgle, Plague Bearers, which have always been good against Ogres. Even before Nurgle got their little buffs, the Plague Bearers were very, very good. What the hell? Did that guy have a Nurgling popping out of his back? It's like the Total Recall. Remember in Arnold when they have the mutant guy? Oh, shit. God, stop moving him so I can look. Okay, these ones look like they're set up. Holy shit. Is there a Nurgling popping out of its butt? Did you guys notice this before? Holy shit. Look at a Nurgling popping out of his... Oh my god. Now, I don't want to get into the science of how the Nurgling actually fits out of there. But, it's the realm of chaos, so... Dude, I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I didn't know. No, it like pops out and then goes back in. Alright guys, so Plague Bearers, double Cultists, just super good fighters. Cultists are very tough to remove for the Ogres. Stonehorns are actually really good at killing Cultists. Like a Stonehorn mount, like one to just snipe Cultists, might actually be worth it. Open your mind. Yeah, Quaid. Yeah, I remember that. That was classic stuff. Alright guys, so for Trader, it's going to be a bunch of Nobblars, Bulls, and triple Leadbelcher. I love the Leadbelcher play. I think the Leadbelcher play is going to be super sweet. And, a lot of Ogre players pretty much used to go Stonehorn or rely on Gorgers. I still think Gorgers are very good against Nurgle. If you have Scrag and Gorgers, I think people are kind of afraid of them. Like they're like, oh, they got nerfed, they're dirty, they're unclean, we don't want to use them anymore. But I think Gorgers are still very good against Nurgle. Like Gorgers against Plague Bears and Nurglings and Forsaken, they're all pretty favorable trades. Abhishek, thank you so much for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, my friend. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Ogres, I like this play. I like the aggression. They're taking that battle line and like making sure Nurgle can't just plop their butts on the objective, right? Then you just send like a haggard like Bull and or Nobblar down there to capture that. And the Leadbelcher shooting is just going to start unleashing hell into the Plague Bears. Immediately getting some decent value. Plague Bears are going to be forced back into the trees. I do like the Leadbelcher opening. I feel like that's very, very good. And if Furies come in, you need to just have Saber Tusks on the standby. Or some Bulls. Like, you can't just let Furies nibble on your guys, because Furies will be able to do some solid work there for sure. That Nurgling is like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Yes, I remember the rhinoceros bit. Yes. That is a very apt analogy, my friend. So, good response from Trader. This is the classic. You summon in the Saber Tusks, and the Saber Tusks will absolutely own those Chaos Furies. Like, own them. And in the meantime, the Leadbelcher shooting seems to be pretty good. They're, ripping some shots, going after what appears to be the Plague Bears. And are they switching onto other things? Nope, just going after Plague Bears and Nurglings. I think some of them need to go into the Spawn of Nurgle. Spawn of Nurgle are one of the big priority targets for sure. And yeah, he's got 4 Leadbelchers here, guys. That is a lot of DACA. And we'll see what kind of value they can accrue. I think with good target priority, if the Ogre Kingdoms shoot the right targets, they should be in a very advantageous state right now, because Nurgle doesn't really have too many ways of shutting this down. The Cultists are on foot. They're not going to be able to ride after them. The Spawn need to die, though. Now, it looks like a Flock of Doom going down. Very, very nice Flock of Doom there. It's going to be hitting some Plague Bears as well as, the Spawn. Not that it does much. Also tickle some of the Nurglings here in the back. Locus of Fecundity going down from the Nurgle Lord. While the Leadbelchers just ripping shots freely, certainly accruing some pretty big value. 3,700 to 500 in terms of value. Belchers are the way for sure, and I don't know why people have kind of gone away from them in this matchup. I feel like they're very good. Need to get something on the side objective. These Nobblars need to be over here grabbing that right now. Like, every point matters in this matchup for sure. But Ogres are holding it back. Plague Bears here are getting crumped a little bit. A lot of Nurgle players are getting a little bit lazy, just, sending Plague Bears and Spawn and expecting to win, so it's good to see a little bit more of this kind of pressure. Now, this is a summon unit, which will be disappearing after 29 seconds. We get the Furies coming down. They do get Last Samurai on the charge, and now the Saber Tusks need to come down ASAP. It looks like some Bulls are going to react, and now we get Ogre Bulls with dual weapons just screaming in there, and they're going to be fighting with the Plague Bears. They certainly need to get on the objective. It looks like Ogres do own this one. The side objective is not owned by anyone right now. It looks like Trader is just purely focusing on value trading. He's not even caring about the objectives. Currently 6,000 to 2,000. That is pretty brutal. Pretty much anything Nurgle has that's big is kind of getting gatted down. And we do see the Slaughtermaster actually doing some decent work against the Beast of Nurgle as well. But again, Nurgle, we've seen him come back from games like this. 100%. So some of the Leadbelchers have repositioned. How quickly will Trader GG get that firing line back? And it looks like pretty quick, as these Plague Bears of Nurgle are just getting blasted into oblivion. Oh, just look at the point-blank shots. As some of them do get through. They're in critical binding, but you don't want to get these guys tied down back here. Yep, looks like it's going to be Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist and Saber Tusk packs moving out. The shooting, the DACA of Nurgle is, of the Ogres is back, and now it looks like some of the Nurglings are going to be the next target. Saber Tusks can for sure kill those Nurglings if they charge them. Nurglings, yeah, they're going to die now, 100%. So we'll see. Leadbelchers picking off the objective holders. Very, very smart. Ogres are up on points, and it looks like the side objective is going to be taken by the Ogres as well. Those Nurglings are going to be crumbling rather quickly, but I would like to see some Bulls and or Nobblars on these points. Now in the middle, though, Nurgle is slowly pushing. Ogres obviously don't have quite the sustainability in infantry. Without Gorgers would stay and fight for a long time. Up here, we do see some Plague Bears of Nurgle being nibbled on by the dogs, and that is going to be freeing up some of the Bulls on parade. I would love to see some Bulls also go up to the high ground, because it's just a single Nurgling. Like, Nurgle is having to put every ounce of their fiber into the middle to try and win it, which means the side objectives are very much on the table. And now we do get some Bulls moving over to that point right there. The middle point was taken by Nurgle. No, not yet, but it probably will be. Nurgle does have quite a bit on there. They have some Nurglings and I believe some Plague Bears, which are not summons. No, they're actual Plague Bears, and they are shambling onto the objective here. But the value differential is pretty massive. We see a 6,000 lead. We see the Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists moving up to the high ground. They're in their little haggard classic Warhammer 3 pathing. They just like run in a line like that, but they should be able to really dunk on those Nurglings with proper micro. Just make sure to give them that charge order. Ogres have a good charge bonus, right? Like 44. So if you're an Ogre player, making sure to get your charges is super, super important. Plague Bears here might lose this. It's hard to say. No, they're probably going to win it. These Ogres are very beat up. Middle objective is taken by the champions of the Plague God, but the Leadbelchers are still all shooting, right? And it looks like some of them are actually trying to goon the Lord up in the sky, which I think is a mistake. You want to be shooting at Toads and the, obviously the objective holders and the spawn and things like that. Those got to be your priority objectives. as the Leadbelcher is still ripping more and more shots. Now, they will run out of ammo soon-ish. Here we do have the Saber Tusk pack, which has been able to isolate a cultist. That's actually pretty cost-effective. That cultist is going to be kept in check, while the Ogre Bulls move over to the sides. It looks like the Ogres are going to be able to get 2 objectives, most likely. Nurgle is ahead on points for now, but again, the value differential is pretty big. Leadbelchers are just super, super good here. And, yeah, man, Nurgling's probably going to get crumped, I would imagine. Their HP tanking rather quickly. More and more of the little turd burglars are moving up onto the point, but Nurgle does have a ton of sustainability in the middle via their spawn, the Beasts of Nurgle, and the Cultists, all of which, not all of which, but several of which do regenerate. Once again, Nurgle is just kind of going into the meat grinder a little bit. A 6,000 value differential, almost actually 7,000 now, as those Leadbelchers just annihilate every Nurgle unit that we're seeing here. And though Nurgle is in an okay position points-wise, and they still do have the middle objective, what you guys will start seeing here in a minute is that the Nurgle army is going to look real emaciated. It's going to be looking super thin. And the Ogres are probably going to be able to triple cap them at some point, I would imagine. So up on the top, Nurgle holds this one for a split second longer, but the Chungus Kingdoms will get it. Ogre Bulls have the same capture weight as Nurglings, and of course the Nurglings are actually getting popped like popcorn. We get a couple Plague Bears moving up there, but I believe the Ogre Kingdoms do have that objective now. And it's only a matter of time before Nurgle loses the middle, too. There's a couple spawn left, some Plague Bears, but the Iron Fist, Ogre Bulls, we got the Slaughtermaster in there with a pretty good presence, and just look how much more stuff the Ogres have. And that's because they're not losing as much stuff, right? We see the Hounds moving in. I like that the Cultist is just being occupied here. This is a great play by Ogres, by Trader. I don't know if this is intentional that he's doing this, but overall this is really smart. Just kind of keeping that guy trapped there and living his best life. Now, Ogre Bulls moving up. Nurgle going to be making a last desperate push on the high ground objective, but I think the Ogre should be able to reinforce it. Leadbelchers are still shooting. Oh my god, the value on these Leadbelchers must be pretty insane. The Nurgle Lord, little Herald, trying his business. You know, trying to get back in there. Looking for some opportunities. I don't really see too many good fights for him. A big mistake, though, from Trader by shooting him the whole game. Like, you're not going to, you're against good players, you're not going to get that pick. Unless they really space out, which I do all the time, and I'm an average player myself, but the Leadbelchers need to be shooting the targets that can't avoid them to really maximize their value. Nice play right here. Leadbelchers shooting into the Forsaken as they approach the objective. That's kind of what I'm talking about, right? These Forsaken, if they can get beaten enough by these Leadbelchers, then suddenly the Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists are just going to go Bulls on Parade and just run them over, right? And they're gonna love their life. High ground objective is owned by the Ogre Kingdoms. Nurgle trying desperately to waddle onto the point with whatever they can. But their units, of course, fight really well in mass, but when they're in lower numbers, the Ogre units are going to be able to win it. As that Ogre Bull actually karate kicks that Chaos Spawn right in the face. A nice straight kick right there. He's certainly been doing his Taekwondo and karate. So once again, Ogres get the triple cap, just like we talked about. I don't think Nurgle's going to be able to come back from this differential. We have an 8,000 value lead for the Ogres, which really is a testament to the Leadbelcher build. Because, you know, again, most Nurgle players are just copy and pasting this playstyle of just Plague Bears and Forsaken. But again, there are answers to it. And we see that the mass shooting is very good. I think that Kislev can do something similar if they go like mass Kossar shooting with like Zargard in the front line. They can really trade in a similar fashion. Granted, I think Ogres might have a little bit of a better chance at it. And of course, Tzeentch can, you know, do this against Nurgle as well with good shooting and blues and pinks and all that business. Maybe Nurgle gets this middle objective back here. Lich 109 with the steel chair in chat, slaying the foul Slaanesh bots. And up here, Ogre Kingdoms very firmly win this fight. Going to crump the last of these Nurgle forces, and then they're going to move down here, and they will most likely get on Objective 1 and be able to wrestle that back, even though they have lost it for now. Fury's finally able to get their prize. The Chaos Furies from Stinger will be able to shut down the Leadbelchers, but they're pretty much out of ammo anyway, so he's going to be sending them back to the Shadow Realm. The Cultist actually eventually losing to the Saber Tusk pack here is pretty funny. Just the duel of fates. And I like the double Noblar play, although a very good response from Nurgle. That's a very scrappy play, using Curse of the Slug to slow them down and allowing the Forsaken to catch them. Nurgle might actually be able to get a 2-cap back here, which is pretty insane for sure. Ogres should be able to wrestle the middle objective here, though, I would imagine. Once they invested so much in this high ground fight, once they move down here, they should be able to get that. They should. All right. So Chaos Furies going after the Leadbelchers. They are broken. Some of the Leadbelchers in the back have been re-rallied. I don't know if there's anything kind of protecting them at this point. We will have to see. Nurgle able to cackle despite being behind by like 7,000 or 8,000. Geez, almost 9,000. Yeah, it's about 8,000. They do get this objective back, which is insane. And they actually have a 2-cap in the Ogre Kingdoms. Ogre Kingdoms are ahead on points, and I don't see Nurgle being able to stop this onslaught of Bulls on Parade. Such a good song, man. Rage Against the Machine has some great music. I think the not to like, get into a huge rant during the middle of this game, but favorite Rage song is probably Guerrilla Radio. That song is so good. Sleep Now in the Fire is really, really good as well. All right. Ogres are on the point. Nurgle's bumping and grinding it. Obviously, the Nurgle healing is a factor. The Herald of Nurgle is very, very low. And what is the response going to be from Trader? Looks like he might have been banking quite a bit. Yeah, it looks like he was banking like 2,000 resources, and now he's going to be summoning it in. Something you can run into with the Ogres is sometimes the fact that... he's still trying to snipe that Lord, man. I think that's one of the reasons why like the Ogres are not quite... Like, there's a lot of value down on that Herald, but like he's still fully functional. Whereas if you're shooting other elements, it takes away combat effectiveness. So we get the double Gnoblar Trapper moving over here. Oh my god, if Nurgle wins this game, that's going to be pretty insane for sure. Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, moving on over. We see two of them hustling down this direction. And Leadbelchers are on their way back out. They're like, all right, Nurgle, we have to teach you this lesson once again, old man. And the Herald is kind of dodging those shots. Like, honestly, though, his idle animations just kind of, like, passively dodge some of those shots anyways, which is pretty ridiculous for sure. And the middle objective is held pretty decisively by Nurgle, man. Slaughtermaster with the Great Maws, a little bit trapped up. Ogres are going to need to wrestle one of these side objectives quick, and it looks like they are. So they got the Trappers and the Bulls, who are moving past this haggard cultist who's literally been here for years. Don't call it a comeback. We see the Toads of Nurgle moving across. Not super high DPS against the Ogres, but they still have 50 weapon strength. Nurgle's up in here like the Renegades of Funk. Yeah, that's a great song too. That album had some good ones. I like the song they did, The Ghost of Tom Joad. That one was pretty good. The one that's based on the Grapes of Wrath. So Ogres have the capture weight, double Gnoblar and Bulls. If they get the 2 points, I think they probably win. It would probably take them a little bit too long. Nurgle probably doesn't have great chances of getting this high ground objective, considering all the Gnoblars and obstruction. Although the tide of Nurgle is persistent, man. They're rolling up that hill. They're straight up Limp Bizkiting here and doing quite well for themselves. Stinger showing that he's a very, very scrappy player. And the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw, he's like full health, just basically being hit with pillows here, but he's holding on like a champ, and the Ogre Kingdoms do take that side objective. Forsaken are on their way, though. Could Nurgle get this back? Now we have the 2-1. It's getting really, really close in terms of like the double, triple cap situation. Forsaken moving in, Cultist and Nurgle fighting on that point. Honestly, Nurgle might have a chance of wrestling this one, which would be absolutely insane. Value differential is 22,000 to 14. So maintaining the status quo in that regard. Leadbelchers are back, though, too. So they're going to be able to just blast a lot of the Nurgle units. You can see the Plague Toads of Nurgle are just getting absolutely eviscerated by those Leadbelchers, and I would imagine the other Nurgle units are as well. Yeah, the Nurglings are getting popped, the Plague Toads are also getting wrecked pretty badly, and the Gnoblar Trappers here can do some nice work. They have their little ninja stars, and they can wear down some of the Toads and other things like that. You know, I really thought with that value lead, Nurgle would just be triple capped here, but I am really surprised that they're still able to pour on pressure like this. High ground objective most likely going to be taken by Big Papa here. Is it to the point where a double cap will do the trick, though? For Trader, he needs to move units onto the objective right now. He's got 2 full health Trappers here that aren't quite on the point. He does indeed have some Bulls coming back in. The Bulls are on parade and should be able to kind of loop around and block up those Nurglings. The middle point looks like it's still under Nurgle control. The Plague Bearers there are very, very cozy. And yes, wide Nurgle is indeed menacing. We're seeing Nurgle having a bit of a resurgence in the meta. This is one of the first tournaments we've held where we've seen Nurgle be really dominant in a lot of games. So players, I think, are starting to figure out the strengths of Nurgle and how good they are at playing the objective game and all that sort of funny business. Yeah, Plutonium, that's a great song as well. Pistol, yeah, that's a really, really good one. High ground objective, pretty secure. Looks like Ogre Kingdoms do get the victory. A hard-fought fight, and that's how it should be. Like, Nurgle shouldn't be an easy faction that you just steamroll. The fighting should be very hard and very difficult. And of any faction that can play from behind, Nurgle is very, very good at it. They're pretty much designed to play from behind. You know, with all the healing and regeneration, like the Cultists, the Beasts of Nurgle, Fecundity, you know, everything like that, Fleshy Abundance. They have a ton of ways to play from behind. And with that, the Ogre Kingdoms and Trader win the game. Nurgle is defeated. And it is going to be a 1-1 series. So certainly some very, very scrappy games tonight. It's been quite a bit of fun. Big Chungus smiling with his grill here in the back, looking like Paul Wall. And let's update it. Let's get it going. We'll prepare for the next picks and bans. Now, what you guys are here for is the filthy Leadbelcher value. 1,400, holy shit. 2,800, 2,800. Leadbelchers carried that game so hard. Almost 3,000 on the Slaughtermaster too, and 1,500, yeah. So the Leadbelchers were the big winning. Like, that gave the Ogres a big early lead, which allowed them to get the objectives and push back the foul champions of the Plague God. Yeah, nice game, man. Fun games tonight. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a lot of rubber matches, which is certainly something I enjoy. And now, the winner of this will go to the grand finals to face the dreaded Kraken King in Ticity, who sits atop his throne of skulls, or trinkets from his Vampire Coast trove. And let's see what the picks and bans are going to be. We'll switch on over to the pick and ban section here, so let's do that. And the next map here, let me go and see what map I gave the players for the series. It is going to be the Broken Leg Gully. Kind of a cool map. One of the better ones. Got like a nice middle lane and a couple little hills and things like that. And we'll see what picks and bans they have. Perfect. Alrighty. What is the cultist value? Not that much, like 800. I think is what I saw when I moused over it for a second. Yeah. I mean, it's still good though. They have great staying power. Cultists also have decent capture weight, being SEMs. So that can be tricky. As soon as the lead belchers were off the table, Nurgle started coming back. Yeah, for sure. We saw the lead belchers do great work, but as soon as they started breaking and struggling, that's when shit gets real, Which is true. Nurgle will usually outdo the ogres in melee, which makes sense. Nurgle should outdo a lot of people in melee, but should also be a little bit vulnerable to shooting as well. Yeah, it is the case. Because the ogres is coming to get ya. Broken Leg Gully, shooting, perhaps an option. Will we see an ultimate massive Chad to bring Grand Cathay? I don't think so. Cathay is still just such a turd of a faction. It sucks because they're so cool. I really wanted Cathay to be fun to play. And I guess in theory they're kind of fun. They have the big Dragon Lords and things like that. But like I feel like Cathay can do almost nothing against Nurgle. Like Nurgle just summons cultists in their face, like blocks you into your deployment zone and you just kind of get owned. It feels so bad. It feels so bad. All right, so for Trader is going to be picking Nurgle for one of his factions. And the other pick is going to be Khorne. And he is going to be banning Kislev. So those are the picks and bans for Trader. So now his opponent gets to do his fun picks, and we'll see where this goes. Yeah, I really like this user interface. It's quite a bit of fun. You can get an idea of the meta. What 2v2 combos are you looking forward to most in Domination mode? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Nurgle and Vampire Counts is going to be like unbeatable. Like if you team them up, holy shit. Like the amount of like blobbing and healing, it's just like, Yeah, Cathay needs a lot of buffs. They need more killing power for sure. They definitely do. They try. Cathay tries their best. Okay, so now we are going to get... Oh, never mind. Okay, that wasn't a ban. Okay, I had that backwards. Yeah, we're on the triple pick section. All right, so let's get this. So, Trader picks 3 factions he wants to play. Now, Stingers will pick one faction, which he wants to play, and ban one of the other ones that his opponent picks. And he actually ends up banning Kislev because it looks like he doesn't want a mirror match. So we have Kislev against either Nurgle or Khorne. And Kislev can win both those, for sure. They're both winnable matches. So, Broken Leg Gully certainly has some decent posturing for shooting and all that fun stuff. So now we just need to kind of see what the final pick is going to be for these fine gentlemen. Final pick for Stingers, of course, is decided. It is going to be Kislev. And we just need to see what Trader picks now. Does the tournament rank screen change every week? Yeah, the leaderboard updates. As soon as these tournament finishes, Total Tavern, the website, it updates all that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so it looks like the final pick is going to be Khorne. So the Blood God comes to exact his tithe, and the die is cast. So now it shall be Kislev versus the Khorne Dogs. Yes. Is Kislev the strongest faction with Bearcab? They're not the strongest. Kislev is more like a mid-tier faction right now, I think. Like upper mid-tier. If we didn't limit War Sleds to 2, they would be S-tier, but with the War Sleds being limited because they're kind of broken, yeah, they're not quite as bad. All right, so switch back on over. Players will do their picks. And we'll get this party started very, very soon. So yeah, we can show you the how the leaderboard works right now. So let me refresh this. See if Anticity updated it. He did. And And there you go. So here's the website. This is my website for Total War esports and whatnot, multiplayer. This is the leaderboard, which any tournament that is hosted on this website that meets the competitive, requirements by basically being domination or land battles and, having more than like 8 people more or less in it, will feed into the feederboard. So for example, this is a tournament that's going on right now, the Wild Wednesday Night Tournament. And on Friday, there's another tournament being held, Domination at Night, by Tim the Wilder and Houseplant. So that's being hosted by, not by me. And that will feed into the leaderboard as well, because I've talked to them and, they're hosting competitive tournaments and they're great. They're great hosts, great people. And eventually at the end of the season, the leaderboard will be reset and the top 16 players are going to be invited to like a big money tournament. That's kind of the idea. But yeah, you can see like the Anticity right now is currently 13-2 in his tournaments. And he is in the grand finals right now. So if he gets another tournament win, he will be taking over the number 3 spot, because Evenstar only has 1 tournament win. So if Anticity gets another one, the current weight is tournament wins, and then games overall, obviously. So we'll be adding more content. We have like some guides, some articles written by various folks in the community you can check out as well. But we're kind of like a little bit lazy on the guides right now because we're waiting for the old world factions to come back and for the meta to, for a little bit more to develop before we go really hard. But yeah, you can go on the leaderboard and see like the all-time records of players. You can like search up in the top and see. But right now it would be top 16. It would be up to Dante's Inferno. Those would be the individuals who would qualify for the big event, basically. Yeah, so hopefully that was informational for you. The big money, yes, Ant-Man, the big money tournament, yeah. It'd be like $500,000, which for our community is very big. It's very, very big indeed. Ogres are pretty good. I wouldn't say they're number 1 per se. It's really, really hard to say who's the top. The meta keeps changing, right? Like Nurgle got buffed a couple weeks ago, but now people are starting to figure them out and they're becoming very strong. The comeback of Nurgle. Falcon, I think, is taking a break until the old factions get added back in. You have to remember a lot of the old school players too. Like when Domination came, they didn't want to learn a new game necessarily, which I understand, because it's very different. Like the players who win Domination tournaments, like they would do well in land battle tournaments, they probably wouldn't like do as well against like land battle veterans. So maybe a lot of folks just didn't want to learn a new game per se. Could it be that if you got the same tourney wins in game? So the alphabetical, yeah, is a tiebreaker. No. If you have an exact tie with someone, it doesn't really matter too much because the top 16 get invited to the 16-man grand finale event. $500, 500 to 1,000. Yeah, I don't have 500 grand. No, I don't have that kind of money. No, man. 500 to $1,000. Because I'm just paying out of pocket. And to be completely fair right now, Total War isn't like doing super amazing on YouTube, so it's a big one there. Yeah, it's Broken Lake Gully. I don't know why the map didn't change. I thought I had it. Did I screw that up? All right. But Khorne versus Kislev. This is a classic duel. Chariots were really, really impressive here. 500K would be big by any standards. Yeah, dude, I see these like Age of Empires tournaments going down. Like Golden League and like all these other huge ones and like N4C, and I'm like, how do they put down $100,000? Because look, I know the finances behind streaming these games. I know how much more or less people make on YouTube. Like you could point me at a YouTube channel and I could tell you how much money they probably make just by knowing how it works and the rates and the numbers and the correlation to subject matter, to AdSense and whatnot. But like, where are they getting this money from? Are they like refinancing their homes, or they must have some shadowy sponsors like these big Age of Empire 4 tournaments. I have no idea how they produce that kind of money. I have no idea. It's wild, man. Yeah, 500 would be like a major corporate sponsor. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Unless you were a billionaire, I'd be very concerned if you're putting down 500K. Yeah, no, definitely not going to happen. Khorne versus Kislev. Chariots going to be a thing for sure. Are we going to see Boyar Boris coming in? Boris is actually not bad against Khorne. Sometimes he can be deceivingly strong and get some good trades. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. Those age tournaments with like 100 grand prize pools, they must have some big sponsors. Yeah, it must be big sponsors, I think. But like, I watched some N4C games. Great work. Neely and the gang did a really good job with that event. Super fun. But like, I don't remember seeing like who was sponsoring the event or major sponsors. I'd be curious about that. Sponsors are pretty OP, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they can be. Sponsors OP. The big scenes put so much money in because the gaming companies are using them as advertising for the game. Yeah, you know, I have a feeling like some of the big Age of Empires tournaments were sponsored by like Microsoft and things like that. Because they're multiplayer focused games. It makes sense, right? Like Total War is firstly kind of a single player experience that we've made into a multiplayer experience, and we've put a lot of passion into it. So Creative Assembly responded by making a new game mode and actively balancing multiplayer, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's like a multiplayer focused game, right? So that makes sense to me that like Microsoft would go balls deep and just put like a ton of money in. Yeah. I would love to like cast like, I don't know. Yeah. The next big RTS esport probably will be, or not even esport, but like has a big scene would probably be Age of Empires has a moderately sized scene. But a lot of the success of Age of Empires streams in terms of numbers are the money that's involved and the players that said money brings in. Like if Age of Empires didn't have like the money being put into these big tournaments, I don't think the numbers would be so high on streams. Yeah, Romulan Dog Microsoft says they sponsored some of the bigger events. But I think the game that Frost Giant Studios, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they're developing a huge RTS title, real-time strategy. So I think that could be the next big one. We'll have to see. I'm enjoying Domination, but as someone who played Land Battle, I'm so lost. Hey, no worries. You'll get the hang of it, man. You'll get the hang of it. Total War should be a multiplayer-focused game. I don't know. It has a track record of being a very successful single-player game, so I don't think they would want to change their formula. Sega could sponsor some Total War events. It's something that I think if the quality of game improves a lot when we get the old factions in and Domination comes to a place that's very enjoyable, I think we could get some decent sponsors for events and things like that. Honestly, though, I have no idea how to go about getting bigger sponsors. I'm just a potato. I just show up and cast. Games Workshop will give me $5, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Games Workshop does a lot of like sponsors of events and things like that. Like they don't seem to have like massive influencer, as they call it, relations. Like I think that's what the departments are called. I don't think they like do that kind of stuff too much. Such a cringy word, influencer. Ugh. Do you like Total War Arena? I never played it, to be completely honest. I never played it. I did see it and had a little bit of topical interest in it, but I don't know why it didn't tickle my pickle. I don't know why it didn't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. It is time. It is Khorne in Game 3 with the Herald of Khorne double cultists. I really hope cultists get a nerf. They're so dumb how strong they are. Like, for Nurgle and Khorne especially, they're just so tough to kill and just so cost effective. It's like you have like the Walmart Empire captain who costs like 500, 600 versus this guy who costs like 8 and can also summon an 800 gold unit. It's like that's power creep right there. They need to be increased by like 300 gold apiece, honestly, I think. Like 200, 300 gold for cultists. They're just way too strong. Anyways, Chaos Warriors, Spawn, Cultist, and a Herald. And now for the forces of Kislev. Chris, I'm sorry. We have the Heavy War Sleds of the Gods. 2 of them, which are very good against Khorne. They can shoot the infantry and the halberds, and they can run over the non-halberd infantry. Patriarchs, Ice Witch of Heart of Winter, a Snow Leopard, and some Kossars in the back. Pretty nice. It's kind of like old school Kislev, right? I think any RTS that's built around esports will fail, says Ares. It's hard to say. Like, I think if you just focus on making a really good game and not something that is like yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I think a game should be designed with the gameplay and like balance and all that. And if it's made well, it can become an esport. But if you're like one of those companies that's like, oh, this has to be an esport, let's like copy all like these MOBAs and other successful esports and just like mimic them and hope it works. That's like the downfall, I think, of many RTS games. I could go on forever about this. I could give like a thesis on that. But really a lot of it has to do with, you know, who consumes the media nowadays, like the upcoming, or, you know, the younger generations. Most people who watch my channel are between the ages of 25 and 40, according to my analytics. And, you know, like I have a younger brother who's like 21. I've talked to him and his friends who are like, you know, when they were 18, 17, and they just like don't have the attention span for RTS games. Like they like the fast-paced, flashy shit with the big plays rather than like the more grand strategy. And that's been a lot of my experience for sure. Like Age of Empires 4 for sure had a pretty decent little pull in the beginning, but a lot of the people who play RTS games also don't have, like, you know, they're older and they don't have the same time to invest in the games and all that. But anyways, well, it's a subject for another day. That would be like a whole new video. So initially, the heavy war sleds are poking the Khorne army. You guys want a little bit of illustration? So we got 2 war sleds here. Oh no, they're too close. I can't give the John Madden. I was gonna try, guys. I was gonna try. Kossars and armored Kossars will have some decent shooting against the demonic units, but the Chaos Warriors, the Halberds, a lot of armor. So without Streltsy. Shock me saying you're 41, internet grandpa. Hey man, I'm with you. I'm 33, but you know, we're all in the family there. So the 2 heavy war sleds, really nice play actually. They've rampaged the spawn of Khorne, which means they're just going to be going berserk and just being pulled into the Kossars here, which can certainly unleash some nice salvos. But like this Khorne army in the front is really meaty, guys, and it's for sure going to be stomping over this Kislev army, I think. Kislev ripping some nice shots, getting a little bit of HP damage. I think the one boon that Kislev does have here is going to be the Heart of Winter right on top of this army. The 2 heavy war sleds do pull back the spawn. Ah, snow blindness. God, it's so bright. But good value from the sleds, but I mean, they're not engaged in combat. The sleds need to go back probably and deal with that Fury. We do get a little Grom summoned in the back. The little Grom is going to be attacked by Furies. Probably need some Kossars or some Cav to try and run those down. Huge Heart of Winter going down. Now, it is going to be hitting the Chaos Warriors. The Cultists won't take much of any damage at all. Also hits the Furies. So overall, the Heart of Winter was mitigated a little bit. It at least does buy Kislev some time. So now we're going to be getting Demon Summons. We do get the Bloodletters coming out. Bloodletters are here and are very, very cost effective against most Kislev units. Winged Lancers do emerge from the shadows and are able to help pick off those Chaos Furies. The Chariots are really your saving grace here, but currently Kislev is getting some nice value from said Chariots as they are kiting these Halberds and spawn. Probably going to come back in and clean up those Chaos Furies here. And the Kislev passive is just so good. Even though Kislev infantry are kind of getting wrecked on the front line, they're going to keep fighting for an additional 30 seconds. I think it's one of the strongest passives in the entire game here. Armored Kossars getting mulched. Khorne is behind on value, but they are in a positional advantage, I would say. The middle objective is going to be going to the Blood God, and you can see some Chaos Warriors here going to be moving on over to that objective to try and grab the goodness. In the back, we get some elite units coming out. Zargard with great weapons, and Little Grom is now shooting once again, so the Bear Artillery. I love how everything's just bear focused. Wonder what they're going to be shooting here. Probably just any open warriors they can. These Bloodletters are going to be disappearing. Anakin, I'm too weak. The warp calls to me. Now that Zargard are a great choice. I think that they're a little bit vulnerable to mass focus fire, but Zargard with great weapons should be able to mulch against the Chaos Warrior Halberds. We'll have to see. Up on the high ground, Kislev is going to be winning that fight. They have the Patriarch healing the Chariots. The Sled's able to really just wreck these guys, and those spawn are still going pretty strong, but nice intercept here. We get the Khorne Dogs. Khorne Dogs are going to move up and jump right on these Chariots. Granted, they are heavy war sleds, so they do have 110 armor. They're not the light war sleds, so the Doggos won't kill them super quickly, but Kislev is pushed back. They're down, but certainly not out. We do get the Zargard with great weapons hustling up, and these bad boys are going to be trying to spank some of these halberds and whatnot. But might get swarmed a little bit, actually. Oh, that's not good for the Zargard. Another Bloodletter was summoned from the back and probably is going to be able to sandwich them. Now, Kislev does have a couple Winged Lancers on the battlefield. Definitely do not want to charge into halberds. These Khorne boys have a rock-hard erection to fight cavalry. And it looks like they might be able to catch some of them. We'll have to see. Now, it looks like they just barely kind of squeak on by right there. Just barely, my friends. Objective 1, owned by Khorne. There's a adorable little snow leopard here. He's just like barking at these guys. He's like, all right, let's go. Let's have this fight. 2 currently is owned by Khorne as well, but Kislev is threatening it with a little bit of pressure here. Frostblades is given to the Winged Lancers, imbuing magic damage and base damage, but not going to matter too much when the Grim Reaper comes for you. The Halberds do get the surround, and I don't know why more Kislev players don't use Streltsy. I feel like Streltsy are just so good against infantry spam. Like against the Halberds and whatnot, they can just do such massive work. We get armored Kossars with great weapons, but you know, why fight Khorne in their domain? Just get tanky, shielded infantry, and then maybe Streltsy to fight. Khorne is starting to creep up on value, though. Many of the fights seem to be going well for them. The Herald of Khorne is going to be battling the Ice Witch. We do also have a Cultist right here, so the Ice Witch is like, screw you guys, I'm going home. She's riding back to her frozen keep. Armored Kossar is going to be squaring up, maybe to rip some shots into this SEM Goon Squad. Middle objective is owned by Khorne, but Kislev does have decent capture weight, and the heavy, bear sleds here seem to be doing pretty good work. I would imagine they're kind of the glue that's holding together the Kislev faction. So 851 right here in terms of value. The other one probably is close to 1,000, give or take, about 900. dragging the spawn around. And the spawn and the dogs are actually doing a great job mitigating the effectiveness of these chariots. Because the chariots want to be running through the infantry, right? They don't want to be dealing with this shit, that's for sure. High ground objective is owned by Kislev, but it's very, very close to being captured by Khorne. Looks like the Patriarch here is going to be able to break those halberds, and that's a huge win. And Kislev is now retaining control as some Kossars with spears are moving up to that point, and they will be... No, we need the arrow, yes. And can't even see it because of the snow blindness, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. But they shall be waddling up. Now back here, Little Grom looking mighty little as the two cultists do get back here to beat these guys down. Cultists are so annoying to get rid of, man. Unless you bring a character like Boris Ursus or Kostalton, you know, if you bring an Ice Witch, man, it's very tough, but there's some decent crossfire. If these were Streltsy, this would be Pound Town. These guys would just get pounded to dust, especially with a nice like ice sheet right here to kind of slow these guys. That would be a thing of beauty. Khorne looking like they're contesting a triple cap here. A lot of units moving up here. The Light War Sleds of Kislev doing their thing, and Khorne has taken over in terms of value. Trader seems to be ahead in this game. The Kislev came out pretty strong with the Winged Lancers and the Bow Kossars. I feel like are kind of inefficient choices for sure. Like bow and arrows aren't very good against Khorne. They're super heavily armored. Streltsy are ubiquitously quite good against everything on the Khorne roster, with the exception, of course, of like Hounds and Furies and things like that. So I think the army composition of Kislev was a little bit off, but again, it's hard to say here. So, great weapons, putting a little bit of a dent in these Khornate units, and this is cost-effective for Kislev. They have great weapons kind of plugging their way through these three Khornate characters. The middle objective is being threatened by Winged Lancers, but Khorne is able to respond very quickly with Flesh Hounds. Halberds and some heavy hitters are on their way up. Seeing a winter, frost winter, Heart of Winter up there would be very, very good. Will Kislev be able to wrestle this top objective again? We'll have to see. They're really, really behind though, man. Trader was able to get about a 2,000 value lead right there. Kossars with spears, you know, trying their best, but like their shooting is just so ineffective here. They're basically like overcosted Empire Spearmen at this point. Like I would wager that none of the Kossars really, really paid for themselves, the basic Kossars. And Khorne is just so persistent here. Although, you know, the Khorne Lord here, look at that, Relentless Rage being used, the army ability from Khorne. So that makes him unable to die while this is active. It's pretty cool. Really, really badass on characters like Scarbrand and stuff, right? But those Kossars with great weapons are forced back, and the characters, including the cultists, are able to continue their reign of tyranny. The Ice Witch over here is fully surrounded, so the good old Furies with their high DPS against the 45 armor that her dress provides, not going to be great for her. So she is forced back to the Shadow Realm. Whereas here in the middle, Chaos Warriors with halberds trying to grind. Kossars might get through them. The great weapons might be able to get through, but I think this game's probably going to be going to the Blood God. Kislev seems to be in a little bit of danger. Though their war sleds, I guess, are still going. They're so beat up, though, man. They still have all four models. The Patriarch is still alive, too. He's holding on by a thread here. Looking at his value, only 315. That's pretty rough. And these are Bloodletters. Bloodletters will get wrecked. Like, look at the damage those Bear Chariots do on the charge. Instantly chunks them to a very, very low amount of HP. Any sort of magic from Kislev? I don't think so. Their caster is gone. Looking like Stingers is going to be on the back foot here pretty hard, as the value discrepancy stays kind of the same, which is not good for him. He would need to be making up some ground, and it's getting really, really close to the point where Khorne could probably win by just holding one objective and his Helm's Deeping on the back. We'll have to see. Halberds, Warriors, Spawn, a little bit of housekeeping is necessary. I think sending back these Spawn and maybe one of the Warrior units here would be very smart, because you're going to start banking all these resources and you're going to want to resummon in the goodies. Although it looks like he's just going to move the whole army forward and see what they can do. That is for sure. But Streltsy would have been a nice one. I mean, like a couple Streltsy units with like focus fire back here, like blasting this army. And then when the Chaos Furies move back there, you can just hammer them down with your cav. That's kind of been the formula. But the light war sleds are obviously, or heavy war sleds are still super, super awesome. And, you know, I think if we lifted the restrictions on heavy war sleds, we would probably see Kislev winning a lot of matches like this, for sure. Because they're just so broken. I mean, heavy war sleds cost about the same as a Gorby's Chariot. They have, what is it? 70 more weapon strength. They have shooting. They have better mass. It's just like such a power creep unit. Such a power creep unit. Absolutely. So looking here, Patriarch Tor's Battle Hymn is active. The Winged Lancers, getting the prayers of Urson, are able to reclaim an objective up on the high ground. So it looks like Kislev will be able to hold on to this point, and they do push off the Khornate forces. Is there any chance for them to push the Khorne boys off the middle? It's getting, like I said, very close to the you know, single cap situation. And the Kossars with spears were able to take about half the HP off the Bloodletters, but then they get caught in melee and they just get absolutely massacred, right? These guys got spears. They have very low melee attack. Melee defense is pretty subpar as well. I guess it's 30. Could be worse. But the Bloodletters are just designed to just buzzsaw through infantry, and yeah. Maybe some Winged Lancers could come up there and help, but I think the help is going to be there a little bit too late. Zargard marching out. Almost 4,000 points for the champions of the Blood God. These two cultists still just mulching and causing problems. I would like to see a comeback of Boris Ursus, the great Chad of Kislev. I feel like he'd be very good at killing these type of characters and things like that. But this map is very good for guns. I see some people talking about the line of sight on guns, but this one is great. It's like, you literally just move right down the middle and just like, you have basically a whole shooting gallery. Like all these straight lanes are really, really good for shooting. Granted, bows do have the advantage of being able to shoot up and over, so they can help with the high ground situations a little bit better, but overall it's, a little bit tricky. So Zargard with Great Opens moving. Like I said, if they're not just surrounded and circle beaten by summons and all sorts of witchcraft, they can trade super well into the Chaos Warrior Halberds. Super, super well. Heavy War Sleds still going strong, still tar pitted. Their armor just... Look at these guys. These guys are... The one guy in the front just like sitting there, resting the gun on his legs. He's just like, yeah, this is chill. There's like a bunch of Khorne demons banging around me, and I'm just going to sit here and be relaxed. Truly, you know, the blood that runs through the veins of Kislevites is cold, as they are able to endure that. Fighting to the bitter end is Kislev, very lore-friendly. The value discrepancy, it looks like Stinger started to come back a little bit, actually. He's closing the gap, but I think it's too little too late. Zargard will beat these Chaos Warriors, but it's going to take a hot minute. And it looks like Khorne is going to be advancing to the Grand Finals, and that will be Traitor GG versus Inticity. Because there is quite literally no chance here for the forces of Kislev to win. But it's easy to forget that. I play a lot of domination games, and I'm like scrapping till the bitter end, because I'm not necessarily like super hyper-focused on the score. I'm just trying to make good plays and get back in it. So I completely get that. I completely get that for sure. 875. The troll toll is almost paid. Danny DeVito cackles in the night. Hey, look at this. Could we see a wild comeback? That's a nice play, though. Taking that objective a little bit too late. You know what? If this game went another 5 minutes, maybe Kislev can get back in it. But it did not. And that is that. So, guys, we shall be taking a look at the breakdown, seeing what's going on. After dark, I hear you, man. We're going to be doing some land battle tournaments very, very soon. Land battles right now, though, I would do more land battles. But the problem is the map pool that we have in Warhammer 3 is absolutely trash for land battles. So it just makes for kind of poor games. But once we get the old maps back, like, yeah, like we can do more land battle tournaments. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, my friend. Yeah, Little Grom did okay. Zargard kind of got shut down there. War Sled's obviously insane, like 2,000 value each. But, you know, I think a couple Streltsy mixed in there and, you know, could have been maybe a little bit different. They're just like, they're good against spawn too. Their shooting is quite solid. So Traitor GG will be advancing on to ye old Grand Finals. So let's make it official. It is going to be the Kraken King facing off against Traitor GG. All right, guys. Let me prepare the lobby for the next Duel of Fates. I believe that was game 3. Yes, it was. All right. Well played, you Stingers. Looking forward to having you back soon. Let's get the Kraken King in here. Hopefully it's not too late for him. I think it's around 10 p.m. for him, so it shouldn't be too bad. And great. So we'll see what happens. I need to make Traitor's name a little bit more similar here. There you go. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of maps coming in. I'm sure there'll be more. Like, Creative Assembly has heard the feedback pertaining to Itza being a popular map, so I'm sure there'll be more like that. You're finally about to order your food, Chris. Dude, I'm so hungry right now, guys. Oh my god. I'm just going to be a fat chungus tonight. I'm just going to walk to my local market and just feast. Not on junk food. Like, maybe I'll cook some salmon or something like that. All right, so Traitor versus Inticity. Let me go ahead and give the players the maps. Maps are Itza, Arnheim, Test Pass, I in North, and Gully. What should we do for the last map? All right, so given the players the maps, I just want a Cathay pick here. I just want a single Cathay game, and that would bring me much joy. All right, looks like the names are spelled correctly. You just need to update to the Grand Finals. We should be good. God, the Slaanesh bots are so annoying, dude. I mean, it's kind of funny, I guess. A little bit of humor to it. Really keen for Wood Elves and Beastmen. Yeah, I know. I'm really excited to see what the meta looks like with those factions. Yeah, we need more maps, more factions. Like, you have to remember, a lot of the factions we have now are very, very similar. You know, like melee focused, grindy. Like, here's the thing, guys, and this is one of the reasons why we have Khorne, we have Nurgle, we have Slaanesh. All three are melee focused demon factions that don't break. You might as well take Cathay out of the pool because they suck so bad, right? So then you have like 3 factions which are super melee focused, and honestly, Tzeentch kind of is too. They just play Forsaken Spawn Blues. So we have 4 factions which are super melee focused, right? And then we have like Kislev, which kind of just spams chariots, and Ogres, which are pretty unique in their own right, for sure. So they're a nice gem, but like that's why a lot of the maps and tournaments are kind of like feels redundant, and not that exciting because the playstyles are so similar. They're all demons, like yeah. We want dwarves, I know. We all want the Dowie, guys. We want the glorious Dowie. All right, so let's get our pick and ban engine going. Let's go ahead and reset this. So it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to see the picks and bans and reset the score. So this is best of 5. And switching on over, let us go to the picks and bans. Anticity has gone Nurgle and Tzeentch for his 2 factions, if I'm not mistaken. So we can get your boy Nurgle and Tzeentch. And Trader then picks Kislev. The map is going to be Itza, by the way. Itza me, Itza. Sorry, I'm going to do that every single time. All right, it is going to be Kislev. All right. So now what happens is Anticity will pick one of his 2 factions against Kislev. And it looks like he is going to be picking Nurgle. He said to me yesterday he's going to play in today's tournament to show the world that Nurgle is here to stay. And Kislev, of course, is going to be the final pick for Trader. So we have a Nurgle versus Kislev duel, a matchup I've dreaded for quite some time, but times are changing, man. Times are changing. Battle for Itza. It's a cool map. Those are the picks and bans. Heading on over, players will pick their armies, and we just kind of hang out and enjoy each other's company. And that is that. Yeah, there's probably going to be some buffs to Cathay soon. They're just so bad. The Wuxing War Compass needs to be buffed too. Make it a mana battery that actually has bound spells instead of casted spells. That would be really, really strong. I would dig it. Yeah, the Slaanesh bots take breaks though. God, wouldn't it be like, where do they come from? Where do they spawn? I'm curious what the roots are of these foul Slaanesh beasts. Tiger says, just stopping by to plead for AoE 4. Hey, don't worry, you're going to get it very soon. Probably tomorrow morning. I'm going to do a shorter Age of Empires stream. I have a friend visiting from out of town tomorrow, so he's coming in the afternoon, but probably we'll do Age in the morning. Here to Stay is a decent Khorne song. Oh, Brian, I agree. Yeah, Khorne. I loved Khorne when I was in like 8th grade. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I jammed to Khorne pretty hard. Yeah. Who was I listening to in 8th grade? Okay, it would have been Khorne. It would have been Metallica, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. Oh yeah, it was just Cringe and Miss Maximus back then. In high school, my music taste massively improved because I had a football coach who like introduced me to like Foo Fighters, Soundgarden, like a lot of 90s grunge music, Aerosmith. You know, it helped a lot. But I was Cringe and Miss Maximus when I was in like 7th and 8th grade. Yeah. I'm eager to see what Trader does here. I kind of want to take a peek at the armies there. Bots are plaguing 24/7. Yeah, they take breaks though. They like once they're defeated by our mods here in chat, they regroup. You know, they gather their bearings and then they strike once again. Oh yeah, that's good. You're reading some. Rema says you're reading some Age of Sigmar lore, and the Nurgle chapter is quite disturbing. Yeah, makes sense. Nurgle is quite disturbing for sure. You know, Ant-Man, I never really liked Tool that much, but I really, really, really liked A Perfect Circle. I really liked A Perfect Circle, yeah. Like, I don't know why Tool didn't call to me as much, but like when, like, that whole album, which is Mare de Noms, I think is just so good. And like the song Judith and Passive, like A Perfect Circle has such good music, man. Such good music. Austin says, what is the plan for the cash prize tournament? Okay, so that's the grand finals of season 1, which is what we're in right now. Oh, I love Alice in Chains, one of my favorite bands of all time. So Austin, when you can shoot me a message in Discord, man. And you can get to Discord by going to my website, and we can talk about it. But basically, it's the grand finals. The top 16 players on the leaderboard are going to play, but I'm not going to host that event until we get the old world factions in and we can have a little bit of spice. Because the meta right now is not super exciting, in my opinion. Tool is the only band I listened to for 2 years. Yeah, there was a lot of guys in my high school who were like huge. A couple of guys on my football team were big Tool fans. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, Limp Bizkit was something I jammed to a lot when I was young, when I was like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And then I listened to them again when I was 20 for a short period of time. I was like, you know what? These songs are still pretty cool, man. Creed or Nickelback? Oh, God. Okay, let me think. If I had to choose between the two, I could probably unironically listen to like Nickelback songs and enjoy them more. I mean, it would still be a little bit of a meme, but like Creed is pretty memey though. Like Creed, that Scott Stapp's voice is like just so 90s. Can you take me higher? Yeah, it's pretty classic. I think there was times in my life when I thought that Creed and Nickelback were the same thing. I think there was a point when I was a kid when I just literally thought it was the same person. Yeah. That was fun, man. Kenrick, hey Turin, really enjoying your commentary and content. Hope to see more Haggard AoE 4 streams tomorrow, dude. Gonna be streaming AoE 4 tomorrow, yeah. I try and stream every day. I do indeed. Did you see Wes Borland playing with Danny? No, I didn't see that at 6. But yeah, Wes Borland is the Limp Bizkit guitarist. Is actually an amazing guitarist. He shreds, dude. He shreds. I legit owned a My Chemical Romance shirt, dude. No shame in that, dude. There's a couple MCR songs that are like catchy. So like, you know, like I said, I played high school football. I was a little bit more bro-y back then. Lifting a ton of weights. You know, going to a boxing gym, and you know, was listening to Metallica and Foo Fighters and, you know, that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to lie, even at that point in my life, occasionally I would hear an MCR song come on the radio and I'd be like, damn, that song's catchy. It'll get you every time, dude. Yeah, it'll get you every time. Hey, Kenrick, thank you so much, dude. Smiley face, yes, I agree. So, Anticity with the dreaded long build here. I'm curious what he's scheming. Map's supposed to be itza. Oh, okay. I'm talking shit about you, and you're just like wrong map, dude. God, I'm such a potato tonight. I'm so sorry, Anticity. Jeez, you're probably like getting tired and shit. Can you take me higher? What other cringe music did we have? What else was really bad? I mean, there was a lot of like I liked some emo music. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think what was a good example. Would All American Rejects be considered that? Yeah. Green Day had some good songs. Like Wake Me Up When September Ends. Holy shit, that song's good. And 21 Gun Salute. Oh, I love those songs. I'm not like a huge fan of like early Green Day, like the real punk stuff, but like more of the ballads they did in the early 2000s, those were great. Dude, Proto Man, hell yeah. Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit. That song is sweet, dude. I would still get down to that song. I would still get down. One of the coolest things. Holy shit, look at the build from Kislev. Triple Ice Guard. I almost forgot what they're called because nobody ever uses them. It's a shame. POD was cringe? Yeah, but I listened to them. I listened to POD a little bit. I know that, yeah, Christian rap rock. I'm not even religious, but I jammed to some POD songs. I jammed to Boom. Oh, that song was cool, man. And Southtown and... Dude, POD was, yeah, that was one I really listened to. You brought it back, dude. You brought it back. Breaking Benjamin, yeah. The Diary of Jane. Oh, that album was sweet, dude. Power Man 5000. Let the bodies hit the... Yeah, so good. But that's the only song I know from Power Man 5000. So, how many of you guys were playing World of Warcraft in like 2007 and 8? And were on YouTube watching like compilation videos of like PvP, and they would have... Let the bodies hit the floor while like some Tauren warrior just like cleaved through people. Oh, that was so good. It was so good. Smash Mouth was music I loved when I was like 9 years old. I used to jam to Smash Mouth in like the year 2000 when I was like a child. And yeah, like pool parties with friends, Smash Mouth and Sugar Ray is going on, dude. Hot dogs. Yeah, great stuff. I would say POD and Tool were very different. Like Tool was very much like progressive rock, right? Whereas like POD was like rap rock, nu metal. Like Tool was very different. Powerman 5000 sings the Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song, right? I'm not wrong about that. I'm not wrong. Oh, it's Drowning Pool. Shit. Oh, you're so right. Oh, man. What does Powerman 5000 sing? What do they sing? I can't even remember. Oh, they sing When the Worlds Collide. Yeah, they do the Worlds Collide song. That was in Little Nicky with Adam Sandler. Dude, you guys are getting me like all going right now. Lord Bio, come on, Insane Clown Posse. Oh, no. That's too much even for me. The ICP. One of my friends and I, we used to just say like, hey, when we get a little older, let's just go see what one of those like Insane Clown Posse concerts is like. We were like, because they used to have them in like near me at the Ventura Theater, and we were always like driving past and seeing all like the people with the clown paint on, and we're like, oh my god. All right, guys, I gotta focus. So we have Traitor on Kislev. He's got a whole front line of Kossars, triple Ice Guard with swords. Now, is this a tech piece against cultists and clearing Nurglings and other chaff units? I am actually super, super excited to see the Ice Guard with swords, right? We got Zargard on the flanks, Ice Witch back in the bushes, I would imagine, with Heart of Winter. Yep. And for Nurgle, it's going to be a big Chungus army. It's going to be Spawn and Plague Bearers, and that's it, with double cultists and pretty much just a mouth-breathing army. Nurgle has and always will be a mouth-breathing faction. It's just how they play. They just move, they mouth-breed. Oh my god, I love Papa Roach. Blood Brothers is such a good song, and Last Resort's obviously great. You guys are, man, yeah, it's wild. Wild stuff. We got to do a karaoke night on the channel. If I could actually sing, I would straight up stream a karaoke night where you guys can like vote on the songs and we just sing it. Blink 182, hell yeah, man. Yeah, man, we're going. So Nurgle's going to wait for the objectives to open. Obviously, they don't want to get into the face of Kislev and just take all these arrows, right? So they're going to mitigate fighting for as long as they can. But how good is Traitor's Micro going to be with using those Ice Guard? Is he going to be able to shoot the spawn? Because he needs to start shooting now. He's like repositioning. Okay, he's pulling back. His units are faster. Ice Guard have 36 speed. Armored Kossars only have 30. Wow, they're actually pretty slow. Looks like the Stream of Corruption did do some good work against the Zargard on the far objective. And now the Ice Guard are going to be given attack orders onto the spawn. Should be able to kill them rather quickly. And in the back, we have a bunch of Kossars. So yeah, shooting is very, very good against Nurgle. And look at the spawn just getting melted. Holy shit. Cultists running in, going to be dropping a summon on top of the Ice Guard. Ice Guard might be able to tank that, but one unit of spawn is basically dead already. Here on the side, we do get the Herald of Nurgle battling against the Zargard, able to use the Stream of Corruption to really wear them down. There's going to be layers and layers of shooting, man. These spawn only have 8 models left, but over here the Ice Guard are heavily swarmed. But were they able to get back? Yeah, these ladies are very swift, so check this out. The Ice Guard back here actually got back. And how quickly is Traitor GG going to be able to get a shooting going? That is the question. More and more Forsaken circling around the top. The Ice Guard with swords could get wrecked pretty bad by like a little downhill charge right here. And so far, Nurgle pressing. One unit of spawn, basically dead. The other unit of spawn is in trouble as well. But there's still many Plague Bears to deal with. Plague Bears are quite tough. Zargard should be able to beat them right here. Even with their lower model count, Zargard just have far superior stats and durability compared to a Plague Bear unit. So we will have to see. Spawn of Nurgle, 3 models, 140 HP. Locus of Fecundity going down from Anticity, trying to keep those spawn going for as long as humanly possible. We get some Winged Lancers coming in. Winged Lancers should have a really, really nice charge into these Forsaken right here. Oh, Stream of Corruption, but he kind of dodges it, but it still does a ton of damage. So the Winged Lancers have arrived, hammering into the Forsaken here. Beautiful charge. Those Forsaken get plowed pretty good and take a fair amount of HP damage, but overall, not the end of the world. Now, Nurgle is going to be resecuring the objectives. Traitor is, of course, up in value. That's very, very normal in this old game mode and game in general. Ice Guard are more or less healthy. He's got 80 Ice Guard here. The other Ice Guard ladies, I'm not sure where they went. Have they been caught? It doesn't look like it. Here, these Forsaken should be bunker busted, but I believe, yeah, there's one Ice Guard unit in the middle as well. And they hit very hard and also have a bonus versus infantry. They have, what, 30-something weapon strength? Yeah, they're poisoned right now, so you can't tell. But their bonus versus infantry actually allows them to potentially kill this Cultist of Nurgle. And I wonder if using snow leopards as like little goon squads to try and like snipe the cultists could be cost effective. But obviously Nurgle's going to be taking over many of the objectives. Back here we do have Kislev holding an objective with their Zargard, but Stream of Corruptions from Anticity are just so good, and that's going to give him a slow edge on these side objectives for sure. Now both spawn are very beat up. Anticity is kind of closing the gap in terms of value, and we do see the Forsaken moving in. Kossars with bows not going to be having a great time. The Winged Lancers were left in combat a little bit too long. What we really need here, guys, is we need, oh man, there's not a good opportunity for the John Madden play. Okay, guys, it'll come another time, but we'll get there. Yeah, Kossars will not trade super well into Forsaken and Plague Bearers, the basic Kossars. It's kind of a wet noodle contest between the Kossars. We do get one of the cultists here actually getting karate chopped, and the Ice Guard are able to get back online, shooting into the Beast of Nurgle, and once again, Trader is accruing a slight value lead, but with the healing being taken into account, it's really not that big of a factor. Here, the Zargard held for quite some time, but they are going to be broken and most likely slain by these Plague Bearers here, and now we do get the Herald of Nurgle trying to goon the Ice Witch. Did we see a Heart of Winter going down? I do not believe we do. Indeed, Zargard from Trader are going to be moving up here. Definitely need to go and get on that objective and start contesting it. If you let Nurgle get a big foothold on the points, that's how they cackle in the night. This objective is, yeah, no, it looks like Nurgle's probably going to be capturing this one, especially since the cultist is very fortunately routing onto it. He's going to be, like, running and giving capture weight right there, which has got to hurt. Ice Guard with swords, though. I kind of like that tech against Nurgle. Here, Winged Lancers come in the back, able to run over some of the Nurglings here. Forsaken still pressing in, and on the high ground, we get Winged Lancers coming up to try and push the Forsaken off the point. Winged Lancers with proper cycle charging might be able to get these Forsaken off, but it's certainly not going to be an easy scrap. And you're also playing one of the, you know, strongest players in the entire community via the Kraken King. So Ice Guard with swords, still blasting in there, causing problems wherever they can. Zargard here, doing great work, but every single time Zargard appears, Anticity is just so quick to blast them with that foul Nurgle Corruption. Stream of Corruption is a really good ability. Before Nurgle got their buffs, that was like one of the big staples. Winged Lancers screaming down the hill, able to get a nice charge into the Forsaken. And the Exalted Plague Bearers sitting there with their Holy Hand Grenades, going to be unleashing quite a bit of a salvo damage into these armored units. These Forsaken need to be cleaned, but Trader knows it's over and is going to be withdrawing. So Ice Guard with swords, interesting tech. Maybe the basic Kossars would have been more effective because then you have more threats on the battlefield. Ice Guard are expensive. They cost like 1,100 gold, right? So let's see. No War Sleds either. War Sleds are pretty good against Nurgle. They're pretty good. Ice Guard, okay, pretty good value. 1,800, 1,000, 720, still fighting. Maybe they weren't the weak link. Overall, the Kossars seem to not perform super well. And yeah, these cultists are quite nasty indeed. But that is going to be game one. Going to the Kraken King, looking to take over the number 3 spot on our community leaderboard. He is. And let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and head on over to the pick and ban once again. Anticity is up 1-0 in the series. The dreaded Nurgle proving to be a tyrant, defeating Kislev, a matchup in which people thought was terrible for the longest time, including myself, up until Anticity told me yesterday and is now showing me. I was of the opinion that Nurgle would struggle in that matchup. Alrighty. So let's go to the picks and bans. Nerf Anticity, yeah. We will see. Oh my god, when Vampire Coast comes back too, that's going to be so exciting. Okay. So let me get this going and see what the players are going to pick and ban. So next map is going to be Arnheim. So let's switch that one. Using the magic tools there, we'll do it. Trader is going to be going Ogre Kingdoms for his next pick. So summon the Chunguses. Clearly he won with Ogres before. Was very, very good in his tiebreaker game. And Slaanesh. That seems to be his factions that he really likes. So now Anticity will have the chance to pick. These are the 2 picks for Trader. Now, the Kraken King has to pick one faction to play against either 2 of these. His opponent will then pick one of his 2, and that is how we go forward from there. The weak link was my gameplay. Hey, no worries, man. No worries. Yeah, the Ice Guard thing was actually cool, man. You proved you made them look good. Anticity has insane micro too, man. Don't feel bad. Don't you feel bad? I want to see some bloaty boys, I know. Bloats would be quite good. You guys still talking about Nickelback here in chat? Yeah. Magical times indeed. Just waiting on the pick from Anticity, and then we will lock everything in. Here it comes. What will the Kraken choose? I would wager, like, I don't know, man. Khorne, maybe. Yeah, Khorne is pretty good against both these guys. Oh, he's going to go Tzeentch. Okay. So the Changer of Ways is here. And that will be his final pick. And now we have to wait and see what trader is going to be picking here. Again, big shout out to the gentleman who made this cool interface. Lachlan, really appreciate it, man. You did a great job, and I think it adds a lot. Really lets folks see the glorious, glorious business here. So who do you want to play here? Honestly, that's a really good counter pick because neither of the factions trader picked are like really great. I would probably rather go Ogres. Honestly, I'd probably go Ogre Kingdoms here, but that's like still a scary one. But we have seen Ogres beat Tzeentch before. There's a couple ways of doing it. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. So good. I'm just waiting on Secret Agent, Bloaty Boys bunker busting objectives. Dude, I'm going to have such a chub when that happens. Just full mast. What is scarier, pre-release Mourngulls or pre-patch Gorgers? I would say Gorgers. Because Gorgers have, like, yeah, I would say Gorgers. I don't know why. Like, they didn't feel as bad. Mourngulls were strong, but, like, they didn't even need to be nerfed as badly as they were. Like, Gorgers were tyrannical. They could, like, kill everything in the game. They had, like, no weaknesses. Okay, so the final pick here for Trader is going to be Ogre Kingdoms. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The die is cast. And now we can jump on back as the players will be picking their army here. All right. So the map is Arnheim. Could have sworn I already picked that. That's weird. And we're all set. Why is the chat scrolling so fast? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It looks normal to me, man. It looks normal to me. Oxyotl sniping Bloodthirster sounds fun. I agree. I think that sounds like a good time. Gorgers were like Depth Guard. Depth Guard were really broken in the early beta that we had, but thankfully Creative Assembly fixed them before the launch because they were just like, remember that Everchosen we had with like the Gorgers just like karate chopping everyone? Holy shit. That was like some incredibly foul stuff. There was a foul aura in the air. Nurgle's back on the menu, guys. Just the absolute tyrant. All right, one sec, guys. Looks like their picks are all good. I'm going to double check the maps to make sure I gave them the right one. Yep, Arnheim is the next map. It's a cool one. It's a cool one. What day of the week is it? Is it Wednesday, guys? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. Shit. You know, I obviously do YouTube for a living, so my sleep schedule doesn't really matter. But my wife works a job where she has to get up pretty early. So, like, even though I have this lifestyle, I still feel the anxiety of work because, like, she has to go through it, you know? Got to keep hustling. Got to make that big money, guys. Yeah. Got to do it. Anticity is here, Klein. He is. The Kraken King looking to climb the leaderboard. King Agizal, thanks for all the amazing content. The wife and I fall asleep to your videos all the time in a good way. I know others have said this also. Hey, man, I appreciate that. That means a lot. That means a lot, my friend. What was worse, Iron Blaster or Tuskor Cherry? It's probably Iron Blaster. Iron Blaster was degenerate. It's just like instantly killing your lord. This map looks like somebody's hairline and eyebrows. I like that. That's funny, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Depth Guard are kind of sad. Maybe they'll make a comeback in this game mode. Domination has opened up the viability of many units. I also remember when a bunch of those OP Depth Guard got obliterated by Mammoth. Oh, the good old days. Back when Norska wasn't as much of a meme. I'm sure Lady Turn will appreciate you singing Evanescence at 3 a.m. Dude, I've seen Evanescence live. I actually saw them. My mom, when I was, how old would I have been? Would have been like 17 or something. My mom really liked Evanescence, and, you know, she couldn't get any of her friends to go with her to see it. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll go with you to see Evanescence. And, just my mom and I went. It was pretty fun. And it was actually pretty good. I was like, damn, this is like, it's not bad at all. I had a good time. Yeah. It's all great. So, Ogre Kingdoms versus Tzeentch. It is going to be an Iron Blaster. Oh, it's back in business. We have two of the Man-Eaters, a bunch of Ogre Bulls and Noblars with a Slaughtermaster. And it's going to be a Herald Forsaken in blues. Very standard. I mean, pretty much every Tzeentch player and their dog does this build nowadays. So, Anticity he's a bloodhound. He's going to sniff out the strongest builds and strongest play, and he's going to do it. He does not mess around. And he has found it. He is here. Does look like Cartman from South Park. Yeah, with facial hair. That's funny. Yes, no desync. For a second, I had the fear of the desync. And Agizal, thank you for being a member, man, for 15 months. That is deep. Deep. Yeah. My mom's awesome. She's an artist, actually. Yeah, she's a trooper. All right. So, Trader with the goblins or Noblars. Ogres are going to be standard variants. No Iron Fist, which is interesting against Tzeentch. Double Man-Eater Pistol. I wonder what they're designed to kill. I guess it's just to kind of keep the Air Force of Anticity honest. What would be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy to see like triple scrap launcher or something like that? Holy shit, that'd be so cool. Man-Eater Pistols, Ogre Bulls, and we have more Ogre Bulls up on the high ground. So looking over here, guys, on the other side, we have the Kraken King. It's going to be Forsaken, Blues, and Spawn. Ogres are mostly lightly armored, so Forsaken with their high DPS and their Protoss shields are a pretty viable choice. And Blues are not only durable, they can fight in melee, but they also have good firepower and can melt the Ogre Kingdom's units in general. So I do like it. Yeah, you guys, we're still going down the nostalgia train, huh? Mom's an artist, dad's an actor, nothing's born in the Turin family. Yeah, I know, wild stuff. Wild stuff for sure. Certainly very interesting parents. So my predictions, I think the Ogres probably are going to want to wrestle this top objective, because Tzeentch will probably want to play down here. So I think getting some Ogre Bulls and or Noblars over here rapidly to try and get a little bit of a point lead could do it. You can, of course, try and stuff Tzeentch in their deployment zone and get the points. Ogres can do that. They're very quick at reinforcing. They have 50 plus speed, so those units can zip up from the spawn zones very quickly. And they can do it. The ultimate tactic for the Ogres would be to grab these two Bull units like this and just get them going like that. Like right up into the Tzeentch army, push them back, and live your best life. Yeah, I'd be curious on this map to see like a triple scrap launcher opening. Just like bombarding the Blues and Forsaken, right? That would actually be a really, really curious test. Now, of course, funny things like that work against lesser players. But if it worked against somebody like Anticity, you know it's good. But, you know, you got to test it against the most dangerous game, as they say. You absolutely do. Yeah, Nicholas saying that it worked against your Tzeentch earlier. Yeah, it'd be something kind of curious to explore. Now we get a little blue fire right here. Does hit some Noblars. Doesn't really justify the ones at magic cost, but not bad at all. It had to happen, guys. I'm sorry. It's been over 40 minutes. I actually think that was one of the better ones I've drawn. Yeah, one of the better ones. We tried. So will the Iron Blaster generate value? Will it pay for itself? This beast is very, very expensive now. And I would imagine it's just going to start shooting at the spawn. The fact that Anticity is sitting so far back, if I saw this from my opponent, I would probably just try and stuff them at the cost of my army and try and win on objectives. It depends though, because the Tzeentch army is going to start moving up soon. I think the Iron Blaster is shooting at the character in the sky, but you know, a player of Anticity's caliber, and there goes another pink fire right there. It gets a little bit of HP off the Noblars. Will it be a full mast charge or half mast? That's a full mast. Unfortunately, the drawing tools don't let me go into more detail because like they have limited length. Like, see, I can only, like, yeah, it's like I can't go too crazy with it. Yeah, sorry guys, let me just get these off here. I think you can like click them off or something. That was a pretty good one, yeah. 1 per hour is a good ratio. Yeah, I don't want to be too obnoxious about it. So Iron Blaster rips a shot and instantly kills the shields of these pinks. But it needs to keep that pressure on. If Trader doesn't like follow through there, he could pay the troll toll. Now, what's really funny is the Tzeentch army is basically, you know, it needs to move up now, but it's basically playing like a Nurgle army. So, like, if he came in with a bunch of lead belchers, I actually think he would really do incredibly well here. But if the Ogres can get a triple cap on Tzeentch initially, what are they going to be sending? Yeah, Ogre Bulls are on their way up. Very, very nice. And honestly, Noblar Trappers with support can melt down the spawn if they have a little bit of support. Someone in chat says, as someone who draws a lot of dongs, I give you a thumbs up. I too am a connoisseur of drawing dongs. Nice shots there. Iron Blaster's actually not doing bad. It's melting some of these units. Objectives are going to be opening up. And Ogres should get a triple cap. They need to get that triple cap like real quick. Because Tzeentch like typically trades pretty favorably into Ogre armies. High ground objective, I think, is going to be going to the forces of the Ogre Kingdoms. And immediately you see the spawn of Tzeentch kind of get melted a little bit. Some of the trappers here do get wrecked, and it looks like the Herald is probably going to come up here and use a pink fire. Probably going to go right down the pipe like this, be my guess. That would have been a good opportunity as well, but we can't just go nonstop about it. Yep, here it goes, but it doesn't really do much. Kind of dodged it, and honestly, Ogres are going to get a triple cap. So now what you do if you're the Ogres, and you need to do, is stuff. Just get in there and push them back. Keep them fighting away from the objectives and keep swarming with bulls. If somebody lets you get a triple cap like this early in the game, in my opinion, you have to punish them. You have to, because what's going to happen is Anticity is going to get to fight on the objectives now. Whereas if you move up a little bit, just like right there, and just keep them off the points, you're going to be, obviously, in a much more cozy position. Man-Eater Pistols, shoot again. Value trading, favoring Trader, but not by too much. High ground objective, we do have Bulls in there fighting Forsaken, Nobblar Trappers throwing their Ninja Stars. We got some Furies coming in, and another pink fire there is going to be trying to help melt those Nobblars, who of course have very pitiful leadership. Now Ogres and company are ready to intercept. They fight a little bit too close to the objective, so I think the forces of Tzeentch will get there. But like what Ogres could do here is, if they had stuffed them a little bit more effectively, they could have probably gotten enough points to Helm's Deep on the top. Most likely. But we'll have to see. Slaughtermaster the Great Maw a little bit behind, going to be dropping some Power Fist. And Trader is actually doing quite good in value. Looks like the high ground fight might not be going bad for him. Let's go ahead and see. No, it looks like actually it did go kind of bad. Ogre Bulls kind of got crumped off. Nobblar Trappers have very, very heavy capture weight, though. They're super annoying to get off the objectives. And yeah, the Forsaken are on death's bed. And the Spawn are almost dead. Actually, no, that fight actually went pretty well for the Ogres. Looks like they're going to be holding on to that top point. But now Tzeentch is going to be wrestling these objectives on the bottom. And it's going to be very, very tough for the Ogres to get those back. But the triple cap here does lead him up to a 1,500 point lead, which is pretty substantial, right? And the Ogres now, I guess, can kind of ignore this objective. This one over here is going to be massively in the favor of Anticity. I think you just kind of pile in on this one and just go for the 2-to-1 cap at this point. You have a pretty big lead. You've defeated the forces of Tzeentch up high, and you just got to get on this one. Trying to wrestle this point back, like with the concave shooting, like shooting here, here, and here, there's too much. Like anything you send over in that direction is just going to get just absolutely baked. Just going to be having a terrible time here. Man-Eater Pistols being hunted by Screamers, also very cost inefficient for the Ogre Kingdoms. And Anticity is really creeping up on value. How's the Iron Blaster doing, by the way? It looks like it's actually able to blast into the spawn of Tzeentch. But the Ogres are not swarming the objectives enough. I don't know where the reinforcements are going. Okay, it looks like they're reinforcing the top. Some of the Nobblars going to be heading down the hill here, and they are able to get more Tzeentch value by chasing those guys down. Nobblars and Bulls are finally coming down here. So you can see they will move on to that point. But if they lose that point, I don't think they're getting it back. Tzeentch has like a beautiful position. They have pinks with blues layered all over the place. I think the Ogres had an opportunity to really, really stuff their opponent back, but now they're going to be paying the troll toll. Ogre Kingdom's barely holding on. Nobblars do get onto the point. The Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists, of course, fighting well, but like with blues all over it. Forsaken, Spawn, a lot of capture weight. That is going to be going back to the forces of Tzeentch. Slaughtermaster the Great Maw here, walking around with his old pimp sword, doing his thing. I guess there's a little bit of meat to be had. Forsaken maybe are edible. And now he's running for the hills. Ogres are resurgent, doing decent on value, mind you. They are a little bit ahead of Tzeentch, but Tzeentch does have the positional advantage, I would say. Ogres are really, really good at ninjaing objectives, though. They have super fast units and also have secret agent units. That's what I'm most excited for, is to like see Skaven and things, you know, that have a lot of stalking units. Wood Elves, and see how well they do at getting objectives. Like, imagine being up on the high ground here and having some Way Watchers like creep in with stock, nuke you off the objective with their bows, and then take it. Like, that is going to be so damn cool to see these tactical plays. That is for sure. So back here, Ogre Kingdom's continuing to fight. Looks like they are rallying here, pushing back some of the Forsaken. Also, the Kraken King's Lord is on death's bed. Some of the Man-Eater Pistols able to really put some hurt on him, but he's already generated some pretty big value. It looks like the Man-Eaters plus the Iron Blaster are shooting him. Anticity trying to snipe the Lord. The Slaughtermaster does get the Troll Guts, though. Troll Guts is a fat heal and probably will be able to kind of lead them back to the promised land here. Iron Blaster appears to have accrued some decent value. It's still an SEM fighter as well if it needs to. It's paid for itself, so Iron Blaster is certainly in a much better state right now. Shooting downtown into the spawn. Where are Ogres going to make their next big push? Currently, Trader is banking about 1,200. What is he going to be saving for? We see Saber Tusks coming in. We see Bulls kind of pushing on multiple fronts, not really consolidating his forces, rather angling at several different positions, but here we actually see a potential. Man-eaters, bulls, and bulls. They could all kind of creep under here and jump onto that point there and maybe get it. Extra ingredients active. The little herald up in the sky. Oh, he gets Iron Blasted in the face. He's shaken. The Iron Blaster can scoot and shoot, and it's a pretty good tactic if people don't expect it. You know, it can definitely get you good. Slaughtermaster is wavering, holding on like a champ, but the pinks from downtown for Anticity have a nice concave fire, now shooting into the Iron Blaster, as the Man-Eater pistols look to get on top of the objective. Slaughtermaster, I believe, is broken, though. Yeah, he did get broken here by the spawn, which the Iron Fists are trying their best to fight. Might be able to eventually grind it. Up on the high ground, Ogres are somewhat cozy, although there are blues coming up here. Saber Tusks are nearby, and it seems like Ogres probably won't be threatened too hard here. But now Ogres are actually threatening the middle. Saber Tusks are here. They're really pressing on 3 fronts. The value is dead even. This is actually a really, really close game here. Check that out. 12.2 to 12.4. These guys are back and forth. Do you think the reinforcement pool is big enough right now? It's hard to say. I think that the amount of resources you get per second could be reduced a little bit because they got it increased up to 20. I think if it went back down to 15, we'd see more properly paced games. But really, it's not that big of a deal. We'll have to see. The Ogre Bulls with the Iron Fists getting in there, beating down the old spawn of Tzeentch. These monstrous infantry being punched in the face. Ogre Bulls honestly have 90 weapons rank. Pretty good against Spawn in some ways. Spawn 2 are good against them. They always have been. The Pinks, you know, have that really good position, man. Look at this. He's got one right here shooting, one right here. Like, none of them are really inundated in combat, except this one. This one got a little bit awkwardly positioned. So the perpetual shooting is really doing quite a bit of work. Ironically, Ogres are still ahead. They got such a massive lead in the beginning that they were able to get quite ahead. Now, if Ogres capture another objective and are able to hold it for a short period of time, they might actually win the game. Because they got a massive lead. Dude, Night Goblins are going to be sweet in Domination. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of the bad flack people have been giving to Domination mode pertains to the faction. Like, we were kind of spoiled with 15 factions and really good maps, right? And then we come into Domination. We have a couple mediocre maps. But the game mode, in principle, is very, very fun. I just think we need the old factions back and some new maps, and I think we'll be in really, really good shape. High ground objective in danger. Nice play by the Kraken King. Huge veteran play. He uses the Chaos Furies to actually roadblock, so he flies them over, and now these guys just can't make it. And Tzeentch might be able to get a triple cap here, which would be pretty huge. Are the Ogres anywhere near getting any points here? Doesn't look like it. The firepower from Tzeentch, having this like beautiful firing line here, just blasting into everything that runs this way, is just so, so good. So, so good. And the Ogres seem to be falling behind in value now. Anticity, for the first time in the game, does kind of clinch a solid lead. Even though we do have some Noblars on the point, we got Noblar Trappers up here trying to fight on the point, doing the best they can, but it's looking like the Ogres is coming to get you. Yes, yes. So Noblar Trappers fighting against the Chaos Furies. Ogre Bulls with dual weapons routed here. That's going to be a triple cap. A very valiant attempt by Trader. And I am honestly of the opinion that if Trader had stuffed Anticity back into his deployment zone, like I said in the beginning, yeah, he would have lost the fighting eventually, but he would have been up by another like 700 or 800 points right now, if not more. And maybe could have just won in that way. But now, you know, the Kraken King constricts its prey. I would imagine like a giant squid or kraken would constrict its prey and crush it. So I think the metaphor is indeed apt. And it's probably GG, man. I don't see the Ogres coming back, dude. They've been pushed back. They're summoning mobile units out of desperation. Anticity did kind of obstruct the mobility up here. Looks like there's going to be a really good pink fire. Beautiful, bathing those little trolls in nice Tzeentchian fire here. We got some Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. I don't know. I think Forsaken might win, although they're pretty damaged here, so maybe not in that case. GG, well played. That is going to be a victory. The Chungus Kingdoms fall. And the Kraken King goes up 2-0 in the grand finals. Will he have a clean sweep? Will he? Stay tuned and find out. Iron Blaster with 1900 value. Pretty good. I like the Iron Blaster. I thought it was good. Solid play. Did some good work. Gave you some utility on the old battlefield. And that is going to be that. So next, ladies and gentlemen, we'll head on over to the picks and bans. Let me just go ahead and see what the map is. Next one is going to be Death Pass, which is a classic good map. This is one of the first Domination maps we got that was actually, I think, very, very good. So just got to clear this. If Anticity manages to win this, the series will be over and it will be a 3-0 sweep. And that will be the end of the road. Would Domination let Giants be usable? Hard to say. Giants are a pretty haggard unit. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? We'll find out when other factions, you know, Norska and Greenskins have Giants and a couple things like that. So We'll see what happens. Okay, I set the map correctly. I did it. I've done it. Now we just need to see what the players do. All right, so he will do his picks here. And let us head on over to the fanciest of all screens and do our picks and bans. So he's saying good luck, have fun. Waiting to see what it's going to be. Still nothing quite yet. Yeah, no, it's late. The stream's going pretty late. How long have you been streaming? I think like almost 4 hours. Yeah, every match has been going to game 3, like except this one. Like the first 2 series we had were both like game 3s. Okay, so Khorne and Kislev for the Kraken King. Khorne and then Kislev are his picks. What will his opponent do in response? Slaanesh, maybe? I know he likes to play Slaanesh. Ogres would be good against both of these, I would say, or at least viable. That is for sure. The Ice Witch is waiting in the shadows. Trader GG will be here. So Anticity will pick 2, his opponent will pick 1, and then he'll pick 1 of his 2 that he has remaining against that. So like player 2 gets the opportunity to counterpick, but like you have a little bit of variance with 2 factions. Hey man, did you know that in lore, ogres can cast Tzeentch magic if they join Chaos? Also Nurgle and Slaanesh. It's pretty cool. Imagine Nurgle ogres, oh god. That would be pretty scary. Any Mortal Empire factions you expect to do well in Domination? I think Vampire counts are going to be tyrannical. I think Vampire counts are going to be unholy. Quite literally, and they're going to be very, very tough to stop. That would be my 2 cents, my friends. Still no pick from Trader, just hanging out. We have our goodness. It's so cool, and like it's already programmed for all the old factions. So check this out. We can go to Lizardmen down here. Yeah, and they like pop up. We got Tomb Kings looking mighty cool. Vampire Coast. Yeah, it's pretty rad. Skaven. Oh, look at the little rats. Everyone wants Skaven. Dude, I'm so excited. There's so many. It's so cool, man. All those factions. God, give it to us already. Jeez. Give it to us, precious. Okay, Nurgle is actually the pick. So we get a Nurgle pick. Nurgle beat Kislev earlier and seems to be okay against them. And then against Khorne, it's pretty even, I would say. 50-50. I think Nurgle can beat Khorne and Khorne can beat Nurgle. It's past my bedtime. Kind of feels like it. I usually stay up pretty late though. I stay up till like 2 a.m. usually. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I get caught up painting minis in my lair. So almost every single night I have this. There's another room in the house where I go and I just put on a podcast and a couple podcasts and I just paint minis. I'm just about to finish a full brick of greatswords, a full squad of 10 greatswords. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how they came out. They're painted in Talabheim and Reichland, kind of the classic Empire. Like how Empire looks in Warhammer Total War is how my army looks. Or I'm trying to make them look. Happy Cloud, thanks for becoming a member. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, my friend. May Chuck Norris bless you. He usually appears when somebody joins, but I'm on the wrong window right now. I'm on the pick and ban screen, so. Hey, Happy Cloud, thank you so much. Can't wait for the other factions. I know, dude, I'm in the same boat. And it's going to be Khorne. All right, so Khorne versus Nurgle. And the final pick here is going to be Big Papa Nurgle. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the picks for this round. And we're all good. Switching on back, Anticity is up 2-0. Nurgle certainly can be outmaneuvered on this map a little bit. There's some good angles that Khorne can take to capture those points. Jay Phoenix, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope life's treating you well. I just want to march up Warpfire Throws onto objective and cackle. Dude, Rattling Gunners, Jezzails. Like, Jezzails, people might argue won't be great because Crane Gunners aren't good, but that's not a Jezzail or Crane Gunner problem. That's a Cathay problem. Cathay just can't protect them. Skaven can't. Like, if you dive a Skaven Jezzail with Furies, they can summon Wolf Rats and or Rat Ogres to peel you off, right? Or they can have them back there. Like, Cathay has, like, crap-ass Jade Lancers who have, like, no damage output. I just put on a turn or Sotek stream and paint. Yeah, nice, man, nice. I do the same thing. I'll watch Grubby sometimes, too. Grubby's one of my favorite streamers to watch. I watch him play a lot. Although I don't really care for Heroes of the Storm very much. So, but if he's doing Warcraft or Age of Empires, I'm all in on that. Trying to think what other streamers I've been watching quite a bit. I watch Beastie stream a lot. Yeah, I watch him stream Age of Empires. He's a lot of fun. Very, very knowledgeable. Seems like a good guy too. I've got a High Elf army to paint for Old World, but need to get my Lannister army ready for... Yeah, definitely focus on your Lannister army, because Old World could be a year or two, right? If not more. Poison Wind Mortars. Oh, God, that's so good. Oh, it's so good and tasty. Yeah, Sisters... Well, the thing is, Dusty, Sisters with air superiority might be cute, but you're not going to get any objectives that way. So... It kind of like, Domination reins in a lot of those really toxic playstyles a little bit, which I think is nice. The Cathay mod with the unit of oh, okay, so there's a mod for Cathay that kind of helps them a little bit, huh? You know, but that's the thing. Empire didn't have it as bad, Proto-Man, because Empire had Demogryph Knights. Cathay doesn't have anything like that. Like, Empire has... Yeah, Empire Knights are functionally the same as Jade Lancers, but Empire has, like... Knights of the Blazing Sun, which were an early DLC, but they also had Demis. Demis are a really hard-hitting sweeper. So if you try and blitz... If in Warhammer 1, if you tried to blitz an Empire player, they would bring Greatswords and Demogryph Knights, and they could actually run you over, because Greatswords were super good in Game 1. And so were Demis. Cathay has nothing like that. Cathay has nothing like that. Yeah, I don't play Heroes of the Storm. But I used to play League of Legends a lot. I think when I quit playing League, I was like Diamond 5 or Diamond 4. Yeah. I played Darius, though, and Draven, so I wasn't playing, like, really good characters. But that was back in, like, what, 2013, 14, I think? Jammies are so cool. Aerocrastic saying, pastrami sandwich looking real delicious. Dude, I'm so hungry right now, dude. I haven't eaten since probably, like, 10 a.m., and it's almost 10 p.m. I mean, I've had a couple pistachios throughout the day, but, you know, it doesn't do the trick. Khorne versus Nurgle, guys. We saw Khorne win this earlier in the tournament, and then Nurgle, I think, won once. This matchup feels really even to me. It feels like just user control. Yeah, Sisters of Twilight are going to be pretty rad. Bretonnia, honestly, Bretonnia will be great. I would stream a League of Legends. I actually lost my account, though. The original account I had in 2013, I tried to recover it, and I couldn't like find the email I was tied to, because I registered with my college email, which was gone. It was just, and I sent a ticket to Riot, but I never heard back. So I just ended up making a new account, which I had to regrind to like max level. So I would do a League of Legends stream, though, for sure. If I could find some folks to play with that play it, I would be down. I'd be down. Terracotta Sentinels, yeah, they're pretty good. Terracotta Sentinels are incredibly cost effective. Particular play paint says you only play Aurelian Soul. See, he wasn't there when I was playing. The last champ I think that came out before I stopped was like, I think like, oh, was it that Nar guy, the little like caveman, like cat rat thing? Yeah, I can't recall. No, Cathay, like, I like underdog factions that have a chance. Cathay just doesn't. If you're playing an equally skilled player with Cathay, like, you're just asking to get owned. All right, guys. So, Exalted Plaguebearers of Nurgle, Great Unclean One, Double Cultist, and Beast of Nurgle. Now, this army is really good at fighting blob fights. It is very, very much the build I used to use against Khorne. But like what I found is a lot of Khorne players are learning to go wide and play the objectives, and then you just kind of waddle around. So it's very tricky. Probably your best bet, sit these two and the Great Unclean One in the middle, and take the Beast of Nurgle and the Cultists like over here. Yeah, it's really kind of hard to actually adjust, because Khorne goes with Exalted Bloodletters now, and they're just so good at killing Nurgle infantry. So good. Alex says, hey Turin, used to work at League of Legends support. I can help a bit with the recovery process. That would actually be pretty cool. You hit me up in Discord, man. But I already regrinded a whole new account, so it's like... Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man, League's fun. I play Haggard characters. I play... Yeah, Alex, hit me up in Discord, man. You can find your way to Discord through my website, too, totaltavern.com. My old account, I had like a ton of like the skins and all these characters unlocked, and then I got this new account, so I only have a couple characters unlocked, which is a shame. Yeah, they never got back to me, though. Maybe the ticket has you fill out a ton of information. Yeah, weird stuff. So predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Predictions. Triple Exalted Plaguebearer, so just going for meaty objective holders. And what's really cool is their Holy Hand Grenades also do armor piercing damage. So they're pretty good. Oh, so the Exalted Plaguebearers have the benefit of not having Nurglings pop out of their butt. Only the basic Plague Bears have that. All right, interesting. So what's cool about the Holy Hand Grenades is you can put them into guard mode, and you can like give them focus fire orders, just like kind of like blasting charges with dwarves and things like that. Very, very neat. But the battle is on, I think. No, people are still deploying. Am I missing something? Oftentimes they're waiting to start because I've forgotten something. Yeah. I don't think I have this time though. Just very, very careful deployment here. My main was Yorick pre-work. Oh, I remember that. I played Yorick as well. He was such a lane bully back then. So Khorne is probably just gonna, you know, casually get on this back objective with like 1 unit. Like, what Khorne wants to do against Nurgle is not take a head-up fight. If you try and blob fight versus Big Chungus, he will beat the brakes off you. Like, Great Unclean One and his cultists will beat up your dad. The cultists of Khorne and the Herald will lose pretty badly. What you want to do is, like, feign a push on this objective to pull everyone there and then just, like, hit the side objectives. And when Nurgle's, like, bouncing back and forth, you use the Fleshhounds to roadblock them and you just get the objectives. It's pretty wild for sure. Some League of Legends tourney in the Discord to be... Yeah, I would do that, actually. I would do that. It would be fun. Hosting tournaments is my favorite thing about, you know, what I do. I love it. I love it. So Beast of Nurgle and Cultist is going over there. Not a bad idea. I mean, but is it going to be enough? I mean, the problem is Nurgle can't reinforce super quickly. What are they going to summon in? I'm curious. Yeah, the dreaded Beast of Nurgle waddling over there. Hey, Pone, how you doing, man? Yes, we're just finishing now. We're at the tail end of the party. Unless the man, the myth, the legend, Trader GG comes back. We do have the double Exalted Bloodletter. Those things will massacre these Nurgle forces down here. But we get Forsaken and Plague Toads. I like that. Mortis Engine needs to chill in the middle most likely, but this is like what Khorne does. They just like hug the edge of the terrain, and they just bounce between these two objectives. And it's really hard for Big Chungus to keep up. Granted, I like the distribution of labor here. Like, I like that Trader is going to be moving across with the Great Chungus and is going to be allocating a lot. Because the Exalted Plague Bearer should be able to hold this. And now you can see Anticity is going to be bouncing back here. So he does get his Herald of Khorne as well as these cultists, and is going to be getting ready to bump and grind in some capacity. But I think the Exalted Plague Bearers can tank this like champs. We get dual weapon warriors, bloodletters, all moving here. Back objective is still under threat. And now look at this. How annoying is this? These guys are literally going back and forth, and the Great Unclean One is following them. Look, he's moving back. Oh my god. This is actually what happened to me when I was playing earlier today with Nurgle as well. I was like, oh my god, I can't get there. Yeah, Ryan List did a really good job of showing me what's up with that. So the Forsaken and the Toads are about ready to fight. We got Spawn, Exalted Bloodletters. Beast of Nurgle with the AoE debuffs is pretty cool. He's got the Slime Trail, so he lowers melee attack and speed. Always useful in blob fights. And I mean, Exalted Bloodletters are really, really tough to remove. If Nurgle can just get a comfortable triple cap, look at this. And now we get the Cultist and the Herald of Khorne bouncing back to the middle. That's so troll, dude. That's so troll. I love it. Well, Nurgle could potentially get a value lead in this. Like, if they can just, you know, I think the Mortis Engine here is probably worth it. Because we have two Exalted Bloodletters, two very expensive units. So I think it's worth, and I think the rest of the Nurgle army with the Cultists supporting should be able to hold here. Holy Hand Grenades, here they come. And the Holy Hand Grenades come out, and it looks like they missed pretty horribly. And we get double Bloodletters coming out, so the Hordes of Hell are upon us as we get the double Bloodletters being summoned on the objective. A little bit of a mistake here by Trader. Not having these guys on the objective means that Khorne might be able to get it from them. It's hard to say. Toads, of course, piling in. And the Exalted Plague Bearers tanking like champs. Now over here, great fight for Nurgle. They're going to kill Spawn and 2 Bloodletter units, or at least one. The other one may retreat, which I certainly like. Nurgle does get this objective as well. Honestly, pretty good opening for Nurgle, but Khorne has the opportunity here to strike back. And the dual weapon warriors with their bonus versus infantry should actually do very well against Plague Bearers, who are using their unholy hand grenades right in the faces, actually. Doesn't get any kills, mind you, but still does some good work. So now Anticity has a little bit more capture weight. One of the Exalted Plague Bearers is actually almost dead. Yeah, it's on death's bed right here. That bad boy is in a little bit of trouble. As on the other side, the Exalted Bloodletter is just going to be camping that objective, which pretty much takes away any Nurgle pressure. If like a Nurgle came over here, you could bring like 2 Nurglings in try, but Plague Bearers, or excuse me, Bloodletters are very quick, so they can actually catch the Nurglings. So that kind of a cheeky play doesn't work as well. So now Nurgle trying to hold more and more Toads and Forsaken moving in. The back objective is more or less secure. We get some Fleshhounds of Khorne moving. Although, is it secure? Not really. Big Chungus may have left a little bit too early, guys. We still have 2 Bloodletters going balls deep over here. And you know what? I think the Kraken King is going to take over this game. Because pulling Big Chungus away, I think you got to have him stay here, man. With 2 Exalted Bloodletters and Khorne Dogs potentially threatening, it's hard though because the middle's a little bit dicey as well. It's such a tricky proposition for Nurgle, and a lot of Khorne players are learning how to do this. Like before, I think I had been maybe like 5 or 6-1 against Khorne players, like high-level Khorne players recently. I was actually in the top 4 of one of the tournaments recently, and I was able to beat Khorne with Nurgle. But I think when Khorne players realize they can just go wide and really can, like the Great Unclean One can't be everywhere at once, right? And it's not like land battles where Nurgle is just going to sit in a corner and just, you know, corner camp you and just Mortis Engine you. It's a more dynamic battle in that regard, at least in this matchup. And now it looks like it's going to be a triple cap, as the forces of Nurgle are absolutely buzzsaw. I think the answer for Nurgle is going wider. Maybe using a Herald instead of a Great Unclean One, and then just going with like a ton of units, like Plague Bearers, super wide stuff. As now the Beast of Nurgle, even though he's, you know, these things aren't great against monsters, they do fire damage, and this guy's weak to fire. He's regenerating Beast. I like the Toads. I think that the Pox Riders would be a little bit stronger. Maybe Nurgle's going to be able to get this objective back, but no. Anticity had the Hounds hiding back here. They're going to tear apart those Plague Toads. Holy shit. That is a lot of stopping power. And the Great Chungus is in the middle now. Value differential is about 3,000. It's not the end of the world, though, for sure. The Exalted Great Unclean One is going to be able to push these guys off the middle, and Nurgle might be able to wrestle this middle objective back. Maybe. Anticity's on the run right now with his cultists and other mobile units here. And the Great Unclean One needs to move over here. If he could, like, waddle right on top of this blob and just Mortis Engine the hell out of him, maybe. More Bloodletters moving. We got Toads coming across, although these Toads are paying the ultimate troll toll. I wonder if Nurgle could go for, like, a double Great Unclean One build. But unfortunately, only one of them has a Mortis Engine, right? So that's a variable as well. Hammond, did people forget Anticity is the master of War Doggos? Apparently they have. Now, this is a really good response from Nurgle. They know the middle is going to be theirs. Now they're going to be pouring in. Oh no, it's the wrong one. Hold on. All right, guys. So these 2 units right here, they need to go and get up on that objective right here. Super important. And you know what? Even though that was a meme of the drawing tool, it's very, very accurate. So the Nurgle hordes need to get this objective. The Beast of Nurgle trying. And of course, Anticity being a veteran player here is going to be using the Fleshhounds to stuff the Nurgle units. They're going to be keeping them back, and you can see the Nurglings and the little sausages are going to be kept at bay, while the Exalted Great Chungus waddles back and forth. This looks exactly like the game I played today. Exactly like the game. And once again, the Exalted Great Unclean One going to be trying. He can only be in so many places at once. Exalted Plague Bearers with a nice little roadblock here. They'll hold for a moment, but honestly, Spawn of Khorne are just so damn good against the Exalted Plague Bearers. They're so good. It's going to cause so many problems. Plague Toads, though, finishing off the Bloodletters. Forsaken, also not bad against Spawn with their high DPS. The big man is on his way over. Currently, Anticity is very, very far ahead on points. If Nurgle can wrestle back this objective soon-ish, then there's a chance they could win on a 2-cap still. But it's not going to be long before the forces of Khorne are going to be winning on, even just one objective. They're very, very far ahead at this point. Pone says he's suddenly excited. I don't blame you. Me too, man. Dual weapon warriors are on the way in. Does Nurgle have any reinforcements coming? They do. They have the Exalted Plague Bears and Nurglings. And those bad boys are on the way in. Chaos Warriors going to be pulling back. Anticity is very, very mobile. He's very tactical and calculated with these engagements. Clearly a very high-level player. And you know what I'm most impressed with Anticity about? Is not the fact that, of course he's doing great, but many of the Total War Warhammer 2 boomers, as I like to call them, including myself, who are very much like land battles, like that was their main thing. Many of them have either not really tried to get good at domination or have tried and haven't really transitioned very well. But Anticity has really learned this new game mode very quickly and is really just a student of the game and is doing quite well. Now, Nurgle might be able to break through here. It's going to take a hot minute. Looks like they have some capture weight. Need to force path some units if they can. Nurgle does also have the middle. So Nurgle's going to have a 2-cap right here. Khorne looking to come in pretty crazy. Got Bloodletters here, double Cultist. The Herald on the Bulldog mount is on his way over. And Nurgle's just cackling all the way to the bank, man. They're holding that objective in the middle. Should be able to get this one unless Khorne gets there first. If Khorne manages to get like right here and then creates like a battle line which keeps Nurgle off the objective, I think that's just game blouses here. I think that's just going to be game blouses. Nurgle's trying to force path through, but Khorne Dog's actually a pretty good mass. So you might as well just fight your way through at this point. Great Unclean One is waddling his way back, and Anticity is going to be rerouting his forces here. So the Chaos Warriors and Spawn and these different units here are, yeah, Jay Phoenix, I'm a Total War 2 boomer. Yeah, I know, me too. Me too. I've been losing some domination games, whereas, like, I feel like if it was a land battle, I would have been able to crush the player I was playing against, but, you know, it's a new game. It's a new game mode. It's the future for now. We will see. We'll see. Little Nurglings and Plague Toads, Forsaken, almost getting the objective back, although I think Anticity wins with one objective. So, does the Kraken King continue to pressure, or does he yield this objective to the Plague God? Which Nurgle has gotten back, so Nurgle does have the 2-cap right now, but Anticity wins on one objective with the current points. I wish there was like some sort of a metric, you know? Yeah, Cultists are super OP. I really hope they get nerfed into Oblivion. Yeah, they're just like, every single matchup is with them. I'm so sick of watching and casting games with them. Like, the Tzeentch ones aren't so bad because they are squishy. They can be killed really quickly. And Slaanesh as well. Like, they're good, but the staying power of Nurgle and Khorne Cultists is just too much. It's too much. So in the middle, looks like a decent fight. Plague Bearer is able to hold that point. Nurgle actually loses this point right after they get it. But Nurgle will eventually win this blob fight. Like, the Great Unclean One with Plague Bearer support and Forsaken should trade pretty well here. But Nurgle has to start planning for the back objective. Otherwise, it's just game over. And what's really hard about that is the fact that there's an Exalted Bloodletter. Like, Nurgle does have 1,500 banked. Probably what I would do if I was Trader at this point is I would summon like some Pox Riders and Nurglings to go over here. I think Pox Riders with Nurglings could defeat these Exalted Bloodletters and maybe do it. It's hard to say. The dual weapon warriors of Khorne trading so effectively, even into the Exalted Plague Bearers. You can see they're able to cut through them, and with that, the Kraken King, the champion of the Blood God, is able to claim victory. So if you guys are looking to play that matchup, take notes. This is how you do it. 2,200 value on this guy. Crazy, crazy good. And, you know, the Great Unclean One might be a little bit too much of a liability with, maybe the Exalted Plague Bearers need to be cut for, like, cheaper units, like more width, things like that. It's hard to say. But with that, guys, the Kraken King is going to be victorious. He will be taking over the number 3 spot on the leaderboard at TotalTavern.com, our Total War Esports website. And he's doing it, man. He's doing it. Doing great work. 4-man bracket. Anticity advances on. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 2 cultists in every matchup is like 2 manticores in every matchup. Yeah, I guess some things never change. Some things never change indeed. So let me go ahead and see if they updated it. Not yet. They'll update it in just a second. And it should be fine. Although I can do it for them because I can't wait. I'm too excited. You got to take a look at the leaderboard here. GG! Yeah, Anticity had some great control, but, you know, Trader did great as well. Had a really nice best of 3 versus Stingers, and then, you know, put up a good fight there in the end. The meta is continuing to shift, for sure. Khorne has played drastically different than they used to. And, you know, times are changing, man. Anticity, I got the score reported for you. Don't you worry, my friend. You're all good. Khorne seems to be very, very strong. So taking a look here at the state of the game. The state of the Total War Warhammer competitive scene here. We got Anticity with a 3-0. With the Wild Wednesday Night Tournament. He is now number 3 on the leaderboard. Chasing Void Laws and Houseplant. Houseplant still undefeated. I would love to see a grand final clash between either Houseplant, Void, or Anticity. That needs to happen, and most likely will during the Grand Finals tournament. Most likely. Hugo, that was a 4-hour stream. That wasn't a quick one. I'm actually going to go get dinner, hang out with the smoking hot wife a little bit, watch some 90 Day Fiancé maybe. Always a good time. Congrats, Anticity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing an Age of Empires stream in the morning, most likely. Worst case scenario, I just put up a video if I don't stream tomorrow. But it's going to be great. Anticity saying my opponents had me tense the whole time despite the wins. GG. That's what I thought. Looks great. And with that, Kraken King is in the top 3. But, you know, the only thing that matters really is the grand final. You can be number 1 on the leaderboard, but to be the champion of Season 1, you have to win the big 16-man tournament, which will be taking place as soon as we get Old World. Probably once we have Old World for like 2 or 3 weeks, I think we'll have the grand finals of Season 1. That's kind of the game plan. All right, guys. Yes, Lich 1 and 9, I would greatly appreciate that. Domingo, thank you, brother. GG to all players, fun tourney. Anticity's too strong. He is very overpowered. And with that, guys, I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you so much, Domingo, for the donation. And thank you to everyone else who donated. We got 2 new members as well. The Dukes of Haggard grow very slowly, but we grow. And that is going to be it for today. You guys take care of yourselves. I'm going to go hang out with the wife. And congratulations to the Kraken King. GG, well played.